She is Princess Donchu from the mysterious kingdom of True Knowledge Spring, carrying a vow made years ago, traveling far to the feast of the most powerful lord in the northern continent. You've come from afar, isn't it all for me? Yet he wants to cut off everything with his own hands. Show some respect. I'm here to break off our engagement. The seemingly peaceful continent actually conceals surging murderous intent. At this time, he is the only flower for the bee. The floating sky continent is an ancient land that worships the sky. After years of war and smoke, the Jinying family became the largest power in the northern region, leading its economic prosperity. Although wars still exist now, peace has been restored on the surface of the continent. Lin is the current master of the Jinying family, known for his ruthlessness on the battlefield, owning vast lands and countless wealth. According to custom, the lord will hold his 20th birthday banquet in Lujin City, where he will choose his fiancée. Nobles and aristocrats are now rushing to Lujin City. Run faster, you useless thing! This is Duchess Killis from Quarry County. She specifically left her convoy to be the first to arrive, wanting Lord Lin to personally welcome her into the city. At this time, the horse was exhausted, and servants informed that they wouldn't reach the city even by tomorrow at this rate. Killis cursed and ordered that once they reached the city, she would sell them to the Skinners in exchange for 2 new horses. They finally decided to rest the horses at a post station. Killis began complaining about the hot weather, looking at someone wearing a cloak nearby. She became inexplicably more irritated. Why are you wrapped up so tightly? Do you have something to hide? The girl turned her head upon hearing the voice. At this moment, Killis, as if possessed, suddenly pulled off her hood. The young lady's delicate features were revealed. I didn't expect this country girl to be so beautiful. Killis stood there shocked. Seeing the girl being bullied, a nearby swan flew to attack, but it was quickly caught by the attendant. Killis viciously ordered to send it to the kitchen to be roasted for dinner tonight. Donchu nervously shouted, "This is someone else's swan. Harming swans is illegal." The attendant was startled upon hearing this. The swan took the chance to break free and fly away. Killis looked displeased. Even though swans are rare, there's no law forbidding eating them. What would a country girl know about laws? She complained while walking away, saying she didn't want to stay with these unreasonable commoners. Donchu tried to keep herself calm. Indeed, this is North Jade. Swans aren't protected here. She had left her homeland that once sheltered her. This girl traveled alone to the north to break off her engagement. In the evening, Donchu went to bid farewell to the chairman, thanking him for letting her travel along. Although the chairman had already given the swan to Kaitis, she still drove everyone else away. They had to prepare to depart in the night. Donchu apologized to the chairman. The chairman actually knew it wasn't her fault, as Duchess Kaitis had always been willful and arbitrary. Chun Donchu stated she had other matters to attend to and wouldn't travel with them. She then asked the chairman to bring her luggage to Lujin City. Meanwhile, inside Lujin City, guards reported that Duchess Kaitis was at the post station outside the city and expected to arrive by noon tomorrow. During major banquets at the city gate, the first guest to arrive is considered an honored guest and personally welcomed by the host. This is traditional etiquette. To secure this first position, Killis sent letters and gifts to all invited nobles, spending a fortune in the process. Jinying felt he might bring up Leonie's matter and should consider how to respond. At the post station, Killis was eating goose meat and drinking wine, fantasizing about meeting Lord Een tomorrow. Meanwhile, Donchu removed her cloak, shivering. Since birth, she had been particularly sensitive to cold, and the northern climate was different from her homeland. Wearing a thick cloak made her stand out. Donchu opened the stable. The horses looked exhausted. If she were to release them now, that notoriously domineering mistress would probably go berserk. She left one horse behind and prepared to head to Lujin City. Under the moonlight, Donchu took out her token. Looking at the night sky, she wondered if Jinying was really as terrifying as the legend said. Early the next morning, servants reported that the spy from last night had died in the dungeon. Jinying ordered the body to be thrown out. The citizens were pleased to see the traitor's fate. After speaking, he rose to welcome the guests. In the coming days, he would have to deal with those annoying women, who would become the mistress of the Jinying family. The honor guard was ready at the city gate. Citizens discussed among themselves, believing Duchess Killis would arrive first. After all, She had offered the entire Quarry County as dowry to marry Lord Li. Jining sat on horseback at the front of the formation, growing impatient as it was almost noon. Haven't they arrived yet? Just then, Danchu appeared on a white horse. She presented her invitation, claiming to be an honored guest attending the banquet. Zhengziquan was a distant small country that Jiang had only heard of. It wasn't Killis after all. This was unexpected. She approached Danchu. Though different from what she imagined, she didn't look frightening. If not for the cold expression, that face would probably be quite beautiful. Danchu smiled, trying to maintain grace. The renowned Lord Jining. I am the princess of Zhengziquan. Jining looked Danchu up and down. Whether she was truly a princess or sincere, innocent-looking women weren't necessarily as harmless as they appeared. This man threw the girl onto the bed as soon as they met. The girl had just finished bathing. Jining suddenly appeared behind her. Beautiful. Danchu blushed at the sudden compliment. Jining gently lifted her chin. So are you really the princess of Zhengziquan, or from somewhere else? Going to such lengths to become an honored guest. Are you trying to attract my attention? In fact, Li Jining had long suspected Danchu's identity, but according to northern tradition, the first arriving guest was the honored guest. He could only take Danchu to rest first. At this moment, Danchu was angered by his rudeness. Let go of me. You're the one who suddenly barged in. Li Junyang grabbed Danchu's wrist and forcefully threw her onto the bed. Whatever your purpose is, you'd better not harbor any inappropriate thoughts. I won't show mercy to enemies, and that includes women. Before arriving, Li Junyang had ordered an investigation. Danchu did indeed come from afar, with the Compass Merchant Group. But Killis's horses were released at night, and Danchu appeared riding a horse bearing the Kaisher Jun mark. Moreover, he had never had dealings with small countries like Zhengziquan where spring lasted all year. But if she were a spy, she was being too obvious. So what was her true purpose in coming here with such effort? Min Junyoung pinned Danchu down, emanating a terrifying aura that seemed to make even the air turn cold. But she couldn't let him bully her like this. Danchu suddenly exerted force, turning to pin him down instead. Min Junyoung looked incredulous. This woman actually? Danchu shouted. I'm here to break off our engagement. Break off engagement? Lin Junyoung got up and grabbed her again. When did I ever have an engagement? He was too close. Danchu's face turned red again. She tried to push him away, but it had no effect. Was he getting serious? Such strong hands. Would he crush my jaw? Danchu's thoughts raced. She couldn't use force. She needed to make him lower his guard first. Indeed, you might not know. Not many people know about this engagement. It happened 17 years ago, when I was just born. Li Junyoung didn't believe it, but his grip noticeably loosened. Danchu seized the chance and kicked out. Li Junyoung's expression didn't change as he caught her ankle and used the momentum to flip her over. Danchu couldn't react in time and hit her head on the ground. You dare try to sneak attack me? How arrogant. Junyoung firmly locked her ankle with one hand. Enough with the nonsense. Do you know what happens to those who deceive me? Tears welled up in Danchu's eyes. Let me go. She struggled desperately. Lin Junyoung instead lifted her entirely. This should keep you behaving. What a shameful position. Danchu trembled, trying to topple him, but it was useless. With her legs locked, she couldn't move at all. Blood was rushing to her head. This feels terrible. I hate him. I hate him. These contracted spouses started fighting at the first disagreement. Lin Junyoung showed no mercy for her being a woman. Danchu had spent 3 months traveling here alone. She had wanted to negotiate properly, but instead was humiliated like this. All the grievances overwhelmed her at once, and tears flowed unbidden. Let me go. I'm not lying. On that table, there's a token I brought from Zhengziquan. Lin Junyoung didn't believe her. What trick are you trying to pull now? Danchu's face was flushed, gradually losing consciousness from the blood rush. Lin Jining glanced at the table. A swan-shaped pin caught his eye. The Swan Island, precious jewelry adorned with rare sapphires. It was Lin Jining's mother's favorite piece of jewelry. Originally, it was a pair of earrings. One was still among his mother's belongings, and the other one appeared here. Could everything she said be true? Tears hung at the corners of Danchu's eyes as her complexion gradually improved. Where did you get this pendant? Danchu sat up, hugging a pillow. When I was born, your mother, Lady Lilith I, had one of them modified into a pendant and gave it to my mother as a gift. Their engagement was arranged at that time, but it was never made public. Lin Jining warned her not to lie and said he would keep the pendant for now, though she didn't want to cry at first. The earlier humiliation still made tears flow involuntarily. Danchu buried her face in the pillow. I need to change clothes. Please leave. Looking at the stubborn girl before him, Mi Jining remained silent for a moment. I came to inform you that there's a special dinner for an honored guest in the garden tonight. Donchu didn't look up. I'll be there. After Mi Jining left, Dongchu's eyes were full of tears. How frightening. Is this the true face of the Jining family's lord? She kept telling herself not to cry. Hadn't she prepared herself for all kinds of difficulties before setting out? She absolutely couldn't back down again. This proud lord had made his bride cry right from the start. Not only that, he was also entangled with other women. Princess Dongchu changed into an elegant formal dress and attended the banquet. Jining was courteous. Your Highness. Dongchu looked at his ambiguous smile, thinking how he had seemed cold enough to devour someone earlier. Wouldn't it be uncomfortable sitting together now? Dongchu had no appetite at all. Looking at Li Jining's plate, Dongchu asked, "Don't you like these vegetables?" Lin Jining replied that he usually fed peas and carrots to horses. Dongchu looked at the carrot she was about to eat and lost her appetite completely. Then Lin Jining got to the point. Even with the token, it couldn't prove the engagement's existence. According to Dongchu, not many people knew about this engagement. Even Li Jining, being the person involved, had never heard of it until she appeared. So why would she go through such trouble to break off an engagement that nobody knew about? Tell me, what's your real purpose for coming here? The engagement matter isn't fabricated. 17 years ago, the archbishop at the time wrote their marriage contract. However, this was just an agreement between two mothers. For over a decade, the Jining family had no contact with Zhengziquan. He and Lin Jining were complete strangers. Such an engagement meant nothing to either party. Furthermore, as Lin Jining deduced, my real purpose is, please let Zhengziquan join the 1 billion commerce alliance. Lin Junyoung scoffed. What strange logic. Whether it's breaking off the engagement or letting your country join the alliance, I don't see any benefit for me. Why should I agree? Dongchu had already thought about this. I have the marriage contract sealed by the former archbishop. If you agree to my conditions, your relationship with Lady Kaitis won't be hindered. Lin Junyoung almost spat out his red wine. What do you mean by my relationship with Lady Kaitis? Dongchu stared with innocent eyes. Did I get it wrong? Perhaps it's Miss Bai or Miss Lanya, Dongchu awkwardly stated. Anyway, after the marriage is dissolved, you'll be free to do as you please. Lin Junyoung had heard about the rumors those women spread. He hadn't thought much of it before, but hearing it from her somehow made him inexplicably angry. The notion that only he could bully his wife. Lin Jining stepped closer. So you're threatening me, or rather blackmailing me, cornering Dongchu? Don't forget, you're alone in my territory. You dare threaten me with this absurd engagement? Do you think you can leave here alive? Lin Jining emanated a chilling pressure. Though scared at first, she couldn't lose in terms of presence at this moment. You won't harm me. Everyone here knows I'm today's honored guest. Killing me would be easy for you, but it would cause you great trouble. The Golden Eagle Lord isn't such a brute. Li Jining remained silent, still staring at her scrutinizingly. Just then, Lady Kaitis's noisy voice came through. What Princess of Zhengziquan? I'll see who dares to get ahead of me. She whipped the guards at the entrance. Let's see who dares stop me. As soon as I entered the city, everyone was talking about a Zhengziquan princess becoming an honored guest. With her striking skin and hair, Killis immediately knew it was Dongchu. Don't think becoming an honored guest means you can get close to Lord Li. Lin Jining stood in front of Dongchu. Enough, Killis. What's with all this shouting? Killis protested. If it weren't for this cunning girl, I would be the one dining alone with Lord Li. Lin Jining remained cold. Dinner is over. Since you're here, go rest in the guest room. Seeing this, Dongchu also wanted to return to her room. Kaitis grew angrier, and as Dongchu passed by, she raised her whip and shouted, "It's all because of you, you stinking girl. Lu Jincheng is not a place for you." Dongchu dodged. The first to reach the city gates becomes the honored guest. I have my reasons for needing to be the guest. Though I'm sorry, without being an honored guest, I wouldn't even have a chance to speak with Lin Jining. Kaitis thought Dongchu was like her, coming to get close to Lin Jining. I was too careless. I disliked you from the first time I saw you. Lin Junyoung turned back and demanded loudly, "What are you doing?" The next second, Killis raised her whip again. "I'll ruin that pretty face of yours." She tried to dodge like before, but her hair got caught in the flowers. But it didn't matter. At the critical moment, Lin Junyoung suddenly appeared to protect Dongchu. Dongchu looked in shock at the tall man before her. He actually protected me. Killis, out of respect for your royal attire and my late uncle's face, I rarely restrict your actions. But that doesn't mean you can whip my guests. Lin Junyoung ordered Killis to return to rest and not disturb others until the banquet was over. Dong Chu hesitated behind him. "Thank you." Lin Junyoung's tone remained cold. "I will investigate your story. If I find you've deceived me, I won't let you off either." Her initial good impression of Lu Yu instantly dropped. What a suspicious person. Good looks don't just attract women. They attract men too. At night, Li Jinying returned to his room and briefly treated his wound. He couldn't understand why such a fragile woman would act so desperately, and why his mother had arranged that engagement. She had never mentioned it to him. Li Jinying was lost in thought, having easily believed Dong Chu's words. Suddenly, a dark shadow flashed by the window. A tall woman stood behind him. "Long time no see, dear Li. Your birthday is coming up. I was wondering what gift to get you." The woman leaned forward, lightly brushing across Li Jinying's chest. Li Jinying grabbed her hand. The next second, he threw her aside. My chest fell out. I shouldn't have been so greedy." Two large apples rolled to Lin Jinying's feet. "What are you sneaking back for?" "Lan. I prefer you call me Lanya. Dear brother." Lanya was the child of Lin Jinying's father's affair, later adopted by his mother. Strange from childhood, never letting servants touch them. A girl without inheritance rights. Almost everyone thought keeping her was useless. His mother, Lady Lilith I, was once a southern noble's daughter. After meeting his father, she eloped north against her family's wishes. They had sworn to be like swans, each other's only love in life. But Lanya's appearance was like a heavy blow, shattering his mother's former smile. "Hey, Alan, play with me." Those servants tried to keep Lanya away from mother and son. She was like a mansion ghost, appearing in corners from time to time. Years later, Blue Cloud City faced rebellion. With the family head dead, his mother lost her will to live. That day, Li Junyoung found Lanya hiding by the bed. "She was like this when I came. It's not my fault." Lanya held the family seal box. In the firelight's glow, in panic, Lin Jinying accidentally tore Lanya's clothes. "Your male? My real name is Lan. Like you, I could be the Jinying family heir." "Dear brother." Lan threw the marriage document and slipped away. The scene shifts. Back to the present, Lan firmly declared that someday he would get what belonged to him. Li Junyoung naturally disagreed. "Someone catch him." Lan leaped away, saying, "You better be careful." For him, the purpose of this visit was achieved. With these 3 strands of Li Junyoung's hair, the final condition for casting the spell was met. On his birthday, he would give Lin Jinying a grand gift. Lin Jinying was surrounded by beauties. "Aren't you afraid of getting burned?" This was Lian Bai, one of his many rumored girlfriends. "Lord Lin, the weather is lovely today. A boat ride on the lake would be nice." Killis suddenly appeared. "How about taking me along for the boat ride?" Lord Min's rivals met with obvious jealousy. Lian Bai mocked. "I heard you offended a guest. Lord Min ordered you to stay in your room." Killis gritted her teeth, about to explode when rustling sounds came from behind. Killis immediately changed her attitude, smiling and explaining that she acted impulsively the other day, had reflected on it, and was just getting some air. "Lord Li wouldn't mind, right?" Lian Mai was surprised, wondering when Killis became so thoughtful. Just earlier, Dong Chu had sought out Killis to actively offer advice. Given her status, as long as she didn't cause trouble, taking a walk shouldn't be a problem. Surprised by Dong Chu's help, Killis asked with a blush, "Do you also think I'm shameless, a widow still pursuing Lord Li?" Though Dong Chu disliked her temperament, pursuing one's happiness wasn't wrong. Killis felt a hint of warmth. Still maintaining her proud attitude, she stated that although she was only 25, she was different from those pretentiously reserved young girls. She wouldn't give up. After all, Lord Li was the most handsome man she'd ever seen. Uncle Dong was overwhelmed. Just because he's good-looking, marrying that person, terrifying to think about. Dong Chu was in high spirits. This time, Lady Killis shouldn't cause them any more trouble. In the garden, they were discussing Lord Li's potential brides. Would it be the gentle Miss Lian Bai or the wealthy Lady Killis? Lan Wei smiled and recommended herself. There's also the mysterious Miss Lanya. Dong Chu knew that while rumors couldn't be fully trusted, they weren't entirely baseless. As Lan left, she brushed past Dong Chu. "That maid is so tall." Meanwhile, Lin Junyoung successfully avoided trouble. Since you all want to go boating, why not go together? Actually, when Killis arrived, Lin Junyoung had noticed Donchu. He looked in the direction Donchu had left. The weather's getting hotter. Entertaining these women is more tiring than office work. What it means to be virtuous and upright, Lin Jining demonstrated firsthand. According to investigations, Jinji Quan's king had been ill for years. The queen passed away 2 years ago, and now the crown heir, the 5-year-old Princess Donchu, was sickly from childhood. Though rarely seen in public, she was well loved by the people. Additionally, Lin Jining discovered some records of correspondence between his mother and Jinji Quan's queen. You came to Lu Jin's city on your own, didn't you? Thinking you can threaten me with just this little information. Aren't you being a bit naive? Donchu knew what he wanted to do wasn't simple. But at least now, there was a chance to talk with Lin Junyoung. So, will it benefit me or not? There will be great benefits, but also dangers. It might even affect the entire continent. It really does involve matters in the south. That's not something to be taken lightly. Lin Junyoung examined the stubborn girl before him. This was the fiancée his mother had chosen. Would he have expected this girl to have such an expression? Stubborn yet vivid, full of vibrant life. If mother had such eyes back then, perhaps she wouldn't have died. I'll think about it. The banquet arrived as scheduled. According to custom, the guest of honor and host should perform the opening dance together. Just as Donchu was about to change clothes, she found her formal dress had been cut. Meanwhile, Lin Jun was dressed formally. The Ming nobles had already entered and were waiting. The crowd whispered. If the guest of honor didn't arrive soon, Lord Li would probably invite Miss Lien by. Sorry to keep everyone waiting. Donchu appeared surrounded by flowers, like an angel fallen to earth. I was delayed by a small matter. Please forgive me. Lady Jining, Lin Junyoung bowed politely, making an inviting gesture. The dance officially began. You're truly beautiful tonight. Have you considered if I announced that I chose you, your leverage would mean nothing? This exceeded Dongchu's expectations, but she wouldn't yield. She stepped on Lin Jining's foot. I would publicly refuse and make a scene. If you want to be embarrassed in front of all these people. Before Dongchu could finish, Lin Jining pulled her into his arms. For a girl like you wanting to achieve your goals, wouldn't it be simpler to just please me? Though Dongchu's heart raced at his action. If they couldn't talk as equals, everything she did would be meaningless. That expression again. Lin Jining looked at Dongchu silently. The next moment, he pulled Dongchu out of the hall. It's clear you were raised with love, like a flower in a greenhouse. Do you truly understand what you're trying to do? Initially doubtful, Lin Jining was testing with his words during the dance. If she had shown any sign of trying to please him, it would have been over. I know you don't care about the engagement, but changing the landscape of this continent is both dangerous and attractive to you. Lin Junyoung compromised, telling Donchu to pack after the ball. They would leave for Skylark Manor early tomorrow. There's a small problem there. If you want to be my equal, let me see your abilities first. Meanwhile, Lon was hiding in the shadows. How rare. You seem quite interested in that girl. Too bad after tonight, you won't have any more chances. This man had deceived for decades, always disguising himself as a woman. Now finally getting the opportunity. Just now, Lin Jining was about to announce his choice of fiancé. Donchu felt anxious as she met Lin Jining's gaze. How would he make the announcement? Lin Jining walked onto the stage. I announce. Suddenly, the lights went out. The venue instantly erupted in chaos. Lin Jining sensed something was wrong. The next second, Lin Jining's pupils emitted an eerie light. A moment later, a voice broke through the noise. I announced that I want to enjoy single life for a while longer. Hunting season is coming. I'm going to take a vacation. Donchu felt something was off. Was this really like Lin Jining? Then the lights came back on. But Lin Jining had vanished from the crowd. In the underground dungeon late at night, Lon approached Lin Jining. How does it feel? Dear Lin, isn't it unpleasant being gnawed by countless insects? Junying, drenched in sweat. Lon, what did you use on me? Lon drew his sword and pointed it at Lin Jining. Just hand over the Hui seal and acknowledge my identity. I can make your death less painful. Don't even think about it. Lon had wandered for years, enduring countless hardships to find the legendary witch. He learned to make potions. Without his antidote, Lin Junying would neither live nor die. Or let's play a game. Let's gouge out one of your eyes first. Li Juning dodged, but the blade still grazed his eye corner. Lan had deliberately doubled the dose earlier. He didn't expect him to still have strength to resist, but it didn't matter. He opened the water gate. Now that you're in my hands, I have ways to make you talk. Water gushed out, quickly submerging Lin Jinying. With hands cuffed and body alternating between hot and cold, Lin Jinying felt terrible. Then his hands slipped from the shackles. Meanwhile, Lan had pulled the water mechanism. It's not time to kill Lin Jinying yet. Having fun swimming? If you don't behave, I'll make you suffer more. Of course not, someone responded, but only empty shackles remained. Lin Jinying had swum to the water outlet. Though the bars were loose, the passage was so narrow only a 3-year-old could pass through. His body had reached its limit. He gradually lost consciousness. As he sank, just when he thought he would die here, his body miraculously shrank. He flowed out with the water to the other side. Dongchu was alone in the garden, still pondering recent events. Lin Jinying had just disappeared from the ball. He probably didn't want to marry at all. And what would happen at Skylark Manor? Had he really considered her words? Then there was a sound by the pond. When she went closer to look, it was a child who looked just like Li Jinying. She had never heard of such a child in the Jinying family. Could this be Li Jinying's rumored illegitimate child? And so a mysterious misunderstanding arose. The proud lord had unexpectedly turned into a little boy. The female lead enters child-raising mode. Lin Jinying slowly regained consciousness. He discovered he had turned into a child. Never mind anything else. What's with these clothes? Just then, Dongchu pushed open the door. Lin Jinying immediately asked where this place was. Why am I here? That childish voice had completely lost its previous authority. Dongchu explained this was the Jinying family's villa at Skylark Manor. When Dongchu found Lin Jinying, he was very weak. Though she didn't want to get involved with those troublesome forces, she couldn't just leave him to die. She didn't know any reliable people, so she brought Lin Jinying here. Do you know who your parents are? When I found you, you were badly injured, and Lin Jinying is nowhere to be found. What happened to me, Lin Jinying? Dongchu's gaze seemed to see through everything. You must be his child. Li Jinying said at the ball he was going hunting on vacation, then disappeared. Fortunately, he had planned to go hunting, so the city should be fine for now. Since this woman misunderstood, he'd let it be for now. In this situation, he needed time to think clearly. Dongchu touched Li Jinying's little head. Your fever's gone. Looks like you're recovering well. Let me put some medicine on your eyes. Lin Jinying's right. I could only see faint light. I'll use the rest to dress your eyes. It will heal. This is the path of holy light, a precious divine wine found only in the southern old pavilion. In the north, it's worth its weight in gold. Yet she's using it on a strange child. Is she kind or just thoughtless? Tell me your name. You look just like Lin Jinying. Cupping Lin Jinying's small face. I'll call you Little Lin. Lin Jinying blushed, thinking he'd go along with it. Hide it from this woman until he healed. The Skylark Manor Master's house was on the other side. Though there were no servants here, someone had clearly been maintaining it recently. Hearing the Skylark Master wasn't home, Dongchu would have to visit in a few days. Li Jinying said he wanted to test me. I wonder what challenge he set. Meanwhile, Li Jinying was embarrassed. He didn't know why old Yun suddenly turned against him. He just wanted Dongju to face some hardship. Fortunately, there was food in the storage room and a vegetable garden in the backyard. Food wouldn't be a problem for now. Dongchu also found some clothes, probably left by Lin Jinying before. I altered them smaller. They should fit you now. Lin Jinying was overjoyed. Finally, he wouldn't have to wear lace pants anymore. Let me help you change. Dongchu picked him up. Wait, I'll do it myself. Are you shy? When I found you, you were completely naked. Lin Jinying's face turned bright red instantly. I understand. It's a little man's pride. Lin Jinying's face darkened. With his tone like talking to pets, what pride was there to speak of? I want to be alone for a while. With his body like this, he had no choice. Acting alone, catching a child shouldn't be too hard. How nice it was to become a child. Not only could he sleep in his wife's arms, but he could see such scenes early in the morning. Last night's storm raged, with thunder and lightning. Lin Jinying was thinking about what to do next. Suddenly, the door opened. Are you asleep? Dongchu stood at the door asking, are you afraid of thunder? If you're not scared, want to sleep with me? Lin Jinying was speechless. It's just thunder. What's there to fear? Dongchu crouched on the ground, covering her ears and trembling. Seeing her scared like this, Li Jining thought, well, this woman might still be useful for now. As the thunder gradually faded away, Lin Junying felt increasingly strange that they were lying in the same bed. But children probably wouldn't think too much about it. Dongchu, with eyes closed, suddenly asked, "Do you wet the bed at night? You can call me if you need to go." Lin Junying was instantly embarrassed. Damn it, he had to find a way to change back. The next day was bright and sunny. Lin Junying woke up to find himself in Dongchu's embrace. This warm sensation made Lin Junying's little face turn bright red. Just then, Dongchu also woke up, rubbing her eyes and greeting him. Lin Junying couldn't stay calm at all, repeatedly telling himself it was just sleeping together for one night. Just purely sleeping for one night. After Dongchu tidied things up, she made a simple breakfast. "Let's eat." His face darkened again. "This again? I reluctantly ate some yesterday, and now today too." She even added peas and carrots. After experiencing such terrible things, now I have to eat terrible food. He directly flipped the plate. "I won't eat this stuff." Dongchu was shocked. "This is all we have. I worked hard to make this." Lin Junying turned away proudly. "I'm not hungry. Since you treat me like a child, I'll act like one. I've had enough of dealing with spoiled children before. If you're just throwing a tantrum because you're picky about food, I won't make anything else for you until the next meal." Lin Junying pouted. "Arrogant woman, I won't give in." Meanwhile, a knight was knocking on the door at the Skylark mansion. "Layla, whose child is in your belly? You won't even tell me?" There was no response from inside. Mr. Skylark said Grand Lord Jenny was staying here during that time. If she did this, I won't let her get away with it. The once proud and dignified lord had become a troublesome child. Dongchu left, annoyed by him. If it were little O, he would say big sister is the best. But when can he return home? Suddenly, dog barking came from behind. A hunting dog with gaping jaws lunged at him. Dongchu was terrified. She raised her arm and shouted, "Sit." The hunting dog instantly transformed into a husky, wagging its tail obediently. A woman behind sighed, "Stupid dog." The next second, she brandished her sword, harshly asking, "Are you sent by Lord Janine? Sending a woman here? Go tell him to come to Skylark Manor himself." Dongchu quickly explained, "I'm the princess of Jinji Spring. Though Li Jining asked me to come, I don't know where he is now." Juning was peering from the window. "Looks like she's from the Bonfire family, the twin sister of Ahwan. This person could be trouble. Need to make her leave quickly." A moment later, a stone precisely hit the dog's head. The dog showed a clever look and ran away. Then a howl pierced the sky. Ahwan finally noticed something was wrong. The stupid dog ran away. Before leaving, a Wang told Dongchu, "If the Lord keeps avoiding responsibility, he will lose the trust of all the major families." Dongchu also wanted to know where Lin Junying was. What a mess this turned out to be. Anyway, she needed to meet Mr. Skylark first. Upon returning, Dongchu found little Li was missing. At this time, Lin Junying was covered in dirt. Really, dealing with just one dog was such a hassle. Dongchu poked her head out. "Did you lure the dog away?" Dongchu suddenly lifted him up. "Did you save me because you were worried I'd get hurt?" Lin Junying blushed, denying in his heart, "That's not it, I just happened to." Holding him in her arms, she smiled and said, "Thank you, but don't do dangerous things next time." Lin Juning's little face was red and puffy. Whatever, let her think what she wants. The next second, a loud noise broke the awkwardness. "You must be hungry, but you're so dirty. Let's get you cleaned up and change your clothes." Lin Junying froze. Damn, being pushed around like this. By now, Lin Junying was blushing furiously, already changed into new clothes. Dongchu brought a plate. "Try this." Though it's still beans and carrots, I added some chopped ham. Lin Junying took a small bite. "It's pan-fried. It does taste better." Dongchu eagerly waited for his review. "How is it?" "Tasty." Lin Junying reached out his little hand. "Add some pepper and salt, and it might be barely edible." With pepper added, it indeed became very delicious. Dongchu's eyes lit up like stars. "Little Li, you're amazing." Lin Junying proudly snorted. "Humph. Karma comes around. Heaven spares no one." Lin Junying never imagined he'd end up like this. Just as Dongchu was about to give Lin Junying a bath, he suddenly ran away. But it was useless. "Found you." Lin Junying was helplessly hugging his knees. Sensing trouble, he tried to run but was caught by Dongchu. Dongchu held him in her arms. "Got you. Now be good and take your bath." Lin Junying's face turned bright red. "I don't wanna. If I don't resist, this woman will become more and more unrestrained." His hair bristled in anger everywhere. If you keep being naughty, I'll have to punish you in a very scary way. The next second, Lin Jining looked bewildered. Donchu smiled innocently. I learned this from a big bad guy. Now will you behave? Lin Jining's face turned ashen. Is this secret revenge? Having failed to resist, he could only comply. Donchu happily hummed a tune. Let me look at your eyes. Can you see clearly? Lin Jining's little face was flushed as he answered in a baby voice. That's great. Thank goodness for the path of holy light. Meanwhile, the Skylark Manor Lord kept knocking on his daughter's door. Who was the father of the child? Why won't you just tell me? Layla's eyes were empty, her face lifeless. This child has nothing to do with Lord Jining. It has nothing to do with anyone else. This is just my child. Please leave me alone. Seeing his precious daughter in such a state, how could she possibly let this go? At this time, Lin Jining heard a noise and told Donchu not to let anyone find her. The manor lord burst in. Where are the people sent by Lord Jining? Donchu was startled by his appearance. Hello, I'm Donchu. Donchu stated that she also didn't know Lord Jining's whereabouts. The manor lord had just returned from Lu Jincheng. Though there wasn't major chaos in the city, people were anxious. Everyone thought the lord's actions were very strange this time. Donchu got to the point. I heard you refused to pay taxes months ago and suddenly stopped supplying building materials to the city, causing collapses during the rainy season. Skylark Manor Lord frowned. You came for these matters? Then he started complaining. Lin Jining is really petty, and he casually flirts with women while maintaining that serious face of his, still pretending to be proper. Lin Jining was eavesdropping from the second floor. This guy just keeps bad-mouthing me endlessly, making up random excuses. He must be hiding something. Donchu played along. I've heard many rumors before. After meeting him in person, some rumors do make sense. His face darkened. Shouldn't even this woman be speaking up for him? How unlucky can this lord be? Not only was he misunderstood about ruining someone's daughter, but after becoming small, he's even mistaken for his own illegitimate child. While Lin Jining was criticizing Donchu, he accidentally made a noise. Ague immediately sent the foolish dog to investigate. Donchu tried to stop it, but was too late. The dog cornered Lin Jining. Everyone rushed over at the sound. What? It's actually a child. But this child looked exactly like Lin Jining. Donchu stepped forward to protect Lin Jining's little face. Are you alright? Seeing this, the Skylark Manor Lord burned with anger. Your child with Lord Jining is already this big? After ruining my daughter, the Lord sends you here to humiliate us? Donchu and Lin Jining were both shocked by his bizarre logic. Then the Skylark Manor Lord ordered a search of the entire compound and had them taken to the basement. In the dungeon, Donchu tried to explain the misunderstanding to the Manor Lord, but he clearly didn't believe it. You're still trying to deceive me? Just stay here quietly for now. As a princess, Donchu had never been in such a place. Her face turned ashen, but she still tried to comfort Lin Jining beside her. Don't be afraid, little Li. This isn't scary at all. Seeing her frightened look, Li Jining kindly comforted her. This dungeon seems to have been washed. It's quite clean, no rats or fleas. The previous prisoner probably just left. Donchu was speechless. I don't want to hear this. A moment later, Donchu sat down on her knees. Lin Jining called Donchu's name for the first time. Donchu, why are you called that name? It's really special. Donchu smiled and explained. The name means winter bird. She was born premature. Her mother said when she was just born, she was like a trembling baby bird. But even so, she grew up healthy. Looking at Donchu's smiling face, Lin Jining's cheeks flushed again. Getting you involved in this mess. Do you regret saving me? Donchu affectionately ruffled Lin Jining's hair. Lin Jining immediately blushed and quickly raised his small hands to stop her. No, little Li, you're such a good child. You're trying to comfort me by talking to me, aren't you? No one knows what will happen in the future or what the right choice is. But at least you're here now. It really makes me less afraid. Lin Jining's heart rippled with emotion. Then Donchu suddenly changed her tone. It's all Lin Jining's fault. Next time I see him, I'll settle scores with him. Lin Jining turned away. His feelings became complicated. At this moment, Donchu noticed a rose mark on the wall. It seemed to have been carved recently, with traces of blood still visible. What kind of person would have the mood to carve this while being imprisoned here? Can you believe it? This woman killed the child's father with her own hands, right in the cell where Donchu and others were held. He died miserably by her side. Late at night, just as Donchu and Lin Jining had fallen asleep, a dark figure suddenly appeared. Layla stood expressionless outside the door. her red pupils fixed on them. Dongchu turned pale with fright and asked tremblingly who she was. Layla said she was the Skylark Manor Lord's daughter and knew they weren't involved in this matter, so she came specially to release them. Unexpectedly, old Skylark's daughter was really pregnant. Earlier she had hinted at Lin Junying, but he thought it was just a joke. The Skylark Manor Lord's daughter was very proud and looked down on everyone. She had rejected many suitors before. Before leaving, Master Zong noticed Layla kept looking at that cell. What was she looking at? In a blink, they were already outside. Min Junying accidentally tripped on a tree branch. Fortunately, Dongzi quickly caught him. Are you okay? Min Junying thought with a red face that having short legs was really inconvenient. Layla said coldly, "How troublesome. I hate children. Having children won't keep a man's heart, especially someone as cold and proud as Lord Junying." Lin Junying and Dongchu both felt awkward instantly. Then Dongchu finally voiced her question. "Miss Layla, do you know who was held in that cell before?" Layla didn't turn around. A gardener in the past. Every morning, this gardener would bring him fresh roses. But when the Skylark Manor Lord discovered his daughter was pregnant, he suspected every male who had approached Layla, not even sparing this gardener. An illegitimate child, without family approval. It was only because of Layla's momentary kindness that he was allowed to work in the garden. How could I possibly have anything to do with him? Someone like him, even in death, no one would remember. Layla's tone was calm and emotionless, yet somehow made Dongchu feel sad. He really loved roses, didn't he? That's why he carved one on the dungeon wall. Layla's eyes suddenly widened, then slowly closed them. "I'm leaving. Once I pass through this forest, I can get out." Meanwhile, old Skylark learned of the situation and immediately ordered people to search. At the same time, Layla was standing by the river. In her hand, she held the stone with the rose mark from the dungeon. The gardener's smiling face kept appearing in her mind. "Miss Layla, seeing you every day is the only thing that makes me happy." Layla closed her eyes tightly and jumped. "Someone like me? Have you ever seen such a father? On the surface, he cares for his daughter meticulously, but never considers her feelings. All for the family's reputation, in the name of love." When the servants rescued Layla, her breathing was very weak. As for whether she would wake up, even the doctor couldn't determine. But strangely, the child in her womb was completely unaffected. The Skylark Manor Lord flew into a rage, blaming the doctor's incompetence. He reproached Ahuan, Layla's best friend, for only making sarcastic remarks. At this moment, his subordinates reported that the two escapees had been caught. Old Skylark instantly found new targets for his anger. "It's their fault. It's all their fault." Just moments ago, Dongchu was still feeling grateful that Layla had let them go. "I wonder if Mr. Skylark will be angry. Where did Lin Junying go? There's no news at all." Lin Junying, munching on bread, asked, "Dongchu, do you believe in magic?" Dongchu asked, puzzled. "What kind of magic?" He planned to tell Dongchu everything, like how one person could transform into another form. Dongchu thought for a moment, like a prince turning into a frog. "Your little face sometimes looks so serious. I thought you didn't like these stories." Dongchu laughed carelessly. Junying was exasperated. "That's not what I meant." Suddenly, the manor's guards appeared behind them. "They're over there. Catch them." The guards rushed towards Dongchu, wielding their clubs. Lin Junying acted quickly. He grabbed a tree branch and struck the dock. But his coolness lasted no more than 3 seconds before being caught. Dongchu and the others could only surrender obediently. Now on the Skylark Manor walls, Dongchu tried to explain that she didn't know little Li's background, trying to get the Manor Lord to calm down. But it was useless. "It's all your fault for hurting my Layla. I'll sink you all to the bottom of the lake." Dongchu anxiously asked, "What happened to Miss Layla?" Lin Junying sneered, "We were just captured by you. If something happened to your daughter, you should blame yourself first." Old Skylark, as if struck at a weak point, frantically ordered the guards to silence him. "Since you keep saying this child has nothing to do with you, I'll give you a chance to live. Kill him. Kill this child with your own hands, and I'll let you go." Li Junying couldn't believe it. "You're insane." The guard kicked him again, and Li Junying groaned in pain. Then old Skylark continued asking, "Well?" After a moment, Uncle Dong spoke calmly, "Fine, I will. But please don't let him suffer anymore." The girl now picked up the knife, preparing to end the young child's life. The Skylark Lord's face showed delight. "Better behave yourself. Don't think about fighting all of us. I'm only giving you one chance. Do it." Dongchu stepped closer to Lin Junying. "Poor child. Let me hold him." The Skylark Lord gestured his approval. I'm sorry, little one. I don't even know your real name. Donchu held Lin Jining tightly. Though we haven't known each other long, we face such danger. You're a brave child, not crying or making a fuss even now. Lin Jining's eyes widened. Could this woman be planning to? Donchu whispered in Lin Jining's ear. Are you willing to trust me with your safety? Take this risk with me? Lin Jining's lips curved upward. Yes. The next second, Donchu quickly cut the ropes. Standing on the high platform, she leaped. A huge splash rose from the lake's surface. Donchu, holding Lin Jining, slowly sank. A moment later, Lin Jining opened his eyes, but Donchu showed no response. He anxiously shook Donchu's body. Did she faint? Or hit something? Falling from such a height, if unlucky, even bones could shatter. Lin Jining tried to swim upward with Donchu, but his current body wasn't strong enough. Foolish woman, talking about taking risks together. The feeling of suffocation grew stronger. If he didn't let go now, he would die here too. It's so painful. Did this foolish woman infect me? Lin Jining gripped Donchu's wrist tightly. Don't die. This body of Donchu is too weak. His consciousness began to blur, his hands losing strength. In the next moment, a strong hand grabbed Donchu's delicate wrist. Lin Jining's body miraculously recovered. He pulled Donchu into his arms. Donchu hadn't completely lost consciousness, but felt numb with pain all over and couldn't open her eyes. Lin Jining gently lifted Donchu's face. He transferred oxygen to her. Donchu felt such warmth. So death isn't such a frightening feeling. Meanwhile, the Skylark Lord persisted. They should have been washed up around here. Quick, find them. Lin Jining, completely bare, carried Donchu towards the shore. The Skylark Lord saw Lin Jining and was shocked. You're Lord Jining. Lin Jining's cheeks flushed, his gaze full of tenderness. A miracle had occurred. Foolish woman. The girl now dreamed of embarrassing scenes, and the subject was the proud lord who had once bullied her. Donchu looked incredulous. How could I dream such things? Li Jining was by the bedside. You're awake. Donchu blushed. It really is you. Why are you here? I happen to be swimming nearby. Donchu immediately asked, How's little Lin? Li Jining looked slightly embarrassed, telling her the child was fine. Donchu felt relieved. So it was really Lin Jining who saved them. What a coincidence that he appeared. She wouldn't have to worry about these matters anymore. Lin Jining silently watched Donchu. His hand hovered in midair. He wanted to ask if she was hurt, if anything felt uncomfortable, considering the fall from such a height. Donchu suddenly turned around, and Lin Jining quickly withdrew his hand. Thank you, Lord Jining. I'll never forget your kindness in saving me. As for the Skylark family's matter, please discuss it with Mr. Skylark yourself. Lin Jining sensed the coldness in Donchu's words. She was deliberately keeping her distance. Remembering how she smiled when calling little Li, would he never see that smile again? Li Jining sighed softly. I understand. Before Skylark could finish speaking, an anxious maid's voice came from outside. Quick, go. Find a doctor. Layla's condition is very dangerous. Old Skylark shouted angrily. What do you mean unstoppable bleeding? Helpless? If anything happens to Layla, everyone will pay with their lives. At this moment, Donchu and Li Jining arrived. I might be able to help Miss Layla. Please send someone to fetch my luggage quickly. Old Skylark didn't believe her. Even doctors are helpless. What can you do? Donchu explained. She had the divine wine path of holy light from the south. Old Skylark was surprised but then asked, Can you guarantee Layla's survival? Though the path of holy light had miraculous healing effects, it wasn't omnipotent and couldn't resurrect the dead. She couldn't guarantee anything. Then why should I trust you? I was trying to kill you not long ago. If Layla dies, will you pay with your life? Li Jining stepped forward, placing his hand on Dongfu's shoulder. I'll vouch for her. She has no intention to harm anyone. Old Skylark laughed almost maniacally. With Lord Jining's protection, even if Donchu deliberately kills someone, I'd have to accept it. The Skylark family has long been abandoned by the Jining family. Now that my family is dying, why do I have to negotiate with the Jining family? He became increasingly agitated. His body trembled uncontrollably. It's the fate of being abandoned. My daughter's life and death mean nothing to you. Donchu urgently expressed that she genuinely wanted to help Layla. She begged him not to give up. Lin Jining seemed thoughtful. The next second, he drew a guard's dagger. He stabbed himself directly. Blood gushed out instantly. I guarantee with my blood. Let Princess Zenziquan treat Miss Skylark first, then treat me. Have you seen couples flirting? the young master blushing every day from his wife's teasing. Now that he's finally back to normal, he should seize the chance to flirt back. Lin Junying sat on the bed without clothes, patiently waiting for Dongchu. Meanwhile, Dongchu gave Layla the path of holy rage. Moments later, Layla slowly opened her eyes. Tears immediately fell. Dongchu felt relieved. Thankfully, Miss Layla was all right. When she returned to see Lin Junying, Dongchu's face turned red. Why wasn't he wearing any clothes? But she couldn't worry about that now. Healing was more important. Dongchu gently applied the holy light due to his wound. Looking up, she met Lin Junying's gentle gaze. Dongchu's heart fluttered. What was happening? Something felt different about Li Junying. A warm sensation transmitted through her hands. Dongchu grew increasingly shy, trying to control her emotions. She tried imagining Li Junying as just a tree stump. Then the wound gradually healed. Dongchu could finally leave with peace of mind. Unexpectedly, Lin Junying suddenly leaned closer. Why won't you look at me? Am I going to eat you? Dongchu's carefully built defenses crumbled instantly. He teased, weren't you so fierce about negotiating with me earlier? Hearing this, Dongchu immediately regained her senses. Have you agreed to my request? The warmth in Lin Junying's eyes turned melancholic. I will consider your wish carefully. Dongchu's heart pounded wildly. How strange. This person was definitely Li Junying. Dongchu kept her head down, her cheeks crimson. Thank you for saving me from the water and for trusting me this time. If he hadn't experienced it himself, Lin Junying couldn't have imagined there could be such a pure and shy woman. Just then, urgent knocking came at the door, breaking the romantic atmosphere between them. The maid informed them that something was wrong with Miss Layla. Please come quickly to check. Junying also felt strange. His body alternated between hot and cold, as if thousands of insects were gnawing at him. Had the potion's effects returned? Dongchu turned and asked what was wrong. Li Junying trembled all over, sweating profusely, but still insisted he was fine. Then he told Dongchu, regarding little Li, things weren't as she imagined. If she sees that child again, please take good care. The next second, Lin Junying closed the door, leaving Dongchu alone outside in confusion. The mansion workers were in chaos. A new life was about to arrive. This girl was born with dark circles and rosy cheeks. But even with these obvious family traits, she couldn't escape the fate of abandonment. The moment Layla's child was born, the manor lord ordered her to be sent away. To the wilderness or lake bottom, anywhere would do. His Layla should have had a better life. What could love bring anyway? But unexpectedly, the child was protected by Dongchu. She held the baby, waiting at the door. Old Yu became furious at the sight. Didn't I say to throw it away? Do you want to see the Yushu family's outcry? Dongchu hurriedly explained that she just found it interesting. She'd never seen such a child before. Don't you want to look at her just once? Old Skylark inadvertently glanced at the child in her arms, then tremblingly took her. This was a Skylark family child, exactly like Layla when she was born. Finally, old Skylark kept the child. The people wept with joy, thanks to Princess Zenziquin. Mela had a look of disgust. Father, how is she identical to me? Am I that ugly? Seeing the child's adorable appearance, Mela's heart instantly melted. Old Skylark showed a kind smile. She's not ugly at all. In 18 years, she'll be as beautiful as a rose. This beautiful scene brought tears to Dongchu's eyes. Meanwhile, Li Junying quietly disappeared during the mansion's chaos. Dongchu thought Li Junying was strange. Before leaving, he had baby clothes sent over. About little Li, was this another test? Lin Junying opened the door, red marks still visible on his face. Dongchu exclaimed and hugged him. Sorry I didn't come looking for you until now. Though unsure of Lin Junying's meaning, she couldn't let little Li be sad. Lin Junying was slightly stunned, then buried his face in Dongchu's neck. Dongchu. Dongchu's face beamed with a bright smile. We're friends who've been through hardship together, right? Let's get along well from now on. Li Junying looked at her smiling face and nodded. This silly woman. His chubby face was as red as a ripe shrimp. Dongchu couldn't resist touching it. I'll take good care of you. Hey, don't do this. A few days later, Mr. Skylark left for business. Dongchu and Li Junying were invited by Miss Layla to stay at Skylark Manor. Lin Junying pondered. Last time his body recovered was because the feeling of suffocation in water triggered his body's memory. Lin Junying wanted to try again, at least to return to normal for a few days. But Dongchu discovered him. She rushed over and lifted Lin Junying up, telling him not to do such dangerous things. Lin Junying had no choice but to give up. All right, put me down. The servant smiled, saying the mansion hadn't been this lively in a long time. Mela whispered, "Should be quiet. Little Rose is sleeping." How jealous can a man get? Li Jining actually acted cute to get hugs. This silly one is Ah Huan's brother. Aaron accidentally saw Dong Chu picking flowers. Among the blossoms, the little princess was as beautiful as a fairy descended to earth. At that moment, Aaron felt like he saw an angel. Ah Huang looked at his brother's foolish expression with exasperation, warning him to stay away from Uncle Dong. "Did you see that child? She might be the true Lord's child." Aaron teared up and froze. Ah Huan continued to discourage him. Though Dong Chu won't admit it, her relationship with Li Jining must be special. Aaron immediately grasped the key point. Since Lord Jining hasn't announced marrying her and abandoned them here, that means I still have a chance. Ah Huan was shocked by his thought process. Lu Jianhuan shouted from behind, telling him to wake up. The next noon, Aaron knocked on Dong Chu's door and enthusiastically introduced himself. Dong Chu immediately knew he was Ah Huan's brother. They looked too alike. Lin Jining felt strange behind her. "So it's this guy. He used to make me cry when I was little. Why are you here now?" Then Aaron started speaking straightforwardly, telling Dong Chu that from the first moment he saw him, he couldn't control himself. His mind was filled with his image. "You're the most beautiful and lovely girl I've ever seen." Lin Jining instantly gets a headache, unable to contain his overwhelming feelings. Dong Chu also looks a bit embarrassed, but Aaron says he means no harm and just wants to express his feelings. Then he enthusiastically takes out a basket of strawberries, gives it to the East Palace neighbor, who coldly snorts at the basket of strawberries. Is this trying to win people over? Uncle stares at the red strawberries in front of him, directly invites Aaron in for tea, saying there's no need to be so formal. Just call him Dong Chu. Li Jining gently picks up the basket, thinking just like that he's been won over. Not happy, really not happy. I really want to punch him. Then Dong Chu calls a servant to send some strawberries to Layla. Keeps some for himself on the table. Meanwhile, a small hand is secretly moving. By the time Dong Chu notices, Lin Jining is eating the last few strawberries. Aaron remarks that this child seems to really like strawberries. Dong Chu feels a bit embarrassed and wants to make tea for Aaron. At this moment, Lin Jining's little hands strike again. Aaron is full of questions, asks what's wrong with him. Lin Jining doesn't want to respond, wiping strawberry juice from his mouth corner, determined not to let him drink Dong Chu's tea today. The next second, he tugs at Dong Chu's skirt, says in a childish voice, "Dong Chu, I'm tired. I want to take a nap." Dong Chu bends down. Lin Jining immediately hugs Dong Chu's neck, desperately burrowing into his embrace. Why suddenly so? Clingy little Lin? Lin Jining remains silent, his ears instantly turning red. This is tactics, yes tactics. Are you asleep? Dong Chu awkwardly looks at Aaron. Then I'll leave now. Lin Juning's plan succeeds. Ha, little thief. In the evening, Aaron brings more strawberries. Dong Chu praises his cheerful personality. Lin Juning is furious, secretly cursing that guy as a fool. Dong Chu wonders, why aren't you eating strawberries anymore? Looking at the innocent and cute little boy, who actually has the mind of a 20-year-old adult, to sabotage his wife's interaction with a rival. He's really gone to great lengths. After delivering strawberries, Aaron excitedly comes to invite Dong Chu shopping. While Dong Chu is still hesitating whether to accept, Mela says Aaron seems nice and gossipingly asks, "What exactly is your relationship with Lord Jining? Is it okay to be with other men lately?" Dong Chu's face instantly turns red. There's nothing between Lin Jining and me. The marriage will be canceled sooner or later anyway. Dong Chu clenches his small fists, thinking there's nothing between him and Mr. Aaron either. Why hesitate because of Lin Jining? Then go out and have a good time. That market is like a festival. It's very fun. Layla strokes Dong Chu's smooth cheeks. You should dress up beautifully, captivating everyone. At this moment, a cold voice rang out. What are you doing? Awa stood at the doorway with a dark face. Layla teased, we're playing a dress-up game. Would Ahuan like to join? Ahuan didn't answer. Then Dong Chu suggested inviting him to the market. But he was still wary of Dong Chu, coldly stating that he would certainly go to keep an eye on Dong Chu. The next day, Dong Chu came for the appointment, and they arrived at the northern region. He hadn't had a chance to look around for Lin Jining. How could he let them date alone? He squeezed in between them while holding Dong Chu's hand. At this moment, Enran's friend appeared and discovered he had a beautiful person by his side. Enran suggested participating in the horse racing competition, winning the crown, and giving it to the beauty. That would be the best gift. And Ran immediately agreed. Ahuan said that her foolish brother would take at least half a day to finish the competition. But this was good, not having to be with a princess of unknown origin. Even if you saved Layla, it doesn't mean everyone will accept you. After saying this, she turned and left. Lin Junying sensed Dong Chu's disappointment and grabbed his hand, saying, "You said there's lots of delicious food at the market. That's why I came with you. Let's go eat." Everyone smiled. Since that's the case, let's have fun together with Little Lee. Shall we go eat pumpkin pudding? Little Lee likes sweets, right? How did you know? Suddenly, and Rand's friend returned. He had been wondering how to get rid of that female swordsman, but unexpectedly, she left on her own. He cornered Dong Chu. To have such a beauty, only a fool would go for the championship. I'm much more interesting than that young master. Want to play with me? Li Ning grabbed a wooden stick and hit the man's leg. The man winced in pain. He needed to teach him a lesson. Actually, he was secretly waiting for an opportunity. If he could get a bit lower, even in this form, he might be able to kill. Before Li Jinying could react, he put a basket over the man's head. He picked up Li Jinying and ran. Li Jinying secretly lamented that he didn't even have a chance to fight back. As a man, his wife always protected him in dangerous situations. Lin Jingying was very unhappy. He told Dong Chu to put him down. There are many people here. That guy won't dare to show up. Lin Jinying frowned. Even if you don't run, I can still beat him up. Dong Chu tapped his head. Children should act like children. Wait until you grow up to protect me. His eyes fell silent. After running for so long, Dong Chu felt thirsty and wanted to buy coconut juice, but he couldn't find his wallet anywhere. It must have fallen out while running. The kind shop owner, seeing this, gave them one directly. Dong Chu quickly thanked him. At this time, the shop owner's daughter said, "Big sister's hat is really pretty. She wants one too." Uncle Dong directly puts the hat on the little girl's head. The little girl beams with joy. Lin Jiying holds the coconut juice and asks if they should share it. Dongju bends down. Lin Jingying's cheeks turn red. Then their date officially begins. The little princess is sweet and cute, always attracting mysterious admirers, making Lin Jing frequently jealous on the side. After walking around for a while, Dongju remarks that North Jade's market is indeed lively. Everywhere is full of vibrant energy. No matter where you go, people's smiling faces are all similar. Lin Junying looks at Dongchu's flower-like smile, lost in thought. So she came all this way here. What is her true hope after all? Meanwhile, the Skylark Manor Lord is having a secret meeting with a man in black. How have you considered it? The Skylark Manor Lord says he doesn't want to join them. The Skylark family isn't really betraying the Jinying family. Besides, he just became a grandfather and doesn't want to put his family in danger again. Is that so? Such an indecisive fellow. This isn't up to you. The man strikes with his knife. The manor lord falls into a pool of blood. The man orders, "Report about that woman and child to the superiors immediately." Meanwhile, Aaron is injured in the horse racing competition. When Dongchu learns of this, he rushes over. Aaron shows a silly smile. "Miss Dongchu, I won the crown for you." Aaron's leg is wrapped in bandages. Bloodstains are faintly visible. Something seems to strike Dongchu's heart as she mutters his name, initially wanting Aaron to return for treatment quickly, but Ahuan took the carriage somewhere unknown, so they decide to rent one to return first. In the carriage, Aaron apologetically says, "Made Miss Dongchu wait so long, and I even got injured. How embarrassing." The driver says the festival was fun, but his leg injury looks serious and needs quick treatment. Lin Junying looks out the window, suddenly feels uneasy. "Stop, where are we going?" Just then, smoke fills the carriage. Everyone feels weak and collapses. Dongchu's group is taken to a barn. A masked man pushes the door open, takes out the holy light pork, and asks Dongchu to open it. Each holy light pork bottle has special gears at the mouth, requiring knowledge of the mechanism to open. He doesn't carry that bottle with him. Could it be stolen from the Skylark family? Dongchu quickly thinks of a strategy. "The bottle's mechanism needs my hands to open. You've tied me up. How can I open it for you? My feet are still bound." The man thinks untying the ropes isn't a big deal. Just then, the neighbor appears again, knocks the man down. There's a shovel under the haystack. Dongchu bends down to pick up the shovel, shouts, "Don't come closer, or I won't be nice." The man's mask slips off. Aaron recognizes him as the male servant from the Skylark family, demanding to know why he's doing this. The man's voice trembles, explaining he wants to use the divine wine to save his wife. Dongchu doesn't understand. Why didn't he just ask nicely? He might have helped directly. The man looks terrified. "I'm sorry, Miss Dongchu." The The divine society found out about the holy wine. I had no choice. The man begs desperately for some holy wine, saying his wife is dying. Suddenly, several people dressed as disciples appear. Traitors shouldn't exist in this world. One of them swings a long sword at the man. Dongchu's pupils dilate, frozen in shock. Then, the leader says they should have been more polite in inviting him. But Lord Fu doesn't like being refused. Hopes he won't struggle. Li Jining keeps calling Dongchu's name beside him, but Dongchu seems soulless, staring fixedly at the man lying in the pool of blood. The leader picks up the blood-stained path of holy light. Really, the divine wine bottle is all dirty now. Lord Sushi hates dirty things the most. Then he orders to take Dongchu and others back with him. Uncle Dong faintly hears little Li's calls, then falls into darkness. When he wakes up again, Uncle Dong is in a room filled with white sand. His ankles are chained. He softly calls little Li's name, but there's no response. Then a man dressed as a priest appears. Are you looking for that child? The man's eyes emit a faint blue light. He says word by word, I've cast him into the realm of sin. By now, he should no longer be in this sinful world. Dong can't believe it, grabs the man's clothes, and demands loudly, What do you mean? Who are you? Why did you kill little Li? The man speaks calmly. This is where the northern saints gather. People generally call me Fu Si. Jia states that the child's identity was suspicious, and in his eyes, he saw something that shouldn't exist. His existence is original sin. Erasing him is the best plan. This man, as a father figure revered by the people, yet treats lives as worthless grass. After the Jining family took control of North Jade, the entire region escaped the church's control. However, various groups still exist underground, and this is one of them. Saints don't kill innocent people needlessly. The youth from the Bonfire family is still intact in prison. He knows Dongchu is the princess of the Holy Kingdom. The divine wine shouldn't be scattered outside. Therefore, you and the divine wine should be better protected by us. This person actually knows about the Holy Fist. Dongchu forcefully shakes off his arm. I don't need your protection. This is imprisonment. In the confusion, Fu Si's hat falls off. Light blue hair is revealed. How unreasonable. Fu Si readjusts his clothes and hat. It's prayer time now. Take the princess down with us. This seems to be underground, somewhat cold. No windows, connected by intersecting corridors. At this time, people are praying devoutly. In this miserable world, people need divine blessing. Dongchu disagrees, but you can't put shackles on them all to force their will. At this moment, a mother rushes out from the crowd. Lord Fu Si, please save my child. Our house roof collapsed. He was injured by the collapse. It's that child from the marketplace. Fu Si notices Dongchu knows them. He immediately orders. Lord Fu Si says this child's fate is sealed. No need for treatment anymore. Angrily questioned why he said that. The child should receive treatment quickly. If they could afford a doctor, they wouldn't come to me for help. At least I can give them some comfort. I am their God. Following the father's instructions, the child's mother has accepted this fact. Is it God taking you away? Dongchu shouts. Don't give up on him. Find a way to treat him. The next second, the chains are pulled. Making a noise, Dongchu falls to the ground. Fu Si speaks coldly. Even if he could hear you, do you think he would believe? They will still believe in me. Indeed, Dongchu knows the result. The people's faith in him is beyond imagination. We can let our doctors treat him too. Fu Si's fingertips brush through Dongchu's hair. Do you understand how you should speak to me? The helpless image of the mother and daughter appears in Dongchu's mind. Please save that child. In the room, Dongchu curls up in the corner. Although they won't harm him for now, but innocent people will be affected. Dongchu thinks of little Li. I'm sorry. Little Li? At this moment, a tall figure appears. Dongchu panics. Who? The next second, the man bends down and covers Dongchu's mouth. Don't make a sound, it's me. It's Li Jiying, who has returned to his original form. Lin Jingying's appearance instantly makes Dongchu lower all guards. His eyes fill with tears. Voice choked, Little Li, they killed Little Li. Dongchu grabs Lin Jingying's clothes, his small body trembling continuously. The sudden intimate gesture makes Lin Jingying's cheeks flush again. He speaks gently. Little Li, he's fine, I saved him. Dongchu's eyes fill with tears, disbelieving. Really? Lin Jingying confirms, of course it's true. Little Li even said he wants to eat pumpkin pudding together next time. Dong Chu's suspended heart finally settles, but tears keep falling. Lin Jingying becomes flustered. Why are you crying even harder? Dong Chu feels embarrassed, saying sorry repeatedly, but can't stop the tears. The next moment, Lin Jingying affectionately holds Dong Chu in his arms. Really, if you want to cry, just cry properly. In my arms, I can't see, and I won't laugh at you. Dong Chu's face turns red, burying his head in his neck. Li Jingying's body is unusually warm, bringing a comforting temperature in the cold. All the grievances and sadness surge out at this moment. Tears wet Li Jingying's clothes, and a warm sensation follows. After some time, Dong Chu regains composure and notices Li Jingying's alarmingly high temperature. Is it normal for someone to be this hot? He looks up, wanting to ask Lin Jingying how he got here. At this moment, Lin Jingying suddenly loses support and falls onto the bed with a thud. Dong Chu's slender fingers gently brush his forehead. His eyes are breathing heavily. The sustained high temperature has exhausted him. As predicted earlier, when nearly drowning in the water, his body returned to its original state. But this time he almost died. He struggled to climb out from the well bottom and followed some disciples to find Dong Chu's room. At Dong Chu's call, Lin Jingying slowly opens his eyes. Dong Chu anxiously asks if he's all right. Just then, the door opens again. Your Highness Princess, please have your meal. Dong Chu hides Lin Jingying under the blanket and calmly says, put it there. I've already rested. Also, I don't like being disturbed. Knock before entering next time. Dong Chu has the disciple inform Fu Si that he won't resist, but they must treat him with respect. The subordinate relays Dong Chu's words exactly to Fu Si, indicating that as long as he doesn't escape, they'll try to meet his requests. The subordinate is confused, thinking Lord Fu Si is too lenient with the princess. Fu Si turns around, his words carrying undisputable authority. What do you know? If we can learn more secrets about the Holy Spring from him, perhaps I can return south sooner. The Holy Spring's secrets concern the entire church. The girl stares intently at the man who once bullied her. How is she here? Could she be an undercover? Does the Lord need to do this personally? This is Dong Chu's first time seeing Lin Jingying up close. She looks so much like little Lin, and her eyelashes are so long. Lin Jingying's appearance is like a lifeline in a storm, rekindling hope in Dong Chu's heart. Just then, Lin Jingying suddenly opens his eyes. Dong Chu realizes he's unconsciously leaned too close. Quickly sitting up, he awkwardly changes the subject. Lord Jingying, would you like to eat something? Lin Jingying is still very weak. He holds his head and grunts. A moment later, Dong Chu picks up the bowl, preparing to feed him. The blush on Lin Jingying's cheeks seems to deepen. He remains silent, allowing Dong Chu to feed him. This docile behavior makes Dong Chu feel like he's dealing with a child. Is this really that annoying person? After eating, Li Jingying falls asleep again. Dong Chu suddenly realizes a big problem. Where will he sleep with him here? Late at night, Lin Jingying's condition worsens. He shouts in delirium, making painful sounds. Dong Chu holds his hand, murmuring, please don't let anything happen to you. You just gave me some hope. Please get better soon. Early the next morning, Lin Jingying improves slightly. He opens his eyes to see Dong Chu leaning on his shoulder, tears still on his cheeks. He fondly strokes Dong Chu's hair. Such a crybaby who tries to act tough. Then Pu Song brings food. But how is this enough for two people, especially with Li Jingying being sick? Dong Chu stands with hands on hips, shouting, it's too stuffy here. This princess is in a bad mood. This food won't do. I want milk and meat, and fresh fruit too. Pu Song hesitates at this sudden willfulness. I don't care if you keep me here, but can't you fulfill such small requests? After returning, Pu Song reports everything truthfully. Upon hearing this, someone shows displeasure. This princess is throwing tantrums now. But Fu Si orders food to be prepared for Dong Chu. As per Dong Chu's request, the food has been served. He takes some fruit, wanting Li Jingying to eat. Li Jingying is laughing, his whole body shaking. Your spoiled behavior is quite interesting. Dong Chu's small face turns bright red. He stuffs an apple directly into his mouth. Eat properly, so you can get better. Lin Jingying holds the apple in his mouth, feeling a warmth in his heart. Thank you. When we leave here, I'll have a chance to explain everything. Just then, there's another knock at the door. Dongchu quickly covers Lin Jiying with the blanket. The messenger announces, Lord Fu Si requests your presence. Lin Jiying's large hand quietly touches Dongchu's hand, gesturing him to go without worry. I understand, I'll go now. This girl, with shackles on her feet, has been imprisoned in the underground church. Now Fu Si wants Dongchu to become his priest. Dongchu scoffs. What if I refuse? Fu Si grabs the rope and pulls Dongchu down. I can wait patiently. Dongchu remains defiant. Do you plan to rely on me forever? Fu Si's face darkens, speaking with mockery. This must be quite uncomfortable for you. I should have them gild your shackles with gold patterns. That would better suit your status and beauty. Meanwhile, in the corner, the priest glares viciously at the two. Lord Fu Si, I am your priest. What is this princess to you? Just then, someone reports that the back corridor is on fire. Hearing this, Fu Si quickly orders people to extinguish the fire and has Dongchu escorted back to his room. Dongchu feels uneasy. Could it be me, Jiying? The corridor is filled with disciples fighting the fire. Who knew there were so many people here? In the chaos, Dongchu is bumped, but a strong pair of hands catches him. This burning touch, Dongchu immediately understands. Li Jiying holds his hand, disguised as a disciple walking together. Dongchu knows he's protecting him secretly. A warmth spreads in his heart. Back in the room, Li Jiying tells Dongchu that after starting the fire, based on his observations, he discovered the place is enormous. Those intersecting corridors house at least 1,000 people. If properly arranged, this place could hide tens of thousands. This is clearly more than just a church. It could be considered an underground military camp. Li Jiying's large hand suddenly grabs Dongchu's foot. Dongchu immediately resists. What are you doing? Lin Jiying explains he has a dagger and wants to try opening his shackles. Dongchu's face turns red. He can only let Li Jiying handle it. However, the shackles are stronger than expected. They can't be opened. Looking at Dongchu's fair feet, after a moment of silence, he speaks shyly. Your feet are so cold. Hearing this, Dongchu's ears turn red. You still have a fever. Get well soon. Dongchu says Fu Si won't hurt him for now, just makes him pray daily. He wraps clothes around Dongchu, embracing him from behind. Don't be afraid. I'll protect you with my life. Dongchu's heart ripples, silently calling his name. Meanwhile, Fu Si is investigating the fire's cause. The priest kneels and begs. Lord Fu Si, you've already united many scattered forces in the north. Even without that princess, we'll eventually return to the church. The priest hugs his leg, choking up. I'm the most loyal to you, Lord Fu Si. The next moment, Fu Si kicks him away without hesitation, his eyes full of contempt. Only noble, pure maidens can become God's priests. Your lowly appearance better not be seen by the disciples. Such a waste of beautiful golden hair. The maiden bites her lip, thinking secretly, I can't let that woman stay by Lord Fu Si's side. This fool never imagined he'd have such good fortune. Dongchu's face is flushed red, lying delicately in his arms. The next moment, his nose starts bleeding. What should I do, such a soft body? The Holy Spring Kingdom's princess, imprisoned for long to obtain the spring's secret, finally has a chance to see daylight. Li Jiying forces Fu Si to hand over the shackle key and threatens him to prepare a carriage for their escape. They finally reach the surface. This massive underground organization appears to be just an ordinary small church from the outside. The carriage is now ready. Aaron has multiple leg injuries, and they ask about his condition with concern. Lin Jiying sees this and angrily shouts not to dawdle. You drive the carriage. Aaron is startled by his sudden anger. He agrees repeatedly. After Dongchu confirms the carriage is fine, he wants Lin Jiying to get in. Just then, a sword flies through the air. Lin Jiying instinctively dodges. Fu Si takes the chance to break free. He tries to grab the dagger. Actually, their plan was already exposed. The area is full of Fu Si's hidden attendants. Lin Jiying wants them to leave quickly. Don't get in the way here. Aaron should take him back and gather the guards from the Skylark and Bonfire families. Aaron follows orders, breaking through the siege with Dongchu. They rush away while Lin Jiying is surrounded by attendants behind them. Dongchu pounds on the carriage door, wanting Aaron to stop, but Aaron thinks they'd be helpless even if they went back. They should follow the Lord's instructions. Once they reach the main road and get to the post station, they'll be safe. Tears stream from Dongchu's eyes, feeling like he's about to lose something important. He's afraid it'll be too late to stop. They won't kill me easily. I must go back for Li Junying. Aran thinks it's too dangerous, but Dongchu has made up his mind. Aran, you must return safely. Wait for you to save us. After saying this, Dongchu jumps off the carriage. Meanwhile, Li Junying has been subdued. Lord Fu Si recognizes him. Although this base is exposed, capturing a lord is quite an achievement. I can take your head back to the church and hang it on the highest sacred statue. Just as Fu Si is about to act, Dongchu appears. Fu Si, I'm willing to trade the Holy Spring secret for his life. Lin Junying didn't expect Dongchu to come save him, looking at him with complex emotions. But this time Fu Si isn't so easily fooled. Although the Holy Spring secret is crucial, he has used it as leverage time and time again. My patience is limited. If you think you can make endless demands with this, I won't keep indulging you. Dongchu's intentions are transparent to him and can only compromise. This is my last request. Please don't hurt him. Fu Si's eyes flash with suspicion. Is this man important to your highness? Dongchu hesitates, then speaks firmly. He is my fiancé. This contracted couple, the wife insisting on escaping to save another man, now successfully escaped yet returns for him. Lin Jing's jealousy hasn't subsided, coldly asking why he came back. Dongchu certainly couldn't abandon him. You really worry too much. Can't leave this one, can't abandon that one. How can these be the same? Dongchu explains with a red face. If something happened to you, I wouldn't be at peace for my entire life. Lin Jingying's eyes show a strange light hearing this, then seems to think of something and sighs. Is it because of the engagement? You already admitted it. His intense reaction startles Lin Jingying. That doesn't count. I only said that to convince Fu Si. Lin Jingying is again confused by Dongchu's back and forth. What counts and what doesn't is all up to you. Such a fickle woman. Sensing Lin Jingying's anger, Dongchu explains he doesn't like his future being decided without his input and doesn't want to commit rashly. At least bring flowers and properly propose for me to accept. Lin Jingying's anger disappears as if discovering a big secret, saying with a smile, "Is that so?" Dongchu instantly regrets it. What am I saying at a time like this? We might lose our heads soon. Since Aran escaped, Fu Si ordered everyone to evacuate. They were drugged and had no strength to escape. They traveled like this for 2 days. Fu Si comes to ask Dongchu when he'll reveal the spring secret. Dongchu isn't foolish. Once told, he would surely kill them all. Fu Si isn't surprised by Dongchu's wisdom. Such a clever princess. But words alone aren't enough. I can't keep accommodating you. You must give something in return. An ominous feeling rises in Dongchu's heart. What do you want? Fu Si strokes Dongchu's soft hair. Such beautiful hair color. Tonight, I'll have someone bring you to my tent. Offer yourself to show your sincerity. Upon hearing this, the light instantly fades from Dongchu's eyes. Lin Jing steps forward to protect Dongchu, glaring fiercely at the man before him. I won't kill you. The murderous intent in his eyes makes Fu Si's spine chill. Unfortunately, a caged falcon is no different from poultry. He can only watch helplessly. Of course, I can give the princess another choice. If the princess refuses, tomorrow I'll cut off one of his arms. If she still refuses, I'll cut off one of his legs. Dongchu shouts loudly, telling him to stop. I agree. Satisfied with the answer, Fu Si leaves contentedly. This poor girl, now having to offer herself just to protect her fiancé. While this seemingly respectable man is actually like a demon in private. He lifts Dongchu's chin, examining the young woman carefully. Dongchu doesn't resist, enduring silently. She washes her hands, and in the next moment, Fu Si is shocked to discover blood stains on the girl. His imagination runs wild. The pure princess has become defiled. He roars uncontrollably, ordering Pu Song to throw this woman out. What is going on here? Actually, after father and son left, Li Jinying faced breakdown. His beloved woman was being humiliated, yet he was powerless. He pounds the wall, kneeling before Dongchu. Dongchu knows he's blaming himself. She weakly comforts him. Don't know when Mr. Anren will arrive. No matter what, as long as I can stall that man. Li Jinying desperately wants to kill that demon. He grits his teeth. Blood seeps from his mouth, but this gives Dongchu a bold idea. Maybe I can try something. Lin Junying blushes, thinking to himself. To come up with such an idea. Will it work? At this moment, the cell door opens, and they roughly throw Donchu in. Donchu, tears in her eyes, makes a face at him. Fortunately, the plan worked. Early the next morning, voices of priests discussing can be heard outside. They say Lord Fu Si vomited 3 times last night before resting. Now that princess must be despised. Everything is going according to Donchu's plan. Things should be safe for now. Their team isn't heading straight south, but taking a circuitous route through the terrain. This way they can confuse pursuers. Donchu looks dejected. I don't know when someone will come save us. Jinying speaks softly beside her. Do you regret it? Coming back to save me? Donchu says indifferently. What's there to regret? I'm just following my heart. Hearing this, Jinying's lips curl up. Looks like we're in this together. Life or death. Last night was intense. Donchu fell into a deep sleep as soon as she returned. Somehow, this morning Li Jinying seems to be in quite a good mood. Then the old woman brings water and food. Li Jinying tells Donchu not to drink the water. The drug was mixed in there. At this moment, a voice comes from outside the door. My lady. The key is Qihong from the Yu Shui family. Last night, they made contact with Lin Jingying. Reinforcements are on their way. Lin Jingying tells him to relay the orders back. Follow the plan. From now on, don't eat or drink anything. By tomorrow evening, the drug's effects will wear off. Then we can move freely. Time quickly passes to the next evening. As planned, reinforcements arrive, and the drug's effects have worn off. They unlock the handcuffs. Donchu anxiously asks when they'll make their move. Lin Jinying takes Donchu's hand. He pulls her into his embrace and kisses her without hesitation. Lin Jinying's suppressed emotions finally find release. He embraces Donchu and kisses her passionately. This sudden action makes Donchu blush. Tears in her eyes, she finally manages to say, "You're so rough." Lin Jinying's smile widens. This is just a preview of the reward. Just as Lin Jinying predicted, Fu Si, seeing the situation worsen, orders them to be taken away. But Li Jinying is prepared. With a sword in his right hand and Donchu in his left arm, he easily dispatches the attacking servants. At a safe place, Donchu asks Li Jinying to put her down. There's still some distance from the reinforcements, likely to face more fighting ahead. Donchu is barefoot, making Li Jinying worried. Are you alright? Donchu, afraid of hindering Li Jinying, insists she's fine. By now, Fu Si is caught up with his men. How could I let you escape so easily? Unexpectedly, he has a firearm. Min Jinying pulls Donchu into his arms. Dodging behind a tree, he tells Donchu to hide while he charges forward alone. In a flash of swords, he quickly dispatches 2 servants and reaches Fu Si. Min Jinying's eyes show murderous intent. At the critical moment, a blonde woman jumps in, taking the fatal blow for him. The priestess, tears in her eyes, tries to make a final confession, but he pushes her away. The young woman's fragile body meets the cold blade again. Fu Si shows no remorse. He turns his gun towards the distance. I see him. Could it be Donchu? Just as Li Jinying is distracted, Fu Si suddenly changes direction. Those who act on emotion always have weaknesses. Master Jinying, a gunshot pierces the sky. Li Jinying falls straight backward. Donchu calls his name and runs over. He's already unconscious, blood continuously flowing from his chest. Fu Si remarks from the side, "What a terrifying man. What a waste. Come with me," he says, approaching Donchu. The princess doesn't want Donchu to go, grabs a knife and strikes down. Fu Si covers his face. He screams in pain. The holy light dew falls from his sleeve. Donchu sees it as a lifeline. Trembling, she applies the holy light due to Li Jinying's wound. Please don't die. Please don't die. Tears fall like broken strings of pearls. Meanwhile, Yuanbin arrives. The servants take away the injured Fu Si. Huang and Aaron arrive on horseback. When Donchu sees them, all the exhaustion and fear she's been holding back suddenly floods over her. She collapses powerlessly into Li Jinying's arms. The setting sun's rays shower over them. Finally saved, Li Jinying's fatal chest wound miraculously heals. Though his life is no longer in danger, the bullet cannot be removed. Donchu's tears overflow. Thankfully, he's alright. Donchu wants to see him, but is stopped by Layla. He's still very weak. Besides, Li Jinying is already awake and has asked Layla to prepare porridge for when Donchu wakes up. I didn't expect our lord to be so thoughtful. Dongchu's heart beats wildly. After eating, she remembers that promised reward. Her face turns red instantly. What am I doing? Why am I thinking about that? But regardless, she must properly thank him. Early the next morning, she knocks on Li Juning's door, but somehow he has disappeared again. Someone found a weakened Xiao Li nearby. When asked about recent events, he remains silent. Meanwhile, Lan learns that Li Juning appeared at Skylark Manor with a sudden, illegitimate child. Things are getting more interesting. A few days later, Dongchu's outfit makes both men blush. Li Juning stammers and asks her, "Why are you dressed like this?" Dongchu wants to learn martial arts from Ahwan. Arn enthusiastically recommends himself, but Dongchu politely declines. Li Jing glares at him darkly. Last time's beating wasn't enough. He grabs Dongchu's hand and says in a sweet voice, "I'll go with you." The long-missed head pat happens again. Little Lin can learn a few moves too. That year, Ahwan was forced to become his teacher because he angered Layla by abandoning Dongchu at the market. Looking at your delicate appearance, you're just trying to kill time. Dongchu actually studied martial arts for 3 years, but is still easily knocked down by Ahwan. You've only learned some fancy moves, can't even hold a sword properly. Where should I even start teaching you? Ayla intervenes, saying everyone has different abilities. Don't be so harsh. Ahwan stops arguing. That's enough for today. I'll think about what to teach him tomorrow. A gentle breeze blows as Dongchu sits dejectedly on the grass. Li Jining also thinks he's not cut out for martial arts. Why learn this? I can protect you. For a moment, Dongchu seems to see Li Jining in him, but thinks it must be his imagination. Smiling gratefully, "Thank you, Shaolin. I've grown up being protected, though I know I have no talent, but I can't always rely on others. Even becoming a little stronger would be good." Li Jining looks at Dongchu with heartache. "You really didn't expect it." Dongchu hugs him suddenly. Little Lin will definitely grow up to be a real man. Dongchu looks into the distance. I don't want to be anyone's weakness. Why did he leave without saying goodbye? How to deal with rivals and love? You can kindly massage his waist. Thoughtfully let him rest. You can even care for him gently like this. Aaron's leg injury has mostly healed, but Li Jining thinks it's not enough. Oh, doesn't it hurt anymore? Practice is indeed the only criterion for truth, though he doesn't know yet that the real rival is about to arrive. Ahwan is very busy lately and can't train with Dongchun, so he introduced a good female teacher. This person is actually Lan in female disguise. "Hello, I'm Lan. Yin Jining immediately recognizes this half-brother, but can't expose him. He can only watch as he gives a sisterly kiss. What a lovely lady. Li Jining's thoughts race. Does Lan know his identity? Over the next few days, Lan diligently teaches with dedication. Dongchu remains cautious. He knows Lan must be plotting something, but what can he do in this current state? Dongchu brings some cookies to Shaolin and wants Miss Lan to try some too. Lan smiles and accepts, but that bite nearly sends her away. Does little Dongchu need cooking lessons too? Dongchu looks confused. Little Lin always eats everything he makes. He thought he had improved. Li Jining eats the cookies expressionlessly. Love really does make one lose their sense of taste. Lan watches the scene with interest. What a thoughtful child. There's clearly hidden meaning in those words. After class, they walk by the lake. Lan takes the chance to get closer. Is little Dongchu dancing to exercise? Dongchu explains he was weak as a child and needs exercise, but he used to prefer music and art. Lan immediately compliments. Little Dongchu must sing beautifully. I'd love to hear it. Dongchu doesn't refuse and gracefully sings a hometown folk song. In the moving song, both men are lost in their own thoughts. It ends abruptly. Lan makes his move, secretly asking Dongchu, "Is that child yours and Lord Jining's?" Dongchu gets an instant headache from the question. He quickly denies. "Oh, but the child must have a mother? You don't know either?" These words hit Dongchu's pain point. Yes, he knows nothing. As Lan leaves, he passes by Li Jining. "Little one, you remind me of someone I used to know." Li Jining responds coldly. "I don't know what you're talking about." Lan doesn't give up, speaking again. "That person I knew always kept everyone at arm's length, but I know he would silently grieve for a long time over a dead puppy. That princess who's like a sweet melon is really lovable. You watch him leave arrogantly with a dark face. Why shouldn't girls wear tight clothes? Because accidents like this might happen, causing consequences like this, or even this." Lan carries a sewing kit and eagerly offers to help. How could Lin Jining agree? He hurriedly stops it, stammering that she looks like a man. Hearing this, Lan starts crying with ing, extremely hurt. "Because I'm tall, People often say, I look like a man. It's okay. I'm used to it. Children don't mean harm. Well played, acting like a white lotus, effectively teaching Lin Jining a lesson. Fortunately, he eventually finds a maid to mend the clothes. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Aaron had just stopped his nosebleed when Lin Jining called him. Don't you think that female teacher is suspicious? He had also noticed something wrong. This woman is unusually tall. I'll send someone to investigate. In the evening, the maid reports that Miss Lan Dan is indeed a woman. Aaron also checked her credentials and licenses, finding no issues. He thinks the child must be mistaken. But Li Jining knows inside that he must have done something to trick them. Holding a pocket watch, he mutters, a little hypnosis can make people believe anything. If I'm not wrong, something more interesting than imagine has happened to you. Meanwhile, Li Jining seriously warns Dongchu that the female teacher is strange. Don't get too close to her. Dongchu knows Xiao Li doesn't like Miss Lanlan, but still smiles and promises to be careful. After leaving, Dongchu can't sleep. Who is Xiao Li's mother? He used to think it didn't matter, but now he's somewhat concerned. Moreover, Li Jining is vague about Xiao Li's identity. For a man like him, having several lovers isn't unusual. The more he thinks, the more dejected he becomes. That person just disappeared without a word. A kiss doesn't mean anything. He was going to break off the engagement anyway. That wasn't even my first kiss. I've kissed Mom, Dad, and Little O before. My lips were even bitten by mosquitoes, and besides, I don't like him. Jining didn't sleep well either. He dreamed of his childhood. Back then, he had a cute black dog named Maxie. He loved playing frisbee with it. But once, Maxie brought back a shoe from the bushes. It was Lan's shoe. Lan tried to join them, but how could Lin Jining possibly acknowledge him? It was because of his appearance that Mother became melancholic. Shortly after, Maxie snuck out to play, was accidentally hurt by the guard. Lin Jining rarely showed his emotions. But Lan was different. He thought the puppy was killed because of him. He said tearfully, I just wanted to play with you all. Lin Jining suddenly opens his eyes, Lan's crying echoing in his mind. Why dream of something from so long ago? This younger brother staged a grand show to force his brother to appear. The first step was to gain Dongchu's trust. Due to Lin Jining's warning, Dongchu began distancing himself from Miss Lanlan. Lan took advantage of this and actively sought him out. That's when the execution was planned. His arranged subordinates suddenly appeared. Lan performed dramatically in front of Dongchu. The subordinates used the chaos to drug and kidnap Dongchu. When he opened his eyes again, Uncle Dong was in a misty forest. Lan's act wasn't over. He pretended to rescue Uncle Dong despite the danger. Uncle Dong was under the influence of drugs. Feeling weak, Lan said he would take him back, asked him to hold on a bit longer. The mist was thick. Lan pretended to lose direction, deliberately leading Dongchu in circles. Uncle Dong accidentally tripped on a tree branch. Fortunately, Lan caught him quickly. But this revealed to Uncle Dong that he was a man. Lan sincerely apologized. I'm sorry, little Uncle Dong. I deceived you. My name is Lan. My true identity is Zheng Ying's illegitimate son, your half-brother. Dongchu instinctively stepped back. Lan assured he meant no harm. He only used the false identity to gather information after hearing Yin Jining had appeared. Then he tentatively asked, You won't blame me, right? I have some personal matters to settle with Yin. Dongsu felt their affairs weren't his business, and he didn't know Li Jining well either. Anyway, thank you for saving me. Lan tried to ask about little Li, but Dongsu thought he was just a child who wouldn't understand adult matters, and he was only temporarily caring for him. Lan gently caressed Dongsu's cheek. You're so gentle. Little Uncle Dong. Then, realizing his impropriety, sorry, should I mind my manners given our relationship? As darkness fell and fog thickened, Lan continued pretending to look for a way out. Though drowsy, Uncle Dong instinctively fought sleep. Lan took out that pocket watch again. When I couldn't sleep as a child, I liked putting the watch by my pillow, listening to its tick-tock. I'd fall asleep soon after. Uncle Dong stared at the watch before him. Drowsiness overwhelmed him. Lan's face showed a different expression. Getting old, huh? Leave everything to me. Dongchu closed his eyes peacefully. Thank you, Lan. His golden eyes flashed with complex emotions. Such a lovely girl. Almost makes me jealous. Meanwhile, they discovered Dongchu was missing and immediately thought of Lan. Meanwhile, Lan had returned to Skylark Manor. Are you looking for your beautiful sister? Li Jining demanded to know where Dongchu was. But Lan told him not to rush. First answer some questions. Too many eyes in the manor. Dongchu was in his hands. Unable to act rashly, Li Jining told him to meet at the southwest bridge in an hour. They would discuss his questions then. Their matters needed to be resolved eventually. Should beauty be destroyed if it can't be possessed? Lan returned to see such a scene. Evil thoughts arose naturally. A woman who makes you so nervous. What would happen if she were destroyed? Before this, Lan met with Xiaoman as agreed. He had always suspected this child was Lin Jining, but couldn't be certain. After all, it seemed too incredible. Now his suspicions were confirmed. He came to ask where Lin Jining was. If Lin had always been this cute, he might even consider sparing his life. Keeping you in a cage would make an interesting pet. Lan approached Li Jining step by step. Li Jining demanded loudly. Asked where Dongchu was. Lan smiled, telling him not to worry. That girl came with me willingly. Come with me to get the marriage seal. I'll release him then. Li Jining knew further discussion would be futile. Drew the hidden dagger from his body. Swung it at him. Lan mocked. You think you can beat me with your small frame? Actually, this wasn't Li Jining's real intention. He took the chance to jump straight into the water. Though finding his behavior strange, Lan didn't dwell on it much. Now that he knew his whereabouts, there would be ways to draw him out. For Lin Jining, each time in water was a dance between life and death. Crisis or opportunity could come in an instant. Lan's clothes and hair were damp with moisture, and the leaves on the tree to his left. There was a perpetually misty forest nearby. It must have been there originally. At this moment, the servant looked at the pitiful princess with ill intentions. Before leaving, Lan had instructed that if Uncle Dong woke up, it wouldn't matter if they roughed him up a bit. So beautiful. These noble women are really different. He grabbed Dongchu's wrist, attempting to restrain him. Dongchu struggled fiercely, repeatedly hitting his body. The servant, enraged and humiliated, slapped his face, while Lan was quietly watching everything from nearby. However, he had underestimated their time together. Dongchu's smiling face kept appearing in his mind. He darkly disposed of the servant, looking at the nearly broken girl before him with eyes full of distress. Had he gotten too deep into the role? Why did his heart hurt so much? He draped his clothes over Dongchu. It's all right, it's me. Dongchu's last bit of consciousness instantly faded. Meanwhile, Lin Juning's body had recovered. Seeing Dongchu's state, he flew into a rage, swinging his sword at Lan. Lan couldn't handle this assault. Li Jining grabbed his collar, shouting, "What did you do to him?" Lan's lips curled up, scoffing disdainfully. He belongs to me now. The older brother had just become an adult, only to learn his beloved woman was taken by his brother. Moreover, the unconscious girl kept murmuring his brother's name. Lan used magic to slip away. Dongchu's eyes were tearful, continuously whimpering. Lin Jining's heart ached terribly, regretting why he hadn't appeared sooner. He carefully lifted Dongchu. In his sleep, Dongchu whispered, "Thank you, Lan." Complex emotions flashed through Lin Jining's purple pupils. His brows furrowed, face ashen, suppressing his anger as he took Dongchu back to the manor. Then angrily ordered the servants to clear out. No one was allowed to enter. Dongchu's clothes were disheveled, with visible bruises on his body. Li Jining's hands trembled constantly. No one else could see her in this state. Perhaps due to Li Jining's excessive movement, Dongchu suddenly awoke, screaming and backing away, eyes full of terror. Upon recognizing Li Jining, Dongchu mumbled, "Why is it you?" Lin Jining grew more jealous. Who did you expect it to be? Dongchu didn't understand why he was removing his clothes. Demanding loudly, Lin Jining exploded with jealousy. "I'm helping you clean up. Do you want others to see you like this?" Dongchu shrank into a ball at his shout. He couldn't remember clearly what happened, only that Lan had saved him. Lin Jining's anger burst forth. He grabbed Dongchu, shouting, "How do you know Lan's name? He's just a liar." Lin Jining's grip was too strong. Dongchu reflexively retorted, "This is between you brothers." Lin Jining immediately denied it. "He's not my brother. This has nothing to do with me. Lord Jining and I have nothing to do with each other." Li Jining instantly sobered, his face growing darker. He turned and punched the wall. The mirror fell and shattered with a crisp sound. Uncle Dong startled. What's wrong with him? Why is he so angry? Li Jining spoke coldly. Is that what you think? Uncle Dong didn't know how to respond. Since you have the energy to talk back, go take a bath first. Someone call for a doctor. If there's anything difficult to speak about, you can say I did it. These words left Uncle Dong completely confused. After bathing, Uncle Dong was still wondering what Lin Jing meant. He tried his best to recall the hazy memories in the forest. What was difficult? Something hard to speak about? Uncle Dong's face instantly turned bright red. He misunderstood. That. Should I explain it to him? Then he immediately dismissed the thought. Deliberately explaining such things would be strange too. Uncle Dong was caught in a dilemma. But then he thought Li Jining was just trying to protect him. Uncle Dong's heart fluttered. I still haven't apologized to him yet. Lin Jining pushed open the door and saw this scene. Dong Chu, red-faced, told him not to come closer, saying he could get up by himself. But how could the author let such a good atmosphere go to waste? Dong Chu twisted his ankle and fell straight into Lin Jining's arms. Lin Jining didn't hesitate to lift him up. Dong Chu stammered, too embarrassed to speak. It's because I was thinking too deeply and accidentally slipped. Li Jining heard the sound and thought something had happened. He rushed in directly. So he was worried about me. Dong Chu thought shyly, lowering his head. Thank you for helping me time and again. You must have your own matters to attend to, always coming and going in such a hurry. I think I should go back. Using the engagement to threaten you was too rash of me. About the true knowledge rites, could you please reconsider? Perhaps I should send ministers to discuss this after I return. During Dong Chu's rapid-fire speech, Lin Jining carried him back to the room. Do you always ramble when you're nervous? Dong Chu froze at his question. Then Lin Jining stood up. Or do you want to discuss matters in this state? Dong Chu turned his face away, nervously explaining that he feared he might disappear again, so it was better to speak clearly. Lin Jining sensed Dong Chu's anger and tried to ask, but he quickly denied it. I'll find a way to handle things. And since there's an engagement, marry me. Dong Chu's eyes widened in surprise. Was this a proposal? Marriage isn't something to be taken so lightly. Remembering what Dong Chu said last time, Lin Jining pondered, do we need flowers? Dong Chu jumped up from the bed. That's not what I meant. It's too sudden. I haven't thought carefully about marriage yet. Dong Chu's face reddened to his ears. Li Jining quietly moved closer. Then think about it carefully. Let me protect you, okay? This gentle, doting tone made Dong Chu's defenses crumble. Li Jining gently embraced him, and Dong Chu no longer resisted. As if possessed, he revealed everything in his heart. Nothing happened in that forest. Upon hearing this, Lin Jining instinctively held Dong Chu tighter. Thank goodness. I was so afraid it would be too late. Li Jining's anger dissipated completely, his eyes soft as water as he gently kissed Dong Chu's forehead. Dong Chu was startled by his sudden action, but instinctively didn't want to resist, even finding himself addicted to it. His mind began to wander. Marriage. Is it okay? The famous lizard lord began to assertively claim his ownership. Layla smiled and teased about the doctor attending to Dong Chu, advising Li Jining not to make things difficult for them anymore. Li Jining made a public declaration. Dong Chu's small eyes showed great confusion. Aran was deeply hurt by this, but it wasn't over yet. By the bonfire, Aran, you seem rather idle. Why don't I recommend you to study at the Lu Jin military school? Ayan's face instantly turned ashen. That place was like hell. Meanwhile, Dong Chu started looking everywhere for little Li. Li Jining could only placate him, saying someone was taking care of the child. Actually, Dong Chu had a strange feeling inside, but couldn't quite explain what it was. There were too many people in the room. Lin Jingying called Dong Chu out privately, telling him he could call him by his name from now on. Dong Chu shyly agreed. Though they had been through life and death together before, he didn't know much about the person before him. Yet now there was an inexplicable sense of intimacy. Then Lin Jingying spoke, instantly disrupting Dong Chu's thoughts. After marriage, Dong Chu froze, saying this was moving too fast. Li Jingying stated he would try his best to fulfill Dong Chu's wishes. This included protection for his mother country. Dong Chu was puzzled. If so, it would affect the entire continent structure. The current Lin Jining didn't care about such things. I'm not afraid of trouble. Danger often comes with opportunity, so you dare to threaten me with the engagement. That's quite commendable. He had only accidentally remembered the engagement matter. Having just arrived in the North region, they barely even knew each other. Li Jining suddenly grabbed Dong Chu's hand, whispering in his ear, Do you hate me? If you hate me, push me away. Seeing Dongchu not resisting, Li Jinying grew bolder, holding Dongchu tightly, mumbling, "Do you hate me?" Dongchu knew he didn't hate him in his heart, but I'm the one who tried to blackmail you with the engagement. Then, do you think this deal is worth it now? Dongchu was speechless. He hadn't planned to sell himself. Now when Dongchu just moved his wrist, Lin Jing held him even tighter. Annoyed, he stepped on Lin Jing's foot. Stepping doesn't count. Dongchu was completely shocked by his shameless behavior. Fearing Dongchu's resistance, Lin Jing directly announced the result. "All right, chances are used up. Further pushing won't count." Dongchu was left speechless. Jinying gently pressed his forehead against his, eyes full of deep affection. "I'll offer conditions you can't refuse. Be with me after I handle some matters." This non-negotiable tone made Dongchu think his previous impression of gentleness must have been an illusion. Just then, noises came from the manor. The Yunsu Manor Lord's merchant convoy had returned. The Lord and little princess's sweet life had barely begun when bad news came from above. The death of Manor Lord Yunk was disguised as the work of bandits. Layla was devastated upon hearing this. But this man who had followed Manor Lord Yunk for years wanted to force Layla into marriage, taking advantage to seize the family property. "Miss Layla, I'm thinking of the Yunk family's best interests. Marrying me is your best choice now." Ahwa stepped forward with a dark face to stop this. But Lemon shamelessly stated that in the current situation, he was the best candidate. "Can you marry Miss Layla?" Ahwa clenched his fists, not knowing how to respond. Seeing this, Layla politely declined, claiming now wasn't the time to discuss such matters. At this, Lemon dropped his pretense. "I know everything about the Young family. I'm only being courteous, so everyone can save face during the takeover." The situation became tense between both sides. Just then, Dongzhou appeared. Such sudden, grievous news. "Let Miss Layla rest for now." Lemon stated that outsiders shouldn't meddle in family affairs. Uncle Dong bluntly retorted, "Mr. Young's body is still lying outside. Right now, we should focus on giving the deceased a proper burial. Even as a temporary guest, I can't stand by and watch this." Lemon was embarrassed and hurriedly explained, "Since the Young family hasn't established an heir, if news of the Manor Lord's death spreads, chaos will ensue. I'm doing this to protect Miss Layla." Dongchu saw through such a despicable lie. The North isn't such a barbaric place. Must vulnerable women simply endure bullying? Besides, Miss Layla, with Mr. Young gone, you are now the mistress of the Young family. Lemon impatiently asked if he was finished. They would naturally proceed according to Layla's choice. A princess from another country. Even here, what difference can you make? But he was quickly silenced as Lin Jinying walked in. "Pardon the embarrassment, princess. How disgraceful. Though northern nobility isn't officially recognized, we don't plunder like barbarians." Lemon visibly cowered. "Lord Linglingzu, why are you here?" Lin Jinying had just examined Manor Lord Young's body. It was a frontal attack killed with one strike. Clean and efficient, unlike common bandits' work. "I will investigate this thoroughly." By now, Layla had made her decision. "Lord, my daughter Little Rose will be the Young family's heir. And as the mistress of the Young family, I will never marry anyone." Seeing his plans fall apart, Lemon could only reluctantly agree. "Since Miss Layla has spoken, it's getting late. Let's discuss the funeral arrangements. Have you ever seen such a charming lord?" After handling Manor Lord Young's funeral matters, Li Jinying seriously stated he would never let Dongchu end up like Layla. He would arrange everything for him. Dongchu naturally felt the warmth in his words, then smiled and said, "You really are that kind of person. Whoever truly receives your love must be incredibly happy." Wasn't his intention obvious enough? Li Jinying frowned slightly. "Isn't this what you want?" Uncle Dong wanted him to put the marriage contract aside for now. As a princess, he again begged him to allow Zenziquin to join his alliance. "I will do my utmost to make Zenziquin a worthy ally." Li Jinying fell silent for a moment, then suddenly embraced Dongzhu. The overly intimate gesture left Dongzhu flustered. Lin Jinying's hands trembled, as if struggling to control something. His voice was hoarse, cold sweat breaking out on his face. "I think I've been poisoned." Before Dongzhu could react, Lin Jinying coughed up blood. He collapsed. Dongzhu hurriedly checked his condition. Just then a voice spoke up. It was Lemon. The Lord actually chose to endure it. How unexpected. "I put a drug in Lin Jinying's dinner. It would cause death and pleasure. If forcefully resisted, the poison would strike back internally. Either way, With the Lord collapsed beside you, the southern princess, make the perfect culprit. Lemon held little Rose. Since the young family's mistress refused to marry him, he would marry this heir instead. This child will be my bride. Lemon had become ruthless in his attempt to seize the young family. He planned to imprison them. Until my wedding, you two will stay in the dungeon. On the way back, the man in black asked Lemon if he really intended to kill Lin Jiying. Lemon replied disdainfully, "Isn't his death just a matter of time? Besides, the Lord meeting someone privately was a perfect opportunity." The man in black felt the timing wasn't right. Many family forces hadn't yet pledged allegiance. The Lord's death now would trigger an unprofitable war. But if Lin Jiying continued investigating old Young's death, Lemon would die first. "I don't care about your joint breach of contract. I must have the Young family first." The man in black wanted to report back, but it was too late. Having abandoned loyalty, once he had the Young family, he wouldn't be controlled by anyone. Meanwhile, Uncle Dong secretly took out the path of holy light while the guard was away. After last time, only a little of the path of holy light remained. Dong Chu silently prayed it would work, but in Li Jining's current state, he couldn't swallow at all. So you know what needed to be done? What? That's not allowed. These two who initially clashed. Now, even giving medicine had become like this. After drinking the holy light dew, Li Jining's breathing gradually stabilized. Dong Chu covered his mouth shyly. "Really? Why do I keep getting entangled with you?" Unexpectedly, Li Jining pulled Dong Chu into his arms. "Then stay entangled with me forever." Dong Chu's heart pounded uncontrollably. After some time, Dong Chu whispered, "Can you let go now? Isn't it uncomfortable?" Lin Juning didn't budge. "How could it be? You're so soft. Let me hold you longer." This direct statement made Dong Chu break into cold sweat, struggling to get up. "Don't move. You know what drug I took, right? Better stay still." Though Lin Jining said he was just scaring him, Dong Chu could tell from his expression he wasn't lying. "You're a clever woman. Surely you can feel my intentions." Dong Chu understood his meaning, but what about little Li? If chaos broke out, would he be safe? Li Jiying remained silent. Dong Chu felt little Li was his untouchable taboo. At this point, he wasn't sure if he could face it all. But first, they needed to deal with their current situation. Dong Chu and Lin Jiying quickly agreed. They began their act. Dong Chu cried tearfully, begging the guard to let him out. He was so scared. Who could resist such a cute girl? The guard said he was just following orders. "Don't stay here. It's terrible. The Lord is already done for." Hearing this, the guard wanted to check inside. But Li Jiying suddenly stood up, frightening the guard, who knelt begging for mercy. "Where's that bastard Lemon?" The guard informed that Lemon took Layla to the hall. Meanwhile, Lemon was forcing Layla to comply with the marriage contract. "This is my marriage contract with Little Rose. It already has her fingerprint. As her mother, you just need to sign it." Little Rose was hanging high in the hall at this time. Lemon gloated. "You can still change your mind. I'd be happy to marry both mother and daughter." His men had spread throughout the manor. Even Ah Huang was subdued. But Layla insisted she would never marry such a bastard. Lemon wanted to teach her a lesson, ordering his men to release the rope, then quickly pulled it back. Layla collapsed in fear. "The entire manor is under my control now. Decide quickly." Just then, Lin Juning walked in with his sword, daydreaming. "No one dared stop me on my way here." This man, unable to marry the woman he wants, tries to arrange marriage with her child. Now exposed, Lemon used the child as leverage. "Don't come closer, or I'll drop her." Dong Chu had snuck behind him to secretly lower Little Rose, but Lemon discovered him. In desperation, Dong Chu released the rope. Layla's heart-wrenching screams echoed through the hall. Actually, Dong Chu had marked the rope earlier. At the designated position, pulling the rope tight would let Little Rose land safely. After the roller coaster experience, Little Rose blinked her innocent big eyes and surprisingly laughed happily. Meanwhile, Dong Chu was still shaking from the risky move. After successfully saving Little Rose, Lin Jiying pointed his sword at Lemon. "Pick up your weapon. My sword doesn't kill unarmed people." While they were fighting fiercely, Uncle Dong took the chance to persuade the guards. "Aren't you all Young family's people? Seeing this man's true nature, do you still want to follow him?" Ah Huan added, "It's not too late to switch sides now." The already uncertain servants surrendered their weapons. Dong Chu helped untie Ah Huan, telling him to take Layla and little Rose away first. After this incident, Ahuan sincerely apologized to Donchu for his previous rudeness. Donchu smiled and accepted. Miss Ahuan has always been my friend. Meanwhile, Lin Jiying's battle was reaching its conclusion. Do you know what happens to traitors? Unexpectedly, the magic potion took effect at this moment. Lemon seized the opportunity to attack. Even so, Yin Jiying still defeated Lemon. Yin Jiying struggled to walk to Uncle Dong. Hurry, hurry, leave this place. Then he collapsed to the ground. Lemon slipped away. I've planted explosives here. You'll all be buried here. He locked the door. No matter how hard Donchu banged on it, it was useless. Moments later, the hall indeed exploded. Li Jining used all his strength to protect Donchu. Under the potion's effect, his body felt like it was burning. Li Jining whispered in Dongchu's ear, "Can I trust you?" Donchu didn't understand his meaning, but saw his pained expression. Are you a fool? If you don't trust me, what else is there to say? Marry me? I'm still seriously considering your proposal. Seeing Uncle Dong's sincere expression, Lin Jining couldn't help but smile, then muttered, Am I a fool? There are some things you might not believe. Just then, Donchu discovered a hole blown in the hall. Over there, we can escape through the back. By now, Li Jining had lost consciousness. Another explosion rang out, and the hall instantly became a sea of fire. This little lord who Donchu had hugged and lifted up finally revealed his true identity. At that moment, Lin Jining suddenly disappeared. Donchu was nearly suffocating from the hot smoke, his consciousness becoming unclear. In his daze, he saw the unconscious small face. Then they were successfully rescued by the guards. Uncle Dong looked at the small face on the bed, unsure what to say. It couldn't have been an illusion, but how is this possible? Lin Jing didn't try to explain, just covered himself with blankets saying he was tired and wanted to sleep. Meanwhile, Lemon had been imprisoned and would face public execution. When Layla asked about Lord Ying's whereabouts, Uncle Dong could only say he had urgent business and left. These past few days, Little Lee had been avoiding him. Uncle Dong pushed open the door, seeing Little Lee sitting in the chair, throwing a tantrum. Why beans and carrots again? I want to eat these things. Donchu helplessly said being picky with food wasn't good, but he only got a silent back in response. Donchu felt speechless. Are you going to keep not talking to me? If this child really was Lin Jiying, he was being too childish. Before, he had thought Little Lee was quite cute, remembering their time together. Come eat your food. Donchu instantly got a headache. If it really was Lin Jiying, then how many embarrassing things had he done in front of him? Donchu heard from the maids that Lu Jiqing had big trouble, just as he wanted to ask more details. Alien appeared before Donchu with a large bouquet of roses. Miss Donchu, I will treat you well. Please give me a chance. He was confused by this sudden development. Ahuan shouted at his chest, telling his brother not to be impulsive. Then shyly added that if the princess would marry down, he would ensure his foolish brother wouldn't bully her. Initially full of questions wondering what happened, it turned out Lord Ying had returned to Lujing City with his fiancée. At this moment, Little Lee suddenly emerged from the bushes. How is that possible? Then his face darkened, pulling Uncle Dong away, leaving the campfire siblings bewildered in the wind. Lin Jining crossed his arms and spoke in a childish voice. How dare they? The fake Uncle Dong stammered, still unable to believe it. You're really? Li Jining glanced at him, waving him over. The adorable little boy was still trying to maintain his lordly dignity. Looking at his silly appearance, Donchu found it inexplicably cute. Unconsciously, he reached out to pinch those chubby cheeks. Li Jining struggled to break free. In the panic, he stepped into a puddle. Donchu immediately lifted him up. Don't get your clothes dirty. After 3 seconds, he realized again, this child was Li Jining. Uncle Dong quickly let go. I'm sorry. Only now did Uncle Dong realize that the child he had been caring for was actually the Lord who had proposed to him. Previously, Donchu had helped Little Lee bathe, but now it was clearly inappropriate. Li Juning said he could manage, but Donchu was still worried. Be careful of your head wound. The towel is right there. Don't put it too far, or you won't reach it. And watch out for the slippery floor. Li Juning felt embarrassed. He wasn't really a child. I know, it's just a bath. Within 3 seconds, a scream came from inside, and then their situation became like this. Li Jining casually said, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Hadn't he helped him bathe many times before? But how can that be the same? That was a child's body. When grown up, it's completely different. Back then, his words made no sense. Nothing, you fool. I was a bit angry. You deceived me for so long, and now you're throwing tantrums. I don't want to know your secrets. Now, I can't even secretly abandon you. Jining maintained his dignity, though his face was red as a ripe tomato. I'm worried you're too foolish and will get into trouble. We're in the same boat now, he said while taking off the towel. Seeing this, Dongchu covered his face and ran, telling him to get dressed first. Watching Dongchu's back, Li Jining spoke seriously. I didn't lie to you. Everything I said stands. I'm still waiting for your answer. Even in that childish voice, it made Dongchu's heart flutter. However, the urgent matter now was returning to Lujin City to figure out what happened. After a brief farewell, Dongchu and Li Jining boarded the carriage home. Last time, he had gone to great lengths to see Li Jining, and now he was sitting right across from him. Lin Jining's sneeze interrupted Dongchu's thoughts. Are you all right? Do you have a fever? I'm a bit worried. Lin Jining shyly turned away. It's fine. I'm not a 3-year-old. But in this body, you look no more than 4 or 5 years old. Just last night, based on his previous experiences of growing larger, Lin Jining pulled Dongchu aside to try to prove it. If things look bad, he'd pull him up, but Dongchu was too nervous. Lin Jining explained that the change would only happen when he was about to drown, telling him not to worry, but after several attempts, they still failed. Li Jining found it strange, wondering if it was because Dongchu was nearby. He couldn't feel that sense of desperate near-death. Dongchu was worried. Does it have to be this dangerous? Li Jining plunged into the water again with a splash. But this time there was no response. When Dongchu pulled him out, he had already lost consciousness. And of course, Dongchu successfully revived him. They spent the whole night like this, still unable to return to reality. Dongchu asked Min Jining who he thought might be impersonating him. Min Jining knew well that the most likely person to do this was Lan. The lord who had previously proposed so passionately was now ambiguously involved with someone else. If it weren't for little Li's situation, Uncle Dong wouldn't have doubted the current fake lord at all. According to Li Jining, although Cities was spoiled and willful, his position didn't interfere with either side's interests. Opening up to him was the best choice. Coincidentally, Cities was at the city gate disciplining his servants. After Dongchu greeted him, Cities took his hand and led him to the Lord's palace. Use your pretty face to seduce Lord Li. How could Lord Li want to marry that kind of fiancé? I'll never accept it. The sect leader wanted to take advantage of the situation to see what this lord was really like. As soon as they arrived at the palace, they encountered Lan. Now he was Lanya, the fake lord's public appearance. The company saw the company arrive. Lan invited everyone to have tea in the garden. My dear, although we're inseparable, we shouldn't neglect our guests. According to Li Jining's guess, Lan must be plotting something. Uncle Dong knew that staying by Cities' side was the safest option for now. But Cities' temper was completely beyond the company's imagination. Seeing Lan bite in talking with Jialing Duo, Cities rushed forward in one step. Uncle Dong wanted to follow, but was intercepted by Lan. Let me entertain you properly. Looking at the little princess from the outside, this fake lord could be said to be flawless. If someone said he was an imposter, probably no one would believe it. While Uncle Dong was lost in thought, Lan handed him a dessert. He's a great man, isn't he? A born king, grew up in the spotlight, enjoying all the highest resources and good-looking too. No wonder people like him. Dongzi looked at him coldly, without speaking. Won't you eat? It's not poisoned. Looking at your expression, you seem to know everything. Actually, I've discovered something lately. I've really fallen for you. Want to join my side? Dongzi was shocked by his sudden confession, but then composed himself. He said solemnly, whatever you're planning, I have no right to stop you. But Lan has protected me time and time again. I will never hurt him. The man gently brushed Dongchu's lips with his fingertips. Have you fallen in love with him? Love is unreliable. Little girl I can give you everything. Dongchu's eyes gradually became hollow. Lan's words seemed to have a bewitching power. He leaned down and whispered in Dongchu's ear. If you had shown any evil after knowing my identity, I would have killed you long ago. But you're really gentle. Little Dongchu, you who grew up in the light, won't understand how precious this genuine gentleness is. Everything suddenly became silent. Only Lan's voice remained in his ears, each word crystal clear, yet he couldn't understand their meaning. This half-brother of Lord Jining not only wanted to usurp his position, but also wouldn't leave his beloved woman alone. Lan used some technique that made Dongchu gradually lose his ability to think. Just then, the fountain behind Dongchu suddenly sprayed water. The fountain automatically activated at this time every day. Dongchu instantly regained his senses. Although he didn't know what had just happened, he knew he absolutely couldn't stay too close to healing. He leaped backward, wanting to clear his mind. Seeing this, cities gloated. "You evil woman, finally showing your true colors, huh? All that talk about being generous, but you're still afraid when you see a prettier girl." Sitting in the water, he coldly said to Lon, "Stay away from me." Lon trembled slightly at these words, then spoke with interest. "How interesting. Seems I was a bit too curious." Shortly after, Dongchu left the mansion with Kilisai and checked into the central hotel of Lujin City. Dongchu felt strange. He hadn't eaten anything then, so why did he suddenly feel so dazed? Recalling what was said, had he really fallen in love with Li Jiying? Dongchu grew more embarrassed as he thought about it. His heart started racing. But now wasn't the time to think about this. Just then, Lin Jiying appeared, tapping on the window. Dongju smiled and said, "Lin, you're here." Even he found it strange that he was blushing at this child. Li Jiying looked displeased and immediately said, "You fool, I told you to gather information, not go into the palace. Don't you know how dangerous that was?" Dongchu felt guilty and didn't dare argue. That lord really shows no flaws. It might be hard to expose him easily. And about Lon, Li Jiying lost some control of his emotions. He's just a madman, always up to suspicious tricks. Don't get close to him again. Actually, Dongchu felt scared too. He thought it better not to mention Belin's confession. Those words must have been lies anyway. Li Jiying said he had sent a letter to a reliable person, warning them about the suspicious Tower Lord. Though they might not believe it, they should at least be on guard. For now, they'd wait for news. After speaking, Li Jiying lay down on the bed. Dongchu blushed. "You're sleeping here? What's the big deal? We've slept like this before. What's wrong? I've seen you drooling in your sleep before." "I don't drool in my sleep. If you keep insisting, I won't do anything to you. But you're the one who shouldn't use me as a pillow to squeeze all night." Dongchu stammered. Awkwardly explaining that he didn't do that, he tugged at the blanket, telling him to just go to sleep. This made Dongchu angry. Pouting, he thought to himself that the little face wasn't cute at all. The man sized up Lord Jia Ling before him. Having grown up with Lin Jiying, no one knew his brother better than he did. Furrow your brows. The real Lin Jiying would never show such an expression. Lord Jia obediently did as told. "Yes, Lord Lon." Lan's fingertips brushed against his cheek. "Don't call me Lord. Call me by my name." Lord Jia still complied. Lan's golden pupils instantly grew cold. The next second, Lon struck him with a slap. Then, with a dark face, ordered him to apply some medicine. "Protect your face. I will personally take everything that belongs to you. Your power, your light will all belong to me." Meanwhile, the couple sharing the bed was particularly sweet. Dongchu rolled over and moved close to Lin Jiying's face. Watching him sleep, Lin Jiying reached out his hand, his chubby cheeks blushing. "And you said you don't drool." Early the next morning, when Dongchu woke up, Lin Jiying had already ordered breakfast. He picked up the teacup and spoke like a little adult. "Come eat." Dongchu felt something was strange, but it smelled so good. He couldn't care less about it now. After the meal, Lin Jiying wanted to wash something. He directly pushed open Dongchu's door. "By the way, do you have—" Before he could finish speaking, he directly saw this scene. Dongchu threw a pillow at him. "No peeking." Lin Jiying grumbled pitifully. "Who wants to peek at you? If I wanted to look, I wouldn't need to sneak around." This confident attitude made Dongchu very uneasy. He ordered him to stand on his hands at the doorway and wait. The former great lord obediently complied. Moments later, Dongchu changed into a light purple puffy dress. "Perfect. I'll go get you a pen." Lin Jiying complained with a red face. "You're so slow. Are you doing this on purpose?" Dongju changed the subject, spinning in place. "Does it look good?" Lin Jiying's face was red to his ears. He squeezed out 2 words. "Looks good." There was a knock at the door. Lon sent someone to invite Dongchu to the palace for tea. Dongchu tried to decline with an excuse, but Lon had instructed beforehand. If Dongchu didn't go, the guards would wait there until he entered the palace. Fortunately, a man stepped in to break the deadlock. "Are the palace guards very free lately? Today I'm inviting the princess." He was a Mo from the Nagasaki family. He was the trustworthy person Li Jiying mentioned. "Would the princess honor me with her presence at my humble residence?" Li Jiying was now dressed. He said he would go too. As expected, when Mo saw him, he naturally assumed he was Lin's child. The child is already this big? When did this? Is this a scandal? Dongchu awkwardly explained that things were complicated and asked him not to make any assumptions. This little boy, not even half as tall as an adult, made the girl before him blush and her heart flutter. It's okay. I can accept when women get a little jealous sometimes. Just now, Dongchu and Lin Jingying successfully arrived at the Nagasaki house. Mo explained to them that he had received a strange letter, specifically mentioning the protection of Dongchu. Li Jinan asked him who he thought wrote the letter. Although he had a good relationship with the Lord, he knew little about personal matters. In fact, the Lord had never been particularly close to anyone in private. Li Jining didn't deny this point. Given the importance of this matter, Mo arranged for the two to stay first. He needed time to consider carefully. This Mr. Mo was also Lien Bai's cousin. Now Lien Bai happened to meet Dongchu and them, and naturally assumed it was him and Jinying, the Lord's child. Back in the room, Jinying told Dongchu that after careful consideration, he still thought it was better to start from Mo. Dongchu was confused. Lien Bai frequently visited here. Wouldn't there be trouble? Jinying stated that he didn't like women with complicated backgrounds. Lien Bai was quite simple. Dongchu sighed. My background is very complicated. Li Jinying's words made Dongchu bristle. You're jealous. Dongchu hurriedly denied it. Seeing he couldn't win the argument, he cupped Li Jinying's small face. How could I be jealous of a little kid? Li Jinying was momentarily speechless. Woman, you're getting more and more arrogant. Anyway, Li Jinying couldn't beat him now. I'm not afraid of you. Just you wait. Li Jinying's small hands began tickling Dongchu, making him laugh loudly. In the confusion, Li Jinying pinned Dongchu down. Through little Li's eyes, Dongchu seemed to see his grown-up self. Dongchu shyly turned his head away. Get off me first. On the other side, Lien Bai was told not to frequently visit the palace anymore. There's no place for you in the palace. You wouldn't be content being just a concubine, would you? After Lien Bai left, Mo considered Li Jinying's matter alone. At this time, a person in black appeared. Mr. Mo, do we still need to discuss about mother? Lien Bai took candy to find Li Jinying, wanting to find out about his relationship with Dongchu. Lin Jinying naturally ignored him. Just as he turned to leave, Lin Bai accidentally saw himself on the table. It seemed familiar. Lin Jinying tried to stop him, but was pushed away. Oh, how careless of you. Children shouldn't make trouble. When he returned, Lin Mei immediately put on another face, hugging Lin Jinying, saying he loved such cute children the most, then quickly left. Cousin seems to have something to discuss with you later. The candy is on the table. I'll go first. Dongchu coldly said, I brought the ink. Li Jinying noticed his unusual behavior. I'm a bit hungry. There's candy on the table. Li Jinying stammered, not knowing what to say. I'm not hungry. Li Jinying was instantly speechless. Looks like he had to use his trump card. Ouch, my head hurts. Facing his angry wife, Lin Jinying began to act pitiful, saying pitifully that Lien Mai had pushed him, and he hit his head. Where did you hit? Seeing Dongchu's worried expression, Lin Jinying was quite satisfied. It doesn't hurt anymore. He seriously told Dongchu that he wouldn't eat candy from others, and wasn't so easily fooled. Hearing this, Dongchu's eyes shifted nervously. Just eat it. I'm not jealous or anything. The young lord stared with round eyes. You said that yourself. I didn't mention jealousy. Those two words. Dongchu finally realized. Did you deliberately use that baby voice to trick me? You're so bad. Li Jinying covered his face with a pillow. No pinching cheeks allowed. After their playful banter, he pulled Dongchu into his arms. Children can see through disguises to the truth and more easily notice differences when the hard shell is gone. Different conditions. Don't doubt it. You are special. Facing this Lin Jinying, Dongchu felt strange. He couldn't help imagining what he'd look like as an adult. No, that's even stranger. Later, Mr. Meng called a doctor to examine Li Jinying. Dongchu was worried. If there was to be an examination, he must be present. Little Li couldn't be taken away alone. Mr. Meng didn't object. Since the princess didn't trust him, he naturally couldn't easily trust a princess from afar and a child of unknown origin. The doctor only did routine checks, learned that Li Jinying had a bullet inside him, then left. On the way, Lin Bai stopped him, asked if little Li was the Lord's child. The doctor thought he wanted to eliminate the child, but Lin Bai wasn't that malicious. The doctor suggested they didn't need to kill him, just arrange a small accident so he couldn't become heir. We can prepare a gift for him. After Lien Bai left, the doctor revealed his true face, foolishly thinking he could take advantage of this. Moments later, Lien Bai appeared before Dongchu with a doll. I brought a gift for the child. Mr. Mo snatched the doll from behind. Lien Bai, don't do unnecessary things. Suddenly, a strange smell spread through the room. Everyone promptly fainted. When they woke up again, Lin Jingying was chained. Lan warmly greeted him. Welcome to my party. Brother tried giving Lin Jingying some antidote, and sure enough, his body recovered. Lin Jingying's face was cold as he asked about Dongchu's whereabouts. Lan just smiled, indicating he indeed cared about that girl. He brought out Dongchu, who now had no sign of life in his face. Eyes empty, like a puppet's eyes. He demanded loudly to know what had been done, but instead began telling a story. When Lan was young, he had a porcelain doll. He hated it, so he threw it in the trash. But in the end, he picked it back up because it was his only friend. He could only talk with it, play together. Lan again said what he often said as a child. Li Lin, play with me. The man bit into a donut, and the girl approached voluntarily. He told her to feed Lin Jingying, and she obediently did so. Now Dongchu was like a lifeless doll that only followed orders. Lin Jingying shouted in his ear, trying to wake him up, but it was useless. Looking at Dongchu like this, his eyes filled with pain. Can Dongchu hear my voice? Lan said from behind, not to waste his energy. He won't wake up that easily. Come back, little Dongchu. Looks like brother has grown up. Doesn't like sweets anymore. Lan held Dongchu in his arms, looking provocatively at him. Let's play together instead. Lin Jingying's chains rattled, blood continuously flowing from his wrists. He charged forward almost madly, roaring, demanding him to let go of Dongchu, but Lan ignored him. His unrestrained laughter echoed through the room. Thinking of Li Jingying's expression earlier, Lan couldn't stop laughing. He hadn't felt this good in a long time. He's so pitiful. Even though he cares so much, he won't say it. Don't you agree? Little Dongchu naturally gave no response. Dongchu currently couldn't speak at all. Lan felt sorry and apologized to him. He actually didn't want to hurt Dongchu. When he broke his own doll as a child, his heart hurt too. But he was so pure and beautiful. How could he belong to him? Only by breaking him would he dare to embrace him. All right, I remember. You sing beautifully. Hum a song for me. Dongchu indeed complied, slowly humming a tune. Lan leaned against Dongchu's side, slowly closing his eyes. This is nice. I hate silent nights the most. Early the next morning, his eyes were bloodshot red, the wounds on his wrists shocking to see. Lan appeared before him again. With an innocent face, he remarked how disheveled he looked. We can talk business now. You understand, right? Lin Jingying told her to stop dreaming. Lan knew this was her answer after thinking all night. But she wasn't angry. Instead, she smiled and asked, Do you know what happened to that girl? Lin Jingying was silent for a moment, finally determined. You won't succeed, no matter what you did to him. I interrupted his words. As expected of you. What if I said I didn't do anything? Li Jingying was clearly shocked by his words. This time Lan smiled even more happily. He knew Li Jingying was wavering. To him, the princess was just a pretty doll now. He wouldn't think of him with men's dirty thoughts. I almost forgot I'm a man too. Who knows when I might suddenly lose patience. Brother grabbed Li Jingying's hair, his words filled with malice. I promise you, if I do anything to him, I'll definitely do it in front of you. This man imprisoned his own brother and wanted to bully his beloved woman in front of him. Lin Jingying suddenly exerted force, viciously saying he would tear him to pieces. Lan stumbled back in pain. Throwing a punch, he said, Looks like you're still quite energetic. No rush. Let's take our time playing. In the room, the doll in Dongchu's arms quietly waited for Lan's instructions. Seeing him like this, a trace of pity flashed across Lan's eyes. He kissed Dongchu's forehead. As expected, Lin Jingying wouldn't compromise like this. But Lan preferred to see him struggling and suffering. Even if he killed him then, he might not have revealed such things. And Dongchu was more like an angel in the light. Lan couldn't bear to taint him. Then he asked Dongchu to bring food to Li Jingying. Dongchu obediently did so, holding up the spoon. His beloved had become like this, yet he could do nothing. Li Jingying knocked over the food, using all his strength to get closer to Dongchu, even if just a little bit. By chance, he discovered something strange on Dongchu's head. He pulled it out with his mouth, but didn't get the desired result. Dongchu trembled all over, covering his head and screaming uncontrollably. Seeing this, Lan knocked Dongchu unconscious. What Lin Jingying pulled out was an enhanced hypnosis needle. If suddenly removed, it could cause damage. He couldn't predict the exact outcome. Shortly after, Dongchu opened his eyes in panic. Lan was relieved to see him wake up. He had suddenly felt very scared earlier. If Dongchu didn't wake up, he truly wouldn't know what to do. But Dongchu was surprisingly calm, reaching out to touch his cheek. Donchu swung and slapped him, opening his mouth and making random sounds. Lon was stunned by the slap. Though Donchu had broken free from control, he couldn't speak and didn't recognize him, only knowing to hug the doll and smile foolishly with joy. Lon didn't know if he had become stupid or if this was his true self. Donchu's dress suddenly came undone. He wanted to help tie it, but received another loud slap. Yet he felt that Donchu was quite cute like this. Just then, Jiao Lingzhu appeared to inform Lon. Her face hurt, feeling like it was about to split open. Donchu stared blankly at them, then happily hummed a tune again. He accidentally wandered into the room where Lin Jingying was imprisoned. Seeing him covered in blood, Donchu was terrified and turned to leave. Lin Jingying shouted his name and actually managed to make him stay. He hugged his doll tightly, carefully walking to Lin Jingying. Lin Jingying didn't know what was wrong with him, but no matter how he asked, Donchu just looked at him with confusion. Then Lon returned. Hearing the sound, Donchu quickly ran out. When Lon saw him, he had already obediently returned to his room. Lon spoke with hesitation. "Have you really become stupid?" The moment his hand was about to touch him, Donchu grabbed the doll, ready to hit him. Lon could only give up. "All right, I won't bother you. If only you could stay by my side like this forever." The foolish girl still had constant visions of her beloved in her mind. While Lon was away, Donchu came to Li Jingying again, carefully wiping his wounds with a towel. Li Jingying hissed in pain. Seeing this, Donchu quickly bent down to blow on the wounds. After simple bandaging, Donchu showed a satisfied smile. Li Jingying frowned, asking if he had really become foolish. He remained silent, gently caressing Lin Jingying's face. Carefully looking at the man before him, Lin Jingying stopped pressing. Kissing his palm, he whispered, "Donchu, do you still recognize me?" Tears gradually welled up in the girl's eyes as she choked out his name. Everything felt like a dark nightmare. Anger, humiliation, and sadness instantly overwhelmed Donchu. He fell weakly to his knees, trembling uncontrollably. Lin Jingying's heart ached with him, telling him not to think about painful things. As for Lon, he would make that bastard suffer 1,000 cuts. His helpless heart seemed to find support, revealing tear-filled eyes, softly murmuring his name. "Want to hug me? Even though I'm in such a mess now." Tears fell like broken strings of pearls. He threw himself into Li Jingying's embrace, crying loudly against his solid chest. Meanwhile, Lon did basic treatment on the fake lord's face, asking him to reduce public appearances until more materials could be prepared for complete restoration. At this time, the Black Cloak people began complaining. They had eliminated Old Skylark, but the Skylark family ended up in the hands of an even more uncontrollable woman. Just as they were about to test Lord Meng, he fell into a coma due to this attack. During this time, their control over North Jade had made no progress, and this substitute couldn't exercise real power without marriage to the Zhenning family would eventually raise suspicions. Lon impatiently indicated he understood. Wasn't he interrogating already? But the black-robed people wanted him to hand over the person. "Why don't you give Li Jingying to us? We have ways to make him wish he were dead." Donchu returned to his room, covering his slightly swollen eyes, hoping Lon wouldn't notice. Lon suddenly embraced him from behind. "Little Donchu, I'm back." For Donchu, the most important thing now was to delay Lon so you could successfully cut the chains. Originally wanted to run away with Donchu. There's nothing fun here anymore. Let's leave all this behind. But he was also afraid. If Donchu woke up, he would surely hate him. Just then, there was a sound outside. The fake lord informed that Black Cloak people had broken in. Lon hadn't expected them to act so quickly. Soon they searched and found Li Jingying's room. But upon entering, they received a shock. Li Jingying had already broken free from his shackles. "Are you looking for me?" Little Princess Donchu was suddenly forcefully kissed by Lon. Li Jingying was surrounded by the black-robed people. Donchu wanted to help, but was noticed by Lon. She grabbed scissors and swung them back without hesitation. The sharp blade grazed Lan's eye corner, leaving him stunned in place. With disbelief on his face, the fake lord took the chance to knock Donchu unconscious, telling them they must leave quickly. Seeing Donchu fall into Lan's hands again, Li Jingying was furious. Lon didn't hesitate anymore. He carried Donchu and jumped out the window. When Donchu woke up again, he had been taken to an abandoned warehouse. Outside, the fake lord and Lon were arguing. Without the black dog's help just now, What should we do now? Lan showed indifference, saying it didn't matter if they helped or not. Their goals were different anyway. The ropes binding Dongchu weren't very tight. He broke free shortly after. By now, the fake lord was extremely angry. His face had been ruined for Lan, yet this was his attitude. The fake lord pushed Lan down. If that's how it is, don't blame me then. Dongchu watched in disbelief through the door crack. He turned away awkwardly, looking for an escape route. Lan's screams kept coming. He convinced himself that only Nana could leave. Then he picked up a wooden stick and struck the fake lord hard on the head. Lan choked out thanks. But Dongchu wasn't finished. He struck again with the club. He couldn't watch such things happen, but also couldn't forgive Lan's actions. Just then, the Black Cloak people discovered Dongchu. They ordered their men to catch him. Several daggers flew at him instantly. Dongchu knew he couldn't dodge and instinctively closed his eyes. The daggers pierced flesh with a thud, but he felt no expected pain. Lan had protected him at the crucial moment. Run! Being caught by them isn't fun. Dongchu felt complicated, but decided to shake off these people first. The Black Cloak people drove them to a cliff. Lan smiled, saying they were in trouble, as he couldn't fight them. We can only jump. His usual frivolous manner gone, he looked at Dongchu with deep affection. Didn't expect it to end like this. Meeting you was probably the only lucky thing in my life. While Dongchu was off guard, he gently kissed him. Li Jining arrived just then, witnessing this scene. His face turned ashen as he angrily shouted Lan's name. Dongchu tried to go to him, but was grabbed by Lan. I really want to jump with you. Please like me. Must I possess you? For Lan, who lacked love since childhood, he thought he would curse the world before death, but instead got a glimpse of true beauty. You'll remember me forever, right? Even if it's hate, that's fine. Lan released Dongchu's hand and jumped down alone. Dongchu watched his rapidly falling figure. His heart was filled with mixed emotions. Just then, Jing grabbed his hand, face dark and silent. He embraced Dongchu and ordered the guards to search below, wanting him alive, or at least find his body. Back at Lujin City, Jing ordered the maids to take the princess back, forbidding him from leaving the room. Dongchu's face reddened with anger. Was this house arrest? But from start to finish, Li Jining hadn't spoken a word to him. Late at night, Dongchu reflected on everything that happened today. Did he see it? At that moment, too many things happened at once, leaving him at a loss. Moreover, there was a deep sadness in Lan's paintings that made him feel momentary pity. But that was all. Was Lin Jingying's curse lifted now? Would there be no more Little Face? He was again that high and mighty lord. How should he face him from now on? Lost in countless thoughts, he finally decided to go to sleep first. Just then, a figure suddenly appeared. Lin Jingying bent down and kissed him deeply. Suppressing his anger, his tone was calm, but his actions were unusually rough. He could protect and cherish him, but never let him go to someone else. Dongchu tried to explain, but was interrupted by Li Jining. Don't mention his name. I don't care what happened in the past. From now on, I won't let you go. Li Jining threw him onto the bed. Dongchu wanted him to calm down, to talk things through properly, but nothing would work now. He had endured enough. He had recovered and could announce their marriage tomorrow. His grip grew stronger. Dongchu shouted in displeasure. You're hurting me. Then don't struggle. I'll try to be gentle. Dongchu seized the chance to break free. He asked if he had gone mad. Lin Jingying felt he had. He gave himself a day to calm down, but couldn't. Though many matters needed his attention, his mind was full of Dongchu. Lin Jingying took out a dagger and handed it to him. You can stab me to death. Otherwise, I won't stop. Dongchu didn't want to hurt him, but this couldn't continue. He lightly stabbed Li Jinying's shoulder. He groaned. This level isn't enough. Then he knocked away the dagger. All right, chances are used up. The man gave the girl a dagger. If she wished, she could stab him to death. Now the last chance was gone. Li Jining didn't want to hold back anymore. Though Dongchu truly liked him, he didn't want to confess under these circumstances. Li Jining, I like you. If he forced him now, he feared he would never be able to like him again. A strange look flashed in Li Jining's eyes. You like me? You're gentle with everyone. How can you prove you like me? He had no intention of stopping. The last lifeline was broken. Dong's tears poured out as he cried no in distress. Seeing his helpless state, Li Jining's heart ached. Was it so painful? Did he resist his touch so much and still claim to like him? Li Jining released his grip and stormed out, slamming the door. The room echoed with the girl's soft sobs. After that night, Li Jining became too busy to be seen. Though he no longer restricted Dongchu's movements, where could he go? After experiencing so much since coming here, Dongchu desperately wanted to go home. He deeply regretted saying he liked him at that moment. He should have said he hated him, should have stabbed him hard with a knife. But he didn't know if Lin Jinying would have really let him go if he had done that. In the end, it was all because he was too useless. He wrote a formal document and had someone deliver it to Lin Jinying. He would try his best, regardless of how it would be handled. After all, his initial purpose here was to get Zhen Jichuan to join the business alliance. Coincidentally, Li Jinying returned just then. He passed by Dongchu without even a glance. Dongchu lowered his head in disappointment. What was he expecting? All this talk of liking or not liking. He didn't care at all. I've submitted your application to the alliance. It will follow the review process. I won't interfere. Dongchu quickly turned around. Li Jinying had already walked away. After joining the alliance, there would be no more connection between them. Wasn't this what he had wanted? On his way back, Dongchu met Duchess Therese. Learning that Leah was wanted, she was delighted and asked about Dongchu's intention to join the alliance. Such a small matter, just needs Lord Li's approval. How could there still be a chance? Dongchu felt grateful for any possibility. Therese sensed gossip. You made Lord Li angry? She offered advice with interest, though it wasn't accepted. After all, Lord Li wasn't easy to handle. No one had ever succeeded. Rare to see you not being annoying. Don't look so gloomy. Sister will take you to relax. Therese took Dongchu to her private club, where all kinds of men approached. The lord who failed to force himself was again irritated by Dongchu. Duchess Therese brought Dongchu to the club, full of her favorite boys. The men wanted to play games with Dongchu, with drinking as punishment for losing. Meanwhile, Lin Jinying received the news and crushed his pen. He arrived at the club, kicking the door open. By then, Therese was already unconscious from drinking. Dongchu was surrounded by passed-out men. Seeing this scene, Min Jinying's face darkened completely. What are you doing here? Dongchu explained with innocent eyes. They were playing games. Losers had to drink. None of them were any good at playing. Li Jinying's anger grew. He grabbed Dongchu's wrist tightly to leave. His grip was too strong and hurt Dongchu again. Don't you know your strength is like a wild bull? Li Jinying thought he seemed drunk, but Dongchu proudly stated he hadn't drunk at all. He hadn't lost once. The commotion in the corner caught Li Jinying's attention. He kicked and shattered the incense burner. What's in here? The mustached men scattered in fear, claiming it was just wine, nothing harmful. Dongchu frowned and asked, "Why are you here? Have I upset you again? Or are you going to confine me again?" The atmosphere around Jinying instantly grew colder. He ordered all the men here to be sent to work in the mines. Then he carried Dongchu away directly, taking him back to the carriage. Don't come to places like this when you're drunk. Dongchu protested. I haven't drunk at all, and don't pretend you didn't know about this place. Haven't you been having people watch me? Li Jinying maintained a stern face and forcefully replied, You just can't. Under the influence. Dongchu began crying pitifully. Sometimes you ignore me, sometimes you control me, and you bully me. You're just a domineering, petty miser and a big pervert. Li Jinying, face darkened, leaned down to silence her chattering lips. Knowing Dongchu was drunk rambling, he spoke softly. Be good. This sudden gentleness made Dongchu feel even more wronged. She cried harder, shouting, I hate you. Li Jinying was speechless. You said you like me. That doesn't count. You can't go back on your word. A petty person like me remembers everything clearly. After Li Jinying spoke, he kissed her again. Dongchu couldn't take it and wanted to get some fresh air. Li Jinying agreed, carrying Dongchu for a walk in the garden. Dongchu wanted to walk alone, but Li Jinying thought she was still drunk. Actually, Dongchu was already sober. The evening breeze carried a slight chill, and any remaining intoxication had long since dissipated. Li Jinying put him down, ready to question him. Petty miser, big pervert. What else? You can continue. After another kiss, Lin Jinying began his interrogation. In Dongchu's eyes, what kind of person was he? Even Dongchu didn't know the answer. He nervously avoided Lin Jinying's gaze. Words said while drunk don't count. Lin Jinying muttered dissatisfiedly. You're making excuses again. Just then, heavy rain began to fall. Since they were already in the back garden, Lin Jinying had sent the carriage back earlier. They decided to take shelter in the nearby greenhouse. In the greenhouse, Lin Jining immediately took off his clothes, making Don Chu blush furiously. He remained unmoved, asking, "Isn't it uncomfortable being wet?" His physique was completely different from little Li's. Don Chu shyly turned away, too embarrassed to look at him. Fortunately, the greenhouse was warm. They sat on the grass, quietly waiting for the rain to stop. Lin Jining watched the heavy rain. It had been a long time since he'd quietly listened to the rain like this. Don Chu asked curiously, "Does the Lord have such boring moments too?" His handsome profile seemed to hide a hint of loneliness. Rarely, from childhood until now, occasionally, I want to catch my breath. Don Chu thought this moment would be perfect with a pot of hot tea, some cookies, and a thick book. Lin Jining turned to look at him, asking, "Naive princess, why did you come here to take such a risk?" Don Chu felt that the word naive made him sound like a fool. Just then, something moved near his feet. Li Juning's broad chest immediately pulled him close. "Let me see." He pulled up a strand of grass. The greenhouse was instantly illuminated by fireflies dancing all around. Li Jining lay down on the ground. "Who knows when the rain will stop? It's quite comfortable here. Let's spend the night here." Before Don Chu could react, he continued in a flirtatious tone. "You like it, don't you? I mean the fireflies." Don Chu's cheeks flushed red again. Lying beside Li Jining, he hesitated before speaking. "Actually, when I first came here, I really just wanted to blackmail you. But then many unexpected things happened. I thought we could trust each other. This is also my first time being so close to a man." Lin Jing interrupted him. "What happened that day wasn't your fault. I shouldn't have taken my anger out on you." His large hand affectionately ruffled Don Chu's hair. "Sleep now." Even his apology was arrogant, but the fact that he apologized at all made Don Chu feel strange inside. It was his first time being with the real him, without magic, without danger. Just the sound of rain and flickering fireflies. They spent this rare, peaceful moment together. Early the next morning, Don Chu was awakened by bells. Today was the Merchant Guild's review day. When they hurriedly arrived, the meeting had already ended. As expected, the application was rejected. Rumors spread throughout the city. An unheard-of small country wanting to join the Merchant Guild? Absurd. That proud tyrant, a living person, suddenly burst into flames before their eyes. He covered Don Chu with a blanket again, wanting him to sleep well. He stayed nearby as Don Chu stared with wide eyes, shyly watching his back. Li Jining suddenly turned around. "What are you thinking about? Your face is so red." Don Chu quickly hid under the blanket. "Nothing. You can go." Late at night, Lin Jining was still handling documents. Don Chu silently watched his figure, feeling unprecedented peace. He slowly closed his eyes. After some time, Lin Jining finally finished his work. He looked up at Don Chu. Don Chu had already fallen asleep. Lin Jining gently kissed his forehead, then quietly lay down beside him. Meanwhile, the people in black cloaks learned that Lin Jining had caught their weakness. They decided to strike first and eliminate Lin Jining. Early the next morning, the sky was gloomy and the guards thought it might rain, asking if the Lord wanted to postpone the 7-day event. But Li Jining wanted to proceed as planned. He ordered the servants not to wake the princess, letting him rest well, saying there would be plenty of such opportunities in the future. Outside the venue was bustling with crowds supporting their lord. Li Jining arrived as scheduled. Just then, an explosion occurred. The venue instantly vanished. At the same time, Don Chu suddenly woke up. A light rain fell outside. Don Chu felt his heart pounding heavily, not knowing what had happened. Then came voices from outside. "The Lord has been assassinated." The rain grew heavier. Don Chu arrived at the explosion site. The place was almost completely leveled. Dead onlookers were everywhere. Even the guards thought it was impossible to find anything. Don Chu kept searching through the ruins. He couldn't believe Li Jining was just dead like that. No matter what, he had to find him. After encountering one corpse after another, Don Chu's tears burst forth. "Where are you?" He called out Li Jining's name aimlessly, hoping for a response. But only the sound of rain answered him. Just then a hand grabbed his clothes. It was the injured Li Jining, who had turned back into a child. Don Chu held him in his arms, but guards discovered them. The situation was unclear. They couldn't let anyone see him in this state. The guards kept approaching from behind. Don Chu hadn't run far with little Li when he felt his strength failing. Someone pulled him into the shadows. "Follow me. I won't harm you." Don Chu found the voice familiar and followed. They arrived at a room's entrance. The person asked him to enter. Don Chu stepped back cautiously. He removed his hat, speaking argumentatively. "I'm not your enemy this time. I hope you can trust me. I don't want you to die like this." This little girl accidentally cut her finger. Surprisingly, she healed the bird's wound. She excitedly ran to find her mother, but heard the legend of the Sacred One. The name Needle Spring came from the many rich springs in this land, along with legends about the sacred spring. Legends said that when the Sacred One appears, they could reawaken the dried sacred spring and brew the divine wine path of holy light. But no Sacred One had appeared for nearly 200 years. More and more people began to think the legend was just a hoax. Donchu felt his mother was busy and wanted to play with the bird first. He took out his jewelry box and spoke solemnly to the bird. "In the name of the sacred spring princess, I crown you Ruby Supreme." Then he put a crown on the bird, but the bird didn't seem to like it. In the confusion, Donchu saw a beautiful swan necklace. His mother came over asking what he was playing. Donchu told her about healing the bird. His mother hugged him tightly. "This is your secret. You must never let others know." Her only wish was for Donchu's happiness. Donchu was very young then and didn't understand the meaning behind it. He picked up the necklace and asked his mother. Mother explained it was given by a lady from Bu. Little Donchu innocently thought it was from Baekwan. Mother's voice became almost ethereal. "My little princess, the world is so vast." The scene changed. Donchu, with bandaged wrists, was sleeping at the bedside. Li Jinying sat up, looking at his unharmed body in disbelief. Just moments ago, they had brought Li Jinying into the room. He was severely injured. Surviving alone was a miracle. Lon explained about the previous medicine's effects. The antidote hadn't been used yet, and he wasn't sure if it would work. The medicine was enchanted with spells, as magic couldn't be freely used in this world. If his mother were alive, she might have become a great magician. But sadly, she fell into tragic love. Worthless, Lan's blue hair was a sign of magic backlash from overuse. However, the antidote wasn't the issue now. No one knew how long Li Jinying's injuries would last, and finding a doctor was difficult. Seeing the unconscious Li Jinying then, he was determined to save him no matter what. He asked Lan to leave, then took out a dagger. For Li Jinying, he decided to no longer keep the secret. When Lan returned this time, his eyes had healed. "Since that's the case, let's negotiate." Lan said he could provide the antidote, but in exchange, he wanted Donchu. He reached out his hand, mumbling, "He's truly an angel." Li Jinying, with a dark expression, leaped forward with the dagger. "You have no right to say that." Lan smiled and said, "Brother, you're so stingy, unwilling to share anything with me." He suddenly exerted force, knocking Li Jinying down. Donchu woke up from the noise. He grabbed a pillow to shield Lan's face. "What are you talking about? I'm not a toy to be fought over." With Donchu's help, Li Jinying subdued Lan. "Little Donchu, how cruel you are to me." Donchu wanted Lan to hand over the antidote, but Lan thought Li Jinying would kill him once he had it. "If you don't tell me, I'll kill you now. You want to use violence with such a cute face? You'll scare little Donchu." Hearing this, Donchu planned to leave, but Lan immediately begged for mercy. He said the antidote was in his clothes. "You can drink it." Li Jinying remained skeptical and decided to keep it for now. He held Donchu's hand, wanting to ask about the wound. Donchu asked him to keep it secret. He gently kissed Donchu's hand. "I'm sorry you got hurt. Sorry for frightening you." Donchu's defenses crumbled instantly, tears welling up. He threw himself into Li Jinying's arms. He was truly scared, afraid he would just disappear. Lan stood aside, silently watching everything unfold. Lu Jincheng was now a city without a ruler. Killing and looting were everywhere. Meanwhile, major families argued endlessly. Now that the true spirit lord was dead, who had the right to lead the north? Moju's body hadn't been found yet. No hasty conclusions could be made. Just then, guards reported finding the lord's body. Though half the face was damaged, the identity was recognizable. It was the former fake lord. The news quickly spread throughout the city. Tensions between major families were about to explode. At this moment, Donchu appeared. "That's not the true spirit lord." Mo saw it was Donchu and suggested letting him continue. Donchu explained the person inside was an imposter. Leading Li Jiangnan, they revealed the fake lord's cut behind the ear. The nose was also problematic. They requested a public examination. The result was obvious, but Yuan Wei argued this alone proved nothing. Perhaps the lord wanted to look better and had plastic surgery. Miss Kilisai objected strongly. She had watched Lord Lin grow up. This was absolutely impossible. Yuan was sweating profusely. Even if the body was questionable, where was the real lord? "I couldn't reveal the truth then, but I believe he's still alive." Yuan Wei laughed heartily. Who would believe a foreign princess's nonsense? But he hadn't expected. Layla and Mr. Huan Mo all expressed their trust in Danchu. The matter was suspicious. Who was trying to cause chaos? The crowd began to stir. Yuan Wei, cornered, claimed Danchu was a spy from the south. Arrest him. Li Jining stood before him with a knife. As expected, everyone present thought he was the Lord's illegitimate son. Initially embarrassed to explain, Li Jining simply admitted it. He showed everyone the memento. He had secretly retrieved it from the palace last night. If not absolutely necessary, I wouldn't pretend to be an illegitimate child. But compared to the hidden truth, people preferred their own assumptions. But Danchu is still a young girl. How could such misunderstanding? Li Jining said he would take responsibility. Lan watched them silently, lost in thought. The previously gentle, yet domineering lord had now become her child. The identity of an illegitimate son was easily accepted by the public. Li Jining did this just to stabilize the situation. Of course, we need to find a way to change back. Should we remain as mother and son? Staying like this, I can't even hug Danchu. Danchu pinched little Li's face. Don't say such things with a child's face. Lan had been imprisoned, and the families had sent people to protect them. Next, they just needed to go to the hall for the ceremony, and little Li could smoothly become the heir. At this moment, Yuan Wei appeared with a knife. After finally killing Yin Jining, how could we let a child of unknown origin take everything? Li Jining protected Danchu. Yuan Wei was quickly dealt with by the guards. Shanjiu invited them to the ceremonial hall. But Danchu felt things weren't that simple. Sure enough, they were led to a tower from where they could see the ceremonial hall. Lan appeared behind them. Let's go up and enjoy the beautiful view together. Danchu and others had no choice but to comply. Lan said, don't be nervous. I said I didn't want you dead. Actually, Shanxiu and Yanwei are Black Cloak members. Little Li becomes heir in public view. How could Black Cloak give up such a prize? I merely convinced Shanxiu to keep you for another plan. In the ceremonial hall are all supporters of the Jining family. Wouldn't it be better if they were all gone? Lan formed a magic ball in his hand. A young heir without supporters. Black Cloak can seize power, and he could control Black Cloak from the shadows. Well, little Danchu, who do you want to marry? I'm still you. Li Jining thought he was mad. Lan's face was expressionless. Otherwise, how could you accept me? Hatred isn't easily forgotten. Chu begged him to stop hurting others. Would this truly make you happy? Lan explained he was a bad person. Without hatred, what would he live for? I'll arrange it. Let them all turn to ashes. Danchu tried to stop him, but accidentally slipped. Fortunately, clothes caught and suspended in midair. Lan had cast magic on the cloak, but it would only last briefly. Do you want everyone to die? Little Danchu, Uncle Dong cried, asking him to extinguish the thing in his hand. Even now, Uncle Dong worried about others. Actually, he was also scared. He didn't want to die. But everyone feels fear. Everyone has joy and pain. Uncle Dong's tears kept falling. What a fool. Stop crying. Your tears are falling into my eyes. The initial clothes couldn't hold anymore. Eyes held them tightly, but the child's body lacked strength. Wanting to extinguish the magic ball, he realized he'd forgotten how. Finally, a huge sound came from the sky. People in the ceremonial hall still didn't know what happened. Lan's purpose in life was taking everything from his brother, but now he chose to give up. He threw the magic ball into the air. A massive explosion shattered the tower. Danchu fell with the debris. In the critical moment, Lan's voice came. Try the antidote. Protect him. Li Jining had no time to think. He took out the antidote and drank it. A huge noise came from outside the hall. People came out to check. Li Jining held Danchu in his arms. Appearing through the dust, the true lord had returned. Danchu happily hugged him. That's great. But Li Jining stiffened slightly, his eyes showing coldness and distance. After these events, the exposed Black Cloak launched a rebellion. Lin Jining swiftly suppressed and eliminated their forces with lightning measures. Regarding Danchu and Little Li's matter, Lin Jining announced publicly that everything was a plot to draw out Black Cloak. Danchu hadn't seen Lin Jining for a long time. Since that day, Danchu felt something was strange about him, as if he was deliberately avoiding him. He wanted to investigate. Li Jinying said Xin Yi's time was arranged and told him not to worry about Xiaoming's matters. Dong Chu's strange premonition grew stronger. He tested, I came today for another matter. You promised to give me a villa in Lujin City. Lin Juning seemed slightly surprised, then said he remembered. Which one do you want? Dong Chu's heart sank. You don't remember anything, do you? We never talked about any villa. What's wrong with you? Lin Juning had guessed it. Indeed, how could they have discussed such things? Although I've investigated most of what happened during this time from various aspects, there are still some questions. The key is how far things went between us. What happened after Lon kidnapped me? The memories after being drugged. Uncle Dong told him everything they had experienced. Did anything happen between us? Uncle Dong blushed and said no, but not exactly nothing. Li Jining decided to think it over before making plans. Everything seemed like a dream. Now awake, they returned to their original path. Dong Chu slowly sang a hometown folk song on the balcony. Suddenly, applause came from around. Beautiful singing. Dong Chu recognized Lan's voice. Don't be nervous, little Dong Chu. I just wanted to tell you, the antidote was real. The spell on you should be completely gone. Dong Chu looked dejected. He already knew. Lan wanted Dong Chu to sing one more song for him. Due to magical backlash, he didn't have much time left. Uncle Dong showed no pity this time, saying he didn't want to sing anymore today. If you've truly let go of hatred, I hope you can find meaning in happiness. After speaking, Uncle Dong turned and left. You're still so cruel to me, but you're more charming when being heartless. The meaning of happiness? Let me use my remaining life to protect you. The girl grabbed the man's clothes and kissed him deeply. Even if he remembered nothing now, she still loved him. Dong Chu unconsciously walked to the greenhouse. Their memories were here. Since Li Jining lost his memory, he had become cold and distant like before. Now knowing what happened, he remained unmoved. For him, everything might just be a story. But how could those personal experiences be explained clearly? Dong Chu's long-suppressed emotions finally broke down. After all, he was just an arrogant, overbearing, and rough man. But he truly loved him. At this moment, Li Jining was standing in front of him. The performance voting results are out. They decided to approve Dong Chu. Without his intervention, he received everyone's recognition. He came just to tell him the result. Dong Chu finally smiled. That's great. Also, I have one more thing. I've thought about us. Marry me. They were already engaged. Now with everything that happened and various rumors outside, marrying him was the best choice. Still holding a glimmer of hope, he asked if he still remembered nothing. Of course, miracles don't happen easily, but fulfilling marriage responsibilities, he was a good match. Dong Chu slowly stood up, crystal tears hanging in his eyes. If this is your reason for proposing to me, please allow me to refuse. Because I love you. Soon after, Zhen Jichuan's guards arrived at Lujin City. They finally found the princess. Though they found him through some messy rumors, they all said it was time to leave Li Jin. Though the bullet in his body wasn't dangerous now, it still caused pain. Whether remembered or not, those experiences would always leave their mark. Dong Chu sent an invitation to the spring ball. Li Jining couldn't understand. He said he loved him, so why would he refuse his proposal? By then, Dong Chu was preparing to leave, and Ran came to bid farewell. Suddenly, a tall figure blocked their view. He rode here on horseback, just like when they first met, looking at the man he loved deeply. Will you come to the spring ball? Thanks to all who followed the manga. Next will be Season 2, Proud Lord, Wife of 1,000 Miles. He was this country's princess, born with a heart of victory. He could heal wounds, make flowers bloom, and even awaken springs in ancient ruins. Before this, no life had appeared here for hundreds of years. Since childhood, his mother warned him never to tell anyone this secret. Now his father king was chronically ill, and his mother passed away 3 years ago. Only he and the young crown prince remained in the palace. His brother was under the regency of his uncle, Duke Ganmeng. A year ago, Dong Chu went to the north alone because of an agreement with his uncle. As long as he joined the honor casualties, he wouldn't hinder Dong Chu's business development. The Duke had heard about Dong Chu's experiences in the North prison. Why didn't you stay in the North? You should know that having such a powerful backer is much better than running a small business. The Duke explained that things weren't as specialized as he imagined. The Duke spoke mockingly. Since you're back, just be a proper princess. How long will it take to develop the business? The spring ball was approaching. He had gone to great lengths to invite the 2 princes of Kanjiing. If Dong Chu could establish good relations with the Kanjiing prince, or even become a princess consort, his future would be bright. Though Donchu felt he shouldn't rely on others as a princess, he wouldn't be absent. This was his responsibility. After Donchu left, Duke Ganming stroked his chin and thought, such a rare opportunity. He should arrange it well for his niece. That evening, after Donchu's bath, he asked the maid if there was any news from Beiyu. This was something he did every day, but the answer was still no. Lin Jining, the man he deeply loved, they had been through life and death together. But with the potion's effects gone, his memories disappeared too. Before leaving, Donchu left an invitation. But so far, there was no news of the North Prison Lord's travel. Would he come? Early the next morning, Donchu wanted to leave the palace, but the Duke had already ordered the doors locked. But this couldn't stop him. Donchu carefully looked at the flowers and plants, but accidentally slipped and fell onto a man. He was Prince Yuan, the crown prince of Kanjing. Prince Yuan, refined and elegant, asked if Donchu was all right, then picked up the fallen shoe and handed it to him. Donchu quickly thanked him. Before leaving, he politely bid farewell, saying they would meet again. Your Highness. Then Donchu went to the business. Now with the spring water, they could brew pearl wine again. This wine had a unique taste. It was Donchu's first time trying it too. Feng Yu respectfully thanked him. Thanks to your Highness, the business can improve. I will always support you. To Donchu, Feng Yu was like an older brother who looked after him and his younger brother Xiao. Donchu blushed and said, let's revitalize Jinji's spring together. Several days later, there was still no news from Beiyu. Donchu felt Li Jining probably wouldn't come. Having forgotten everything, he was still that lofty great lord. How would he care about a small invitation? Lin Jining, who lost his memory, not only came to find Donchu, but also protected her secretly. Before the ball began, the graceful Prince Yuan became the center of attention. Unfortunately, such an excellent prince had bad luck. Kangyan Kingdom was now controlled by the queen. As the son of the deceased former queen, his situation was imaginable. With the guard's announcement, Donchu appeared in gorgeous formal wear. Everyone blushed at his beauty. Golden hair complementing ocean blue eyes, beautiful like an angel fallen to earth. Donchu wanted to announce the start, but was interrupted by the Duke. He claimed Prince Zhuerxi hadn't arrived yet. Zhuerxi was the queen of Kanjing's biological son, the most important guest today, according to the Duke. Donchu ignored this. He couldn't let so many people wait in vain. The ball officially began. Yuan approached Donchu, wanting to invite him for the first dance. Just as Donchu was about to accept, a roar echoed through the hall. A lion charged straight into the hall. This was Zhuerxi's pet. Zhuerxi was following behind the lion, telling people to move aside and not block his cat. Behind the cat, a familiar figure appeared. What a mess! I can't believe I came all this way for such a ball. However, seeing the lion charging towards Donchu, Li Jining grabbed a chair and smashed it against the chandelier. The loud noise scared the lion away. Zhuerxi chased after his big cat and ran out. The ball was caught off guard. Everything was in chaos. If not handled well, they would lose face completely. Donchu wanted to use pearl wine to calm the guests' emotions. Feng Yu said this batch of wine was for Kanjing's order, but if His Highness needed it, they could use it first. A new batch was already brewing. It should be ready in time. The pearl wine brewed with legendary spring water successfully won over the guests' hearts. The ball's atmosphere finally returned to normal. Chang Donchu was still wondering who that person was who could scare away the lion in the crowd without hurting anyone. If it wasn't by chance, it was quite impressive. Duke Ganming stood aside with a dark expression. This girl had stolen the spotlight again. I'll let you know who really controls the power. Uncle will make the best arrangements for you. He took out a bottle of purple liquid and ordered his subordinates to proceed as planned. As the ball was ending, a maid brought dessert to Donchu. Donchu was a bit hungry. Without thinking much, soon after Donchu felt dizzy. She thought it might be from today's tension, so she asked the maid to help her back to rest. Moments later, servants told Zhuerxi about exotic pets, luring him into Donchu's room. But Li Jining had been secretly watching everything. She managed to lead Zhuerxi away. Looking at Donchu unconscious on the bed, Li Jining sighed helplessly. Foolish woman, doesn't even know when she's being sold out. The room was filled with heavy fragrance. Li Jining decided to take her away first. Staying any longer would be too much even for him to handle. This girl was set up by her own uncle to be sent as someone else's pet, and her savior was the man she had been longing for day and night. Donchu hazily opened her eyes and saw Lin Jining before her. She wrapped her arms around his neck, desperately trying to hold him tight. Was this a dream? Li Jinying grabbed her slender waist, telling her not to move. The next moment, Donchu kissed him directly. She really missed him. Li Jinying asked coldly, "Do you know what you're doing?" Donchu didn't answer, just buried herself in his arms again, murmuring his name. Yin Junying couldn't believe his ears and asked again who she was calling. The girl's clear voice rang out again. "Yin Junying, I miss you so much." After saying this, she clung to Yin Junying again. This time he couldn't resist anymore. What followed was deemed unimportant to the plot. They spent the whole night together. Early the next morning, Donchu felt her whole body aching. Opening her eyes, she found herself lying in Li Jinying's arms. Before Donchu could react, Li Jinying was already awake. Donchu jumped up from the bed in shock, realizing yesterday wasn't a dream. But due to her sudden movement, she pulled away their only covering. Li Jinying was suddenly exposed, and Donchu's face froze in shock. She screamed and threw a pillow at his face. Li Jinying held the pillow, saying disapprovingly, "Now you're being shy? Who was it clinging to me yesterday?" Donchu's cheeks burned even hotter. "Why did you come? Were you not coming? It takes a month just to travel from Lu Jinsheng, plus all the preparations." But Donchu hadn't received any news. Li Jinying, still undressed, suddenly moved closer. "What? Did you want me to come with full ceremonial fanfare as a lord?" She quickly closed her eyes, stammering for him to keep his distance. Though it's peacetime now, North-South relations are still complicated. Li Jinying maintained his proud demeanor. "I came south for a secret investigation. Just happened to stop by. Wouldn't come up to see you." Donchu's eyes showed obvious disappointment. "Is that so?" Lin Jinying's expression changed, continuing, "You're such a foolish woman. If I hadn't come, you'd be someone else's new pet now. How have you survived until now?" Still dwelling on his earlier words, tears rolled down her cheeks. "You still haven't recovered your memories?" Everything they had experienced before, he still remembered nothing? The great lord's aura instantly vanished. Lin Jinying frantically tried to stop her tears. "Aren't I still me?" But Donchu's tears wouldn't stop. Helplessly, he began describing their pleasant experience from last night. "Besides, we have an engagement. Come back and marry me." This man had come to save the girl, but unexpectedly spent a beautiful night with her. Now he was directly proposing marriage. But the girl felt relieved. Thankfully, it was him. Otherwise, she wouldn't know what to do. He was the one she had been thinking of all along. But marriage? As Donchu was considering, there came a noise from outside. Duke Ganmong had brought people to spring their trap. Donchu wanted Lin Jinying to hide, but he proudly replied, "What's the worst that could happen if they find me? Who would I be afraid of anyway?" Donchu's previous good impression instantly vanished. Demons were just this arrogant. This man was still quite annoying. She told Lin Jinying not to show himself yet. Though he thought she was foolish, she could handle her own troubles. Meanwhile, finding the master bedroom empty, Duke Ganmong went to search the guest rooms. Opening the door, Donchu sat fully dressed on the bed, pretending nothing had happened. She said she had drunk too much last night and somehow ended up resting here. Duke Ganmong asked with a dark face, "Nothing happened last night?" Donchu showed an innocent smile. "On such a beautiful night, uncle, what could have happened?" At this moment, a maid appeared from behind. She couldn't find the princess anywhere last night, and the duke had ordered them not to disturb the guest's rest. The princess got up and left with her maid. Meanwhile, Li Jinying was secretly watching everything from inside the closet. His lips curled up, making a slight sound. Back at the palace, Donchu ordered water prepared for a bath. She suddenly remembered Lin Jinying was still in the closet. But then she thought, never mind, he'll figure something out. Looking at the marks on her body, Donchu pouted angrily. He was so rough. How did things suddenly turn out like this? She had imagined their reunion many times, but never like this. Although he had saved her, she couldn't exactly thank him under these circumstances. Later, Donchu changed and went out, running into her little brother Oh. He complained to his sister about why he had to go to bed early while they had a ball. "It's not fair at all." Donchu found his reaction amusing. "This is an adult ball. Children need to sleep early." Little O put his hands on his hips, saying he'd be grown up soon. "Sister, look how tall I've grown." But when Donchu brought up studying, Little O immediately turned and ran away. In the king's chamber, her father remained the same as always. His condition hadn't worsened, but showed no signs of improvement either. Donchu looked dejected, wondering when Little O would grow up. She clasped her hands, praying to her mother, hoping everything with Zhang Jichuan last night was just an accident. Could she leave all this behind to marry Li Jiying? Just then, Master Feng Yu requested an urgent audience. He knelt before Dongchu in panic. "Princess, the spring water has disappeared." The two, who were so intimate the previous night, now fought at the slightest disagreement. Dongchu lay on the bed, crying alone. Her magic had failed. The spring water in the ruins had vanished with it. At this rate, they couldn't fulfill the Kanjian country's order. Just as Dongchu was at a loss, a gentle pair of hands caressed her sides. Jining leaned close, and Dongchu asked, puzzled, why he was still here. Jining didn't answer, instead softly asking why she was crying again. Did something happen? Dongchu hesitated to speak, then swallowed her words. Saying she was fine, Li Jining gently wiped the tears from her eyes. "You're so stubborn. What can't you tell me?" The next moment, Li Jining kissed her directly. Before Dongchu could react, he pinned her down. "You're my woman now. What can't you tell me?" Her magic had suddenly disappeared just last night. Dongchu suddenly realized something, her eyes widening. Could it be because of him? Lin Juning was still beside them, continuously making suggestive remarks. The more Dongchu thought, the angrier she got. When he wasn't paying attention, she bit his ear hard. Li Jining was furious. One hand gripped Dongchu's wrist, the other tightly squeezed her neck. "You want to bite off my ear? If this were the battlefield, I would have already snapped your neck." Dongchu couldn't breathe and let out a whimper. Seeing her like this, Lin Zhengying released his grip. "Do you hate me that much? Weren't we fine last night? Why are you suddenly so cruel to me?" Dongchu turned her head away, saying she was dizzy last night. "I can't remember clearly." Lin Jing turned her head back. "Can't remember? Should I help you recall how you threw yourself at me, calling my name and saying how much you missed me? Was that you, princess?" Dongchu's face instantly turned red, explaining she thought it was a dream. Lin Jing teased again. "So you dream about me? What did you dream about?" Dongchu tried to kick him, but he stopped her again. This powerless scene was just like their first meeting. He was still the same Lin Jingying, that rough and domineering Lin Jingying. "If you keep provoking me, I thought you'd like it a bit more exciting." Just then, a maid heard the noise. She knocked and asked. Lin Jingying looked with interest at the immobilized Dongchu. Dongchu had no choice but to surrender. She sent the maid away. Li Jingying was satisfied. He released Dongchu's hands, and she immediately stepped back. With a dark face, he said she didn't need to fear him so much. He had no habit of forcing women. Then he took out an invitation. It was the invitation Dongchu gave him a year ago. "You invited me. You said you missed me, and you bit me. What exactly do you want?" This contracted couple fought at the slightest disagreement. Lin Jining had come from far away to find her, but didn't expect to be treated this way. Dongchu softened a bit, asking if he wanted to clean the blood from his ear. After all, he had come, and losing her magic wasn't entirely his fault. But Lin Jining was still angry. He coldly refused, saying she was calling his name with a red face. "Lin Jining, do you know how fierce you are? You're so strong and rough. I'm still aching all over." Lin Jining turned to sit in front of her, his fingers gently touching her reddened neck. "I didn't mean to hurt you." Dongchu knew. Without his memories, he was half a stranger, but her body and heart were uncontrollably fluttering. Then Li Jining told Dongchu to rest. He would return to the inn first. Before leaving, he told Dongchu he would come back for her. The next day, Dongchu went out fully covered. Last night her mind was in chaos, but after Li Jining's disturbance, she fell asleep quickly. The maid informed that Prince Yuan of Songyun was here to visit. Prince Yuan held a bouquet of flowers and greeted her politely. Seeing her tired appearance, Yuan asked if she was worried about the acupuncture wine matter. He had been interested in the acupuncture wine for a long time. After the ball, he went to see Mr. Feng Yu. He sincerely hoped the acupuncture wine could resume production smoothly. "You might have heard about our queen's temper and methods. If there's any mistake with the order and it angers the queen, the consequences could be very..." Dongchu frowned deeply. She had heard about these things. This order was equally important to them. A flower appeared before Dongchu. "If you need anything, I will help you as much as I can." Dongchu immediately smiled brightly. Meanwhile, others learned that Dongchu was meeting with Yuan. Unfortunately, his position in Songyun was precarious and couldn't become Dongchu's supporter. Just then, little O ran in crying, telling Dongchu there was a big bully outside. Yin Jining strode in confidently. Little O pointed and said in a childish voice, "It's him." His His current identity was a northern merchant, being shown antiques by the Duke. He had wandered in accidentally. I seem to have found something more interesting. Pretending not to know him, she asked what business he had. Li Jining introduced himself. I'm Li from the Northern Merchant Association. Hello, princess. Hearing this name, Yuan was stunned. Dongchu felt embarrassed and wanted him to leave first. Before leaving, Yuan gently kissed Dongchu's hand. We didn't finish our dance at the ball. I hope to have the honor of dancing with the princess again. The next moment, Li Jining grabbed Dongchu's other hand. I'm very interested in the acupuncture fist antiques. Princess, would you show me around? Rivals meeting, jealousy flared. Faced with this scene, Dongchu helplessly wanted Li Jining to let go first. But Li Jining smiled and asked if that meant she agreed. Princess. Dongchu sighed and asked him to wait a moment. There are still guests here. Yuan stood aside, silently watching the overly intimate pair. As he left, passing by Li Jining, he noted, the Northern Territory's lord is also named Li. Li Jining replied it was just a common name, then left. Dongchu led Li Jining to visit the exhibition room. But Li Jining showed no interest at all. He leaned close to Dongchu's ear and whispered, it's hot today, isn't it? Your face is all flushed. Still sweating, Dongchu turned around saying it was a bit hot, so she asked him not to stand so close. Little O emerged from the flower bushes, shouting big bully at Lin Jingying. The outcome was predictable. Lin Jing easily subdued him with one hand. Sister, he's bullying me again. Dongchu quickly told him to stop. Li Jinying's face darkened. Your martial arts are poor. You can't expect people to always go easy on you. Little O's eyes welled up with tears, and he ran away, crying. When the attendants weren't looking, Li Jinying pulled Dongchu into the corridor. The wound on his ear was almost invisible now. Dongchu had been worried, but now it seemed her bite wasn't too severe. Yin Jinying had heard about the Merchant Association's matter. So that's why you're upset. Why didn't you tell me? They hadn't seen each other for a year. Dongchu said she wouldn't make unreasonable demands of him because of one accident. She would handle these matters herself. Li Jinyong respected her thoughts. Then he leaned close again. After you resolve this, come back to North Prison with me. Dongchu blushed, saying she hadn't agreed yet. How could he decide on his own? To the amnesiac Lin Jiying, it seemed Dongchu had come to extort him with a marriage contract. He couldn't remember what happened after that. Then Dongchu got what he wanted but ran away. Though that's roughly what happened, many things occurred in between. Coming from his mouth, something felt strange about it. I can't come here for nothing, and what if? Just then, screams came from the maids ahead. Little O had accidentally injured Mr. Fengyu. It wasn't intentional. Fengyu said his injury wasn't serious. He was passing by when he saw Little O practicing. Young Lord O is especially fierce today. Having just spoken to Lin Jingying, Little O felt very wronged. Nobody would fight him seriously. They just went easy on him. It's no fun at all. Lin Jingying stepped forward asking if he wanted to play with him for a few days. But there's one condition. You must let me stay in the palace with good food and treatment. Little O, forced to become a wingman, naturally agreed. The amnesiac lord successfully infiltrated Dongchu's side. He locked the door behind him. Approaching Dongchu, you think I stayed in the palace just to play with children? Dongchu instinctively backed away, accidentally bumping into a chair. Li Jining pulled her into his arms, telling her to be careful. He held her close and whispered softly, you seem very afraid of me. Dongchu shyly turned away, asking wasn't he supposed to be playing with Little O. Since becoming Little O's playmate, Min Jing not only played with him seriously, but also won all his candy. Now he even bought 12 piglets to keep him occupied. Regardless, there were still maids watching. Now is not the time to worry about your brother. There was something he always wanted to clarify. What exactly was the story behind their engagement? Dongchu took out the letters exchanged between their mothers. Li Jinying's mother was born to southern nobility and later followed his father to the north. They maintained a good relationship and frequently exchanged letters. Li Jinying had heard about this. In his mother's letters, there was nothing about the engagement. Dongchu showed him the letters his mother left him. That's how he learned about it. When Dongchu was just born, their mothers arranged the engagement. But 3 years later, Dongchu's mother learned that Jinying's family had an illegitimate daughter. She began to worry about what kind of person this Lin Jingying would grow up to be. So she used some tricks to obtain all evidence of the engagement. Dongchu quickly interrupted Lin Jingying, telling her she didn't need to continue reading. But Lin Jingying wouldn't stop. If Lin Jingying wasn't a good person, you could make your own choice. Lin Jing said his mother was clever, but her daughter was even cleverer, using the engagement to negotiate with her fiancé. Dong Chu anxiously reached for the letters. That's all in the past. The engagement is invalid now. Lin Jing wrapped his arm around his slender waist. The next moment, he pulled Dong Chu close. Am I not a good person? His gentle tone made Dong Chu confused. Have you really not recovered your memories? Li Jining couldn't resist the urge to kiss him. Is that not allowed? Dong Chu knew he should refuse. He couldn't figure out what was on his mind, but he couldn't reject him. After some time, Little O's voice came from outside. I caught all 12 piglets. The romantic atmosphere was ruined. Lin Juning darkly suggested they should have given him 12 elephants to catch instead. Dong Chu awkwardly stood up, telling him to go ahead. Watching this scene, Dong Chu felt strangely at peace. What was truly in his heart now that he'd lost those memories? Just then, a maid rushed in to report. Mr. Feng Yu had been arrested. This man had signed a contract with the queen to show his sincerity. If he couldn't deliver the order on time, he would forfeit his life. Now that the spring water had disappeared, Songyin country had taken him away. The deadline hadn't passed yet. Dong Chu rushed to stop Duke Meng. His name was Meng Li, the queen of Tsangxiong's favored minister, in charge of the pearl wine business. Dong Chu wanted to discuss the order with him again, but he suddenly disappeared. Even prettier up close, delicate like porcelain. A strange, pure face yet showing a hint of charm. Who are you in love with? Master Dong Chu quickly dodged, instructing the maid to lead him to the reception room. But Meng Li thought he didn't understand the situation. Even their duke has to find ways to please me. What do you have to negotiate with? He tore the maid's clothes with one hand, then expressed his disdain. An ugly woman has nothing worth seeing even when naked. Dong Chu clenched his fist and slapped him without hesitation. No matter who you are, you can't insult others here as you please. Loli laughed instead of getting angry, claiming she was just joking. She approached the supervisor again. "Oh, does the princess want to talk with me?" At this moment, a hand grabbed her wrist, telling her to put down the knife. "It was your highness, Yuan. The blade accidentally cut Yuan's cheek." The servant showed no remorse. "Your highness, Yuan, this was arranged by the queen. I'm responsible for it. You can't interfere." Feng Yu was depressed, saying he didn't mind. If cutting off his head could prevent the queen from taking revenge on Jinji Chuan, he would willingly die. Xiao uncovered his face, helplessly indicating he couldn't stop them. Meanwhile, Li Jining had already put Little O to sleep. "I can't believe I'm actually taking care of a child. Your sister should be back by now." At the same time, in the living room, Yun felt embarrassed. A rare chance to be a hero, yet he ended up getting hurt. Dong Chu worried the wound would leave a scar, but Yuan said he didn't mind. People often said his face was too delicate. Maybe a scar would make him look more masculine. "Sorry I couldn't help you. Though I'm a prince, I have many constraints." "Dong Chu, you understand me, right? May I call you that?" Dong Chu naturally agreed. "Let me apply medicine for you. Just a little bit. It will heal soon. This is the legendary precious divine wine, the path of holy light." Yuan planned to return to Kanjing Kingdom tomorrow. He would try to plead with the queen. Dong Chu felt this might implicate him, and this concerned Feng Yu's life and Zhen Ziquan's future. "I've decided. I will also go to see Kanjing." Outside the queen's door, Li Jining silently listened to everything. Lin Juning forcefully kissed Dong Chu's lips. Even though he couldn't breathe, he didn't want to let go. At that time, Dong Chu was packing, preparing to go to Songyun with you and tomorrow. He took the only bottle of Holy Light Path. Without the spring water, they would have to use this as a last resort. Lin Juning suddenly appeared from behind, asking coldly what he was doing. Dong Chu was startled. How could he forget about him? "Mr. Feng Yu is to be beheaded. I want to go to Songyun to see." His eyes coldly interrupted his words. "Not allowed to go." Dong Chu wanted to explain, but his tone grew colder. "I said you're not allowed to go. I can do anything you want. Must you take this risk?" Dong Chu felt he had to handle this matter properly, not just for the present, but also for Shuang Hui's future. This isn't the northern region. You can't use your power as you please. Li Jining's fist hit the wall with a bang. "I can't? I'm not allowed." Along the way, he personally felt the corrupt atmosphere here. The mighty Songyun of the south was just an empty shell with only appearances. "If necessary, I can flatten this entire continent." Dong Chu didn't know what he wanted to do. "Are you crazy?" Li Jining pressed himself against him, holding him tightly. "I must be crazy to go through all this trouble to come here. Yet you don't appreciate it at all?" Dong Chu was surprised. "Didn't you say you were just passing by?" And all those things we experienced together, you don't remember them, do you? Indeed, he couldn't remember. He tried hard to recall, until his head was splitting, but still couldn't remember. Why did this woman's figure keep appearing before his eyes? Why did the wound in his chest keep aching? He wanted to forget her, but over the past year, his irritation grew stronger. What does it matter if I can't remember? I just want you. The sudden confession left Dong Chu stunned. Li Junying cupped his face. Don't you like me too? Then he kissed him deeply. After what seemed like forever, Dong Chu felt oxygen deprived. His legs weakened, but Li Junying had no intention of stopping. He leaned down, continuing to get closer. Dong Chu knew he couldn't hide his feelings for him, but some things he had to do. He struggled to speak. I must, but eyes pounced again, sealing his soft lips. You're not allowed to go. Was this the person he longed for? Dong Chu's tears slowly fell. He only felt a terrifying possessiveness. The next moment, Lin Jinying's body stiffened. Blood trickled from his mouth corner. Dong Chu, tears streaming, begged him to stop. My efforts might seem insignificant to you, but it's this faint hope that keeps me alive. Lin Jinying's face grew darker. Dong Chu didn't know if he would hurt him. If he used violence, then regardless of any love or passion, everything would end here. His beloved woman had hurt him again. Lin Jinying suppressed his anger. But even if it angered him, Dong Chu had to go to Cangyun. He might have a way to save the order. Lin Jinying, if those memories can never be recovered, I don't mind. What I care about is someone who understands me and trusts me. The next moment, Dong Chu stood there dumbfounded. Li Jinying's fist slammed against the wall. He didn't understand why this woman could always say such naive things with such a serious face. What kind of world did he see through his eyes, making one unsure whether to protect or destroy? Early the next morning, Dong Chu prepared to depart, but Li Jinying hadn't appeared. Since leaving last night, he had vanished. Dong Chu knew he was angry, but he had to leave now. Meanwhile, the Cangyue queen was taking a cold bath. Recently, her neck felt loose. This would help tighten the skin. By her calculations, the magic should return soon. The previous painting wasn't finished yet. She hoped he would bring something interesting back for her party. After a long journey, Dong Chu and others finally reached their destination. Yuan's people learned that Mengli had arrived a day before them and was now imprisoned. Before leaving, Yuan asked again if he needed help pleading with the queen. Dong Chu said he would see the queen, but not to plead, since there was a contract. Let's discuss according to the contract. At night, Dong Chu planned to rest early. Suddenly, many bees appeared in the room. It turned out Zhuo Erxi had learned of Dong Chu's arrival. He wanted to play a prank. He waited outside for a long time, but there was no sound from the room. Curiously, he pushed open the door. The bees swarmed towards him. Dong Chu heard the noise and came out. He took out perfume to help drive away the bees. Seeing the bag in his hand, Dong Chu suddenly understood. These bees were a trick. When exposed, Zhuo Erxi stubbornly said, just you wait. The next day, Dong Chu went to see the queen, but was turned away. Zhuo Erxi appeared behind him. Oh, it's you. If you want to see Mother, you can beg me. Beg me, and I'll take you in. Dong Chu clapped loudly near his ear. Smiling, he said there was a buzzing insect flying around. Fortunately, it wasn't a bee. Then he turned and left. Zhuo Erxi stood there foolishly looking for the insect. Meanwhile, in the palace, Magic informed the queen about everything that happened in the knitted dress. The queen thought that despite being a princess, she went too far, always losing composure at the sight of beauty. Before Magic could answer, she tilted her head and asked how this angle looked, saying her neck was her best feature. Magic immediately flattered her. Your beauty is unparalleled. If you remove the veil, I could see more clearly. The Cangyue queen had time for her favorite courtier to paint, yet refused to see Dong Chu. Dong Chu discovered that the guests in the guest house were mostly there for the party, so he devised a plan. He sent small gifts to the female guests in the queen's name. The next day, guests came to thank the queen, and he naturally mixed in among them. The queen looked confused. My small gifts? The female guests enthusiastically showed the woven bracelets. They competed to shower her with flattery. The queen felt speechless, but then thought better of it. She graciously said she was glad they were happy. The princess took the chance to bow to the queen, introducing herself. I'm the princess of Zhenziquan. I, Dong Chu, will provide pearl wine for your party. The queen knew about the spring's disappearance. You say you'll provide pearl wine. Will you perform magic? Or are you trying to fool me with something else? Dong Chu explained that pearl wine was precious not only for its pearl-like bubbles materials and texture, but also for its unique, refreshing quality that soothes body and mind. It couldn't be easily substituted. He requested the queen to release Mr. Feng Yun first. If he could deliver the pearl wine at the party, it wouldn't violate the contract. Though he had a way, there was only one chance. It wasn't convenient to speak in front of other guests. The queen was silent for a moment, then said she didn't want to discuss this today. She told Dong Chu to come see her alone tomorrow. On the way back, Dong Chu met Meng Li again. He apologized to Dong Chu, sorry for frightening the princess last time. But the princess's tense little face had quite a charm to it. Dong Chu was speechless. For everyone's dignity, he didn't want to have another conflict. The queen turned and left directly. The next day, Dong Chu came as appointed, but was turned away again. The guard informed him the queen was receiving other guests and told him to wait outside. Meanwhile, inside the palace, the queen looked out the window. Annoying girl, just keep waiting. Though she really did have a guest. The guest was Lin Junying. This aging queen couldn't control herself around handsome men. When Yin Jing gave his name, the queen hesitated slightly. She knew the Northern Territory's Grand Lord had the same name, though she'd never met him. But she'd heard he was a savage, brutal demon who could break others' necks with one hand. Some said they'd seen black horns growing from his head. Li Jining felt speechless. Yes, that's about right. But now was a time of peace, and she didn't dislike people from the north, especially handsome men. Suddenly, thunder roared outside, and heavy rain poured down. Dong Chu nervously knocked on the door. He was terrified of thunder. Soon the door opened. Li Junying and the Cangyue queen appeared together. Dong Chu stood frozen. How was he here? The queen began explaining insincerely, saying she almost forgot about him. I have nothing to discuss with you. Go back. Dong Chu knew the queen had no intention of talking to him. If that's the case, please don't mistreat Mr. Feng Yun. News of the pearl wine has spread among guests. I will definitely produce the pearl wine on time. After speaking, Dong Chu turned and left, completely ignoring Lin Jining. Lin Junying darkened his face, secretly displeased, and prepared to leave. How could she let such a perfect, handsome man go easily? The queen blushed and began showing goodwill. In such heavy rain, must you leave now? Whatever business you want to do here, I can give you special treatment. Lin Junying ignored her, coldly stating he would visit again when needed. Meanwhile, Dong Chu was lost in thought in the rain. Why was Lin Junying with the queen? He saw him in such a pathetic state, probably thinking he's a fool again. He wasn't a fool. Just then, an attendant informed him the wine convoy had arrived. 100 barrels of rice wine were here. This rice wine was the base for pearl wine. Dong Chu ordered the rice wine to be transported to his rented warehouse. Being in the rain too long, he felt very cold. His vision started to blur. Back at the inn, Dong Chu collapsed beside the bed with a thud. His head felt heavy, and his body seemed unable to move. After some time, a broad, thick palm appeared. Li Jining scolded him angrily. Are you stupid? I've been waiting in this room for ages. You came back soaking wet and just collapsed on the floor. He wanted to argue that he wasn't stupid, but his throat was too hoarse to speak. Li Jining told him to take off his clothes and go sleep on the bed. Dong Chu struggled to do it himself. Then he remembered seeing him alone with the queen. He glared at him fiercely. Li Juning's face darkened further. Why are you glaring? Want to bite again? Li Junying opened the door to this scene. Dong Chu, face flushed, told himself not to panic or he'd look foolish again. He lifted the blanket and dove right in. Watching this series of confusing actions, Lin Junying stood stunned. He helplessly walked forward, awkwardly coughed, and asked Dong Chu to get up and drink water. Dong Chu squirmed under the covers. He peeked his head out slightly, then acted as if nothing happened, gracefully accepting the cup with thanks. No one had ever dared make the Lord serve tea and water before. This was the first time. After drinking, Dong Chu's throat improved, and he asked why he was at the queen's. Lin Jining explained he wanted to see the queen just to observe what kind of ruler Tsang Yun had. Dong Chu listened, half believing. Thunder crashed again, making him curl up in fear. Lin Jining finally realized he was this afraid of thunder, yet still foolishly walked in the rain. Are you really that stupid? Dong Chu was speechless at his words, feeling hurt. There are many things I must do. Thank you for your concern, Lord Jining. I need to rest. He didn't want him to see him cry. The next moment, Lin Jining lifted him up. Are you crying? Let me see your crying face. Dong Chu was instantly speechless. Are you a pervert? You like seeing people cry? But why did he have such an expression, looking at him so intently and seriously, as if he could see the pain in his heart and his grievances? Dong Chu's tears couldn't stop anymore. He buried his head in his shoulder, sobbing, asking him not to look. Li Juning gently patted his back, whispering softly. In this moment, Dong Chu had an illusion that he might be the face he'd been missing. After some time, Lin Jining noticed the street had gone quiet. He gently put Dong Chu down. He leaned down to touch his forehead, checking his temperature. Fortunately, no fever. He had just fallen asleep. He wiped the tears from Dong Chu's cheeks. He looked quite docile while sleeping, born with such an alluring appearance, yet awkward as a child around men. But why couldn't he get him out of his mind? When he saw Dong Chu in the rain, this heart-wrenching feeling was something he'd never experienced before. Early the next morning, Dong Chu saw the water cup and realized last night wasn't a dream. Li Jining had really been there. Meanwhile, the queen sent someone to invite Li Jining again, but only a bouquet was returned. This was sent by Li Jining's messenger. She was overjoyed, happily asking what flowers these were. Magic informed from behind that these flowers were usually given to elders. Upon hearing this, the queen slapped the flowers away. How disrespectful. Soon, the day of the queen's wine party arrived. Dong Chu had people move the wine barrels to the palace, but Mengli clearly didn't trust it. He insisted on testing it himself. After tasting, he was speechless. This was indeed the taste of pearl wine. At the party, everyone was amazed to taste the legendary divine wine. Dong Chu quietly hid in the corner, having used the last bottle of Holy Light Dew. Holy Light Dew was an old treasure, a magical potion that could heal life. The uniqueness of pearl wine was the cooling sensation after drinking. That was because it eliminated the body's impurities. They had similar healing effects, though pearl wine's effect was very mild. Diluting Holy Light Dew in rice wine created pearl wine. Though it was a bit regrettable, they had successfully overcome the crisis. Now that his magic had faded, everything legendary returned to legend. From now on, he would just be an ordinary girl. At that moment, a child was tasting alone in the darkness. He felt the taste was more like Holy Light Dew. What was really going on? The princess urged. Meanwhile, Yuan invited Dong Chu to drink together. Dong Chu removed his coat, revealing formal attire, smiled, and thanked him. Everything will be fine. To Yuan, Dong Chu was a miracle. She really did it. Just then, a familiar voice came. Indeed, a miracle. Lin Jining politely bowed to Dong Chu. We meet again. Princess, remember me? Watching this dramatic performance, Dong Chu broke into a cold sweat. He really never tired of this. Lin asked if they should go outside since there were too many people here. Dong Chu hesitated. Just then, a commotion arose in the crowd. The king of Tsangyan suddenly appeared before everyone. Actually, Tsangyan always had a king, but this king was strange. At some point, he became silent and only obeyed the queen. Lin Jining interrupted Dong Chu's thoughts. That's Tsongyun's business. Let's go. Seeing their intimacy, Yuan couldn't help but intervene. Mr. Li, who exactly are you? Yuan had begun to suspect Li Juning. Dong Chu wanted to cover for him, but Li Juning directly stated that he was actually the princess's suitor. Before Dong Chu could react, he used taking a walk as an excuse to lead him away publicly. Li Juning felt Yuan had already guessed his identity. But so what if he guessed? Some words were meant for him to hear. As for you, have some self-awareness. Don't meddle in Song Yun's affairs. Lin Jiying's hostility was palpable even through the screen. Dong Chu quickly denied it, saying he wouldn't interfere anymore. Did they really think he was a fool? Li Jiying changed his tone. Compared to the gentleness of the West, if Dong Chu was smart enough, he should know that accepting his offer while he was still interested would be Dong Chu's best choice. Dong Chu looked up and seriously asked him if he thought his mother was happy. Li Jining fell silent for a moment. He thought Dong Chu wanted him to swear eternal love. But Dong Chu's heart was filled with disappointment. Then he smiled and said it wasn't the right time yet, and he believed happiness depended on oneself. Meanwhile, the usually arrogant queen was bowing humbly before a child. The child informed that the king had been controlled for many years and had lost his consciousness. Telling her not to worry, he thought Dong Chu was the sacred one, but the spring disappeared and Li Jining had suddenly appeared here. What was going on? The queen finally confirmed that merchant was really Lin Jining. If that's the case, on the other side, Dong Chu was preparing to leave. He would meet Mr. Fengyu tomorrow morning, then return to Pearl Spring. Before leaving, Lin Jining called out to him, asking if they should travel back together. Dong Chu smiled and gladly accepted. Watching Dong Chu's silhouette, Lin Jining momentarily lost focus. Just as he was about to leave, he felt a sharp pain in his body. The queen was holding a red crystal, muttering his name. Lin Jining was instantly enveloped by a red demon. Early the next morning, Dong Chu successfully met with Mr. Feng Yu. Feng Yu found it incredible and asked how he managed it. Dong Chu smiled and said to just consider it a miracle. They planned to wait for Li Jiying to return together. However, from dawn till dusk, Li Jiying never appeared. The lord who had previously proposed was now holding a gun, pulling the trigger at Dong Chu without hesitation. Dong Chu waited in the carriage all day. Finally, a figure appeared, but it was Lord Yuan who asked why Dong Chu was still here. Dong Chu awkwardly explained that he and Mr. Li had agreed to return together, but he hadn't come. Yuan found it strange, saying he had just seen Mr. Li with the queen. Dong Chu's eyes widened in disbelief. The next day, the queen went hunting, and her prey were the slaves she had imagined. Yuan brought Dong Chu along, hearing Lin Jining was nearby. Seeing Dong Chu appear, the queen was startled at first, then casually asked if he wanted to join. Dong Chu firmly refused. "You don't want to play with us? What a pity." Only then did Dong Chu realize the person behind him was Lin Jining. The queen told him to choose a prey. Lin Jining looked at Dong Chu with cold eyes, then raised his gun. Dong Chu watched in shock at this man, who had professed his love just yesterday. Feng Yu stood in front of Dong Chu. He protected him, while Lin Jining continued to watch everything coldly before turning away. After treatment, Feng Yu was temporarily out of danger. Yuan comforted Dong Chu, saying although they didn't know why this happened, he hoped he wouldn't be too sad. Dong Chu hadn't recovered from what just happened. He just wanted to know what happened to Lin Jining. Meanwhile, Ming Jinyao was standing before the queen. "Let her take control. This man is truly handsome, and he's even the great lord of Beiyu. If I could have him too, wouldn't that mean I'd have the entire continent?" Unexpectedly, the previously obedient Lin Jining suddenly grabbed her wrist and threw her aside. Then he turned and left, leaving the queen sitting on the ground in fury. Damn it, still can't completely control him? In the garden at night, Lin Juning's gaze was empty. Looking straight ahead, suddenly there was a sound from the bushes. He turned mechanically. A small figure appeared, softly calling his name Lin. The controlled Lin Jining could now only act on instinct, finally finding a chance to meet Lin Jining alone. Unexpectedly, he was grabbed. He anxiously asked what to do. Li Juning's gaze was blank as he leaned down to whisper in Dong Shu's ear, "My prey." The next moment, he carried Dong Shu away. Dong Shu struggled desperately, but it was useless. Lin Jining took him to the warehouse, threw him on the hay, then pressed down on him. Dong Shu murmured his name, but still no response. Lin Jining instinctively kept approaching Dong Shu, holding him tightly underneath, just as his lips curled up. A servant suddenly appeared at the door, asking who was in the warehouse so late at night. Dong Shu shrank in Lin Jining's embrace, begging him to stop. The servant blushed, thinking they were lost guests from the banquet. About to leave, Lin Jining heard and continued. Dong Shu immediately called out to the servant, asked if he was a coachman or attendant, saying this place wasn't convenient and requesting to be let out, then handed over a sapphire ornament. Led by the servant, they successfully left the palace. Dong Chu pulled Li Jining and ran far away. He just silently followed behind. When Dong Chu stopped, he found him back in his blank state, now without any reaction, like he had become stupid. He pinched Li Jining's nose, but still no reaction. Could he really have become stupid? Though unresponsive, at least he still followed along. Dong Chu continued rubbing his face, complaining that his height made things difficult, like dragging a big log. Dong Chu ran with Li Jining all night. Tired and hungry, they finally discovered a village ahead. They went to a restaurant and ordered some food randomly, but it was mostly vegetarian dishes, and there were peas, which Li Jining disliked. Though he was still in a daze, his instincts made him refuse to eat. Dong Chu held his spoon and complained, "Even when stupid, you're still picky about food." Then, he helplessly ordered the only meat dish in the restaurant. Li Jining finally ate the sausage, though his disgust was obvious. After eating, they bought some clothes, planning to rent a carriage and leave. Unexpectedly, they saw Meng Li and quickly hid. It seemed he was there to catch them. To avoid attention, he decided to give up on the carriage. They returned to the forest first. By nightfall, they had walked far, wanting to rest. Dong Chu had been talking to himself the whole way. Lin Junying remained silent throughout. Dong Chu's slender fingers gently caressed Lin Junying's cheek, asking softly, "You must be tired too. Close your eyes and sleep for a while." Li Jinying seemed to understand. He slowly closed his eyes. Dong Chu secretly placed a kiss. They say a princess's kiss can save a prince, but that's clearly a lie. He silently prayed for Li Jinying to recover soon. Meanwhile, the queen was holding the ruby, looking out the window. "You can't escape." Li Jinying's eyes suddenly flashed red, and he let out a painful cry. He fell into Dong Shu's arms, who anxiously asked what was wrong. Li Jinyang seemed to regain consciousness and struggled to say, "The queen is calling me back." Just as Dong Shu had suspected, this was indeed related to the queen. On the other side, the queen's spell was interrupted by Zhuo Erxi, who wanted 2 more pythons. The queen suppressed her anger, telling him to do as he pleased and not bother her with such trivial matters. With the spell interrupted, she'd have to wait before trying again. Later, she mockingly told her son through the door, "Do whatever you want, but remember your place. For a perfect woman like me, you are my life's greatest flaw." Thanks to Zhuo Erxi's unexpected help, Lin Jinying's condition gradually improved. He fell asleep in Dong Chuang's arms. How long had it been since such sweetness? Dong Chu and Ling Jun were trying to escape from the slaves. They fled to the forest. At this rate, who knew how long it would take to leave Kanjin country? Before Dong Chu could think more, horse hooves sounded behind them. The slaves had caught up with reinforcements. Dong Chu quickly pulled Li Jinying to run. However, ahead was a steep grassy slope. If caught here, there would be nowhere to hide. They had to take the risk. Dong Shu called Li Jinying's name, telling him to hold tight. Li Jinying still looked dazed, but miraculously followed instructions. They rolled down from the height, with Li Jinying holding Dong Chu tightly in his arms. When they landed safely, both were unharmed. Dong Chu lay on Li Jinying, thinking this human cushion worked quite well. Having successfully evaded capture, they decided to spend the night. Resting here, Dong Chu leaned on Li Jinying's shoulder. "What does it feel like to lose your memory? You must be suffering now." Li Jinying remained silent for a moment. Suddenly he responded, turning to embrace him again. Dong Chu, remembering what happened before, blushed and said, "I'm not some prey." But with his righteous nature, Dong Chu couldn't help gently caressing his handsome face. "Do you know how much I've missed you?" He wrapped his arms around your neck and kissed deeply. "You don't know." In the quiet night, everything seemed beautiful. Meanwhile, the annoying queen took out that ruby again. She cast a spell, but this time there was no response. Had she reached her limit? This was magic power exchanged with her soul. Now it seemed controlling another person would be pushing it. If she could only choose one, she would naturally choose the most powerful person. Though the controlled person couldn't control their actions and words, their inner consciousness remained clear. "How has your heart been, watching all this over the years?" "Your Majesty." The queen raised the wine glass to the king's lips. "Since I'll remain queen anyway, perhaps it's time to end your suffering." Even when controlled, this man couldn't suppress his desire to be close to his fiancée. Dong Chu and Li Jinying had been kissing for who knows how long, never separating. Li Jinying couldn't hold back, wanting to go further. Dong Chu immediately stopped him, saying he didn't want to have a child with an idiot. "We're still on the run. Let's just get some good sleep." Li Jinying had to give up, disappointedly holding Dong Chu tighter in his arms. Suddenly his eyes filled with terror. His body was out of control. Dong Chu anxiously called his name from behind. Fine beads of sweat appeared on Lin Junying's face, as if enduring great pain. He struggled to squeeze out a few words. "Return to the palace." In the blink of an eye, he disappeared. Dong Chu tried to follow in the direction he went, but unexpectedly ran into Mo Li and his group. In panic, he tripped on a tree branch, accidentally rolling down the grassy slope, then passed out. Mo Li looked at the unconscious Dong Chu with a perverted smile. The princess he'd been yearning for had finally fallen into his hands. Such a beauty was like a work of art. However, before his fingers could touch Dong Chu, he fell to the ground with a thud. Lan appeared behind everyone. "Don't touch him with your dirty hands." This man was Li Junying's half-brother, the lovable yet charming antagonist from Season 1. Now he just wanted to quietly stay by Dong Chu's side. Those who forgot can review this. Lan gently helped Dongchu up. He knew Dongchu wouldn't want to see him anymore. He, who was covered in filth, had no right to stay by Dongchu's side. Lan softly kissed Dongchu's forehead. But I hope you'll always remain as gentle and pure as moonlight. The next day, Dongchu woke up leaning against a tree. Before he could gather his thoughts, Yuan's voice came from afar. Dongchu, are you hurt? Dongchu indicated he was fine, thinking Prince Yuan must have saved him. Yuan was worried about his safety and wanted him to return together. Dongchu nodded dejectedly. If Li Jun was summoned back by the queen, he should have returned to the palace too. Just then, a servant brought urgent news that the king of Confronting had passed away. You could never imagine that this wild child who kept lion snakes as pets and was always running away and causing trouble was actually a real girl. After the king of Confronting's death, the whole country fell into silence. Dongchu looked toward the distant palace. Would Lin Junying be there now? Just then, Charles's voice came from behind. What are you doing there, sneaking around? I've been watching you for a while. Without waiting for Dongchu's explanation, he released a green snake from his sleeve. I'm quite bored lately. Why don't you keep me company? Dongchu instinctively stepped back. With a splash, huge waves rose from the water surface. Charles hurriedly went to check if someone had fallen into the water. Unexpectedly, Dongchu suddenly emerged from the bushes, coldly stating, "Please don't toy with me." Charles was shocked. He accidentally fell into the water himself. When Dongchu rescued him to shore, he had already fainted. But he accidentally discovered Charles's secret. He bent down and performed standard CPR, successfully waking Charles up. Dongchu hesitated for a while, then softly asked, "Are you a girl?" Charles's face reddened upon hearing this, then showed a vicious expression. "You found out. I must kill you." Dongchu had anticipated this and said, "While you were unconscious, I already sent out a secret letter. If anything happens to me, your secret will be immediately revealed." Charles obviously wouldn't believe it easily, not knowing how long he had been unconscious. Dongchu took the chance to explain it was just an accident, and he didn't want to know his secret at all. Just then, someone passed by. Dongchu held Charles in his arms to shield him. In his current state, it would be over if someone recognized him. The missing Lin Junying never expected his love life would be so rough. It was one thing for men to like Dongchu, but now even the hometown lily was blooming. Dongchu protected Charles in his arms until the passerby was gone before letting go. Charles's cheeks grew redder, stubbornly saying Dongchu was really strange. Dongchu instead felt relieved that they were both girls. "It's nothing." He held Charles's hand and sincerely said, "I mean no harm. Please trust me. I won't reveal your secret." Charles acted tough but was soft inside. "You wouldn't dare anyway. If you spread rumors, my mother the queen won't let you off." Meanwhile, the queen took out that ruby again. The golden eagle should have received her summons. Why hasn't he appeared yet? Where did he go? But first, she had to handle the king's funeral matters. The queen called Charles, who had just returned, and saw his dirty appearance. She complained again. Although he didn't need to worry about anything, he was still the future king. "You look too unreliable like this." To reassure the ministers, "You should get married soon." Charles was shocked. Marriage? Marry whom? To become his queen, one must be noble, but without real power. Charles interrupted his mother's thoughts, seeming to have something to say. Scene changes. Dongchu learned that he was the one Charles was to marry. Before he could think further, Yuan's disappointed voice came from behind. "Why, Dongchu? I thought you were different." Secretly controlling the king, raising her daughter disguised as a boy, while the true heir to the throne lived dependent on others from childhood, suffering greatly. Yuan thought Dongchu was different. He could feel his gentleness and resilience. He even thought they understood each other's situations and could empathize. But why Charles? Dongchu knew Yuan's feelings, but his heart only had Lin Junying. Moreover, he couldn't reveal Charles's secret without permission. Dongchu lowered his head. He couldn't explain. "You've helped me a lot. I'm truly grateful." Prince Yuan looked dejected. He never wanted gratitude or repayment. He just sincerely hoped for his well-being. "I'm sorry for losing composure. Perhaps I was too naive. Being fickle is a woman's nature. I have no right to demand anything. Now that the queen holds all power, she will surely make Charles inherit the throne." Watching Yuan's retreating figure, Dongchu decided to ask Charles what was going on. Upon seeing Dongchu, Charles's face immediately turned red again. Dongchu demanded an explanation, dissatisfied. Charles didn't understand. "Isn't marrying me good? When I become king, you'll be queen. Or, do you already have someone you like?" Dongchu thought of the person in his heart. Where was he now? Perhaps he could use this chance to find out where Lin Jun went. Suddenly, A small cute creature poked its head out near Donchu. This was Gigi, Charles's friend. Charles thought animals were much cuter than humans. The reason for choosing Donchu as queen was because that day when he fell in water, it reminded him of being fanned by a swan when he was young. Charles spoke shyly with a red face. If I think of you as that swan, it's actually not so bad. Donchu was momentarily speechless. Charles held his hand back. Since you know my secret, become my queen, and don't worry about anything. Mother will arrange everything. Speak of the devil. The queen was about to summon him. Charles held his hand, telling him not to be afraid. If Mother was in a bad mood, just stay silent. Inside the hall, the queen was furious. Seeing Donchu made her even more irritated. Every time Donchu appeared, it annoyed her. Though just an insignificant little princess, her status, appearance, and manners were all impeccable. She snorted coldly. Just a pretty decoration. It wouldn't be bad to keep her around to torment slowly. The blood from those girls sent recently wasn't fresh anymore. It had no effect on wrinkles. Looking at Donchu, I don't use just anyone's blood. Only young and beautiful noble ladies will do. This old woman had been drinking young girls' blood to maintain her youth. To make things difficult, she wanted the girl to voluntarily offer her blood. However, the girl showed no complaints. Even Charles found it strange. His face reddened as he suddenly thought of something. Holding Donchu's hand tightly, "You'll definitely be my good wife." Donchu broke into a cold sweat. His blood no longer had any magic now. Moreover, Lin Juning's disappearance had to be investigated through the queen. Charles wanted Donchu to move out of Yuan's mansion quickly. He would arrange accommodation in the palace. That evening, Donchu came to Mr. Feng Yu's bedside. Although his condition was stable, he still needed good rest. Just then, Yuan appeared. Donchu hesitated, not knowing how to speak, but Yuan spoke first. "If you're to become Charles's fiancée, it's not appropriate to stay here." He understood Donchu's difficulties. "I said I could understand you. I won't make things difficult for you." Everything Yuan had done for him, Donchu remembered, but could only softly say 3 words, "Thank you." The next morning, a scream rang out in the palace. The queen shouted at her mirror. She had become younger. Her skin was delicate, smooth, and elastic. She guessed it must be because of Donchu's blood. The queen immediately summoned Donchu to the palace. She chatted with him kindly on the surface, but had actually put sleeping drugs in the tea. Donchu was caught off guard and soon lost consciousness. The queen madly took out a sharp knife. She wanted to see if that sweet blood was really special. At this critical moment, Charles arrived and loudly questioned what she was doing. Some time passed. Donchu slowly woke up. Charles stood with his back turned, motionless. His eyes were fixed on the ground in terror. The queen was lying on the ground, blood still seeping around her. Meanwhile, Lin Juning, who had been missing for a long time, slowly opened his eyes. Yuan was standing in front of him. "You're awake."